चाओ गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी। कैसे हो आप लोग? फ्राइडे का शाम, और अगर आप 13 लोग में से एक हो तो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन। फुटबॉल सीजन इज अराउंड द कॉर्नर। बहुत सारे लाइव स्ट्रीम चल रहे हैं आज। आई थिंक एवरी इंडियन फुटबॉल कंटेंट क्रिएटर हैज गॉट अ लाइव स्ट्रीम गोइंग ऑन, सो इफ you tune in to Calcio Charcha, we are thankful. And we have a big panel today. We have Param who's joined in. We have Mitul. We have Chintan Bhai. Also expecting Kaustubh, Yogesh, Dhananjay to join in later. So, hi look, how are you feeling? Param, Chintan, Mitul.
All
Super
good.
excited.
Super excited. Yeah, super excited. I think we can see the glow on everyone's faces. अभी Serie A एक दिन पे आ गए और I think सब लोग खुश भी थे because कल हाँ बोल मितुल.
Yeah, I like to finish my sentence. Super excited to finish second after Inter.
इसका तो जिंक्सिंग में पूरा करते रहता है. मतलब उस दिन ये चैट पे बोल रहा था यूए विल लूज 3-0 टू कोमो, ये सब उसका तो चालू ही रहता है, कुछ भी बोलते थे. इसकी जिंक्सिंग तो चलती रहती है. बट एक्साइटेड बिकॉज आई थिंक एक अच्छा पॉइंट भी है कि ब्रॉडकास्टर का सिचुएशन थोड़ा क्लैरिफाई हो गया. आई एम ग्लैड पीपल एम्पलीफाइड आवर ट्वीट्स. मतलब वी सॉ मोर देन 20k व्यूज ऑन ईच ट्वीट एंड पीपल हेल्प्ड अस अ लॉट. एंड उस पे भी हमने कल भी स्ट्रीम की थी. एंड कल देखा ला लीगा के टाइम थोड़े हिकअप्स थे, पर द ब्रॉडकास्ट वाज वेरी गुड आफ्टर दैट. आफ्टर द फर्स्ट 5-10 मिनट्स the broadcast was very good. तो अंदर से थोड़ा रिलीफ है कि सेरिया के पास ब्रॉडकास्टर है. एंड looking forward
before we get into Chintan and Mitul, just if you can tell the viewers what we are going to do on this stream.
So yeah, before we go to Chintan bhai and Mitul और सबके comments ले ले यार. देखो आज का ये है, हम लोग आज पूरी सेरिया की प्रीव्यू करने वाले. 20 teams obviously. We'll try to give you an insight on all 20 teams to the best extent possible. We will be looking at the squads, thoda comparison from last season in comparison to where they finished, team changes, coaching changes, tactically wherever we can possibly explain it to you, and also look at the key players, star players who could stand out, who could make a difference, where the team is likely to finish. तो end में हम लोग tier maker पे ये करेंगे, एक unanimous सेरिया टेबल बनाएंगे प्रेडिक्शंस का. तो वो भी करेंगे. स्कोर प्रेडिक्शंस लेंगे गेम वीक 1 के आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ एनालाइजिंग ईच टीम. तो ऐसा फॉर्मेट होगा. सो थोड़ी लंबी चलेगी स्ट्रीम. दैट इज व्हाई दिस वी हैव कॉल्ड इट अ मेगा प्रीव्यू. सब लोग हम डिनर करके रेडी हो गए हैं. अजय भाई इवन हैज स्टफ रेडी टू ईट ड्यूरिंग द स्ट्रीम. ही आल्सो ऑफ कोर्स ही आल्सो हैज ड्रिंक्स रेडी. सो भाई हम लोग आज रेडी है, तो आप लोग भी बेल्ट अप कर लो, बकल अप एंड या जस्ट जॉइन इन. आपके जो भी क्वेश्चंस हो, कमेंट्स हो, लाते रहना. डोंट फील afraid to ask away anything. So yeah,
पूरे स्ट्रीम में ये बात होने वाली है how सब लोग पैक को फॉलो करने वाले हैं. जैसे सिमोने इंजागी की इंटर आगे भागने वाले, और कौन सेकंड फिनिश करेगा, कौन थर्ड फिनिश करेगा. सो परम का तो 5 मिनट का काम है, वो डिक्लेयर कर देगा अपने आप को चैंपियंस. हम लोग डिक्लेयर कर देंगे, बाद में वो मजे लेने वाला है कि तुम लोग लड़ो यार, आई एम गोना चिल.
Yeah, the real Scudetto is second place का. The first Scudetto था real Scudetto.
परम before we move on, वो मैन सिटी वाला फील आता है कि नहीं? वो सब लोग बोल रहे हैं तो स्टार्ट में डिक्लेयर हो गया. नहीं अभी परम बोलेगा नहीं, टॉप 4 तो अच्छा है यार. टॉप 4 हो जाए ना तो बहुत है यार. क्या बोल रहा है अजय? ऐसा ही बोलने वाला है ना, टॉप 4 हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छा है अपने लिए.
वो टियर मेकर में मैंने ऑलरेडी स्कुडेटो का मैंने फिक्स रखा हुआ है, और बाकी रेलेगेशन में एक टीम तो मुझे डालना ही डालना है, which is Hellas Verona. So I don't want to give much away.
मैं तो रेडी हूँ. अरे क्या पहन लिया यार ये कॉस्ट्यूम ने, हटा यार. वो तो फियोरेंटीना पहन के आ जाए यार. क्या पहन लिया है,
जो अवेलेबल था मैं पहन के आ गया.
इटली की पहन यार. क्या
अभी सब तेरे को नहीं मिलेगा ना परम. चैंपियनशिप भी ले रहा है यार, सब थोड़ी तेरे को मिलने वाला है यार. टाइटल तो जीत गया ऑलरेडी यार.
Yeah, but yeah, how are you guys doing, Chintan, Mitul and Kaustubh bhai? Because before we start and get into the comments, how are you guys doing? All excited for the season?
Oh yeah, amazing. First of all,
अब तो मॉनिटरिंग बोल नहीं सकते. You guys have been signing players.
हो गया अभी, हो गया मॉनिटरिंग, हो गया खत्म.
हाँ यार, वो अच्छा, pretty happy about that. But what I'm very happy about is seeing the panel over here. यार बहुत टाइम के बाद ऐसे सब लोग हैं. It shows how we are also excited about it. And 28 people with us, we're so happy, and we know that other people are excited also. So this वो इतने साल से हम लोग follow करे, but you still get that butterflies before the start of the season. So super excited.
Yeah man, probably the best time of the season, right? जब थोड़ा सा कुछ judgment होता नहीं है कुछ टीम पे, right?
हाँ.
We're just there to enjoy a proper pure football. Uske baad, you know, we have external, internal factors that
Yeah.
start shifting our opinion. But yeah, also excited for the newcomers as well. So many brilliant teams coming up, fighting their way to Serie B, coming to Serie A, like, and a lot of coach changes. So like every year we are getting, you know, more entertainment from Serie A. This time I hope वो और बढ़ेगा क्योंकि इतने सारे नए
Yes.
coaches आ रहे हैं, new
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
some small teams doing better than the big names, right? So 5
Yeah.
teams from Italy going to UCL. So yeah, it would be a very fun season in my opinion.
Kaustav, I think it's been what 13 to 14 managerial changes in Serie A.
Hmm,
More.
yeah.
14,
No,
14
it's
I
not
think.
new.
14.
It's not like a new prospect either, because I think 2 season pehle we had round about
Yeah.
a similar sort of change. अब
11
मेरे को याद नहीं है who
with
came
this,
in, who
yeah.
went, because we have these cycles in 2-3 seasons where managers नए आते हैं, नए जाते हैं. But I think this
Right.
time there have been comparatively more for
Right.
some weird reason.
Yeah.
Right.
So and everyone, before we start, Rajat, let's थोड़े comments लेते. Let's see who's in the house.
Yeah.
Then let's get started with the preview. Rajat, I'm glad you got the jersey. I was going to answer your query, यार. मेरा busy दिन था last 2 days, so I could not, address your query. But I'm glad you found it. I hope the quality is good. नहीं अच्छी होगी तो you can always ask for future recommendations for jerseys. इसका jinxing चालू है. This guy is the ultimate troll. He's overtaken Arun Krishnan. This guy, I mean, no words for you, Pavel, but nice to have you always. Ordering pizza on Serie A Eve is a must. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, why not? Might as well watch the match and do that as well. I think, sorry, galti se ye click ho gaya. Horrible, sorry, DR. I think your first time on the channel having you here. Nice to have you, DR. Please do subscribe if you have not. We are at 818 subscribers, by the way, guys. We did cross the 800 subscriber mark. So congrats to everyone. Guys, support karte raho. Please, Ajay bhai ke channel ko bhi karo yaar. He crossed 700 as well. So again, hit the subscribe button.
Nice.
Horrible preseason experience. Also would have posted multiple Forza UF. Preseason is not everything. Chill. We will break UA down, but a bit later because we are also waiting for DJ bhai to join in. Bhutia is here. He says hi. Sachin bhai was looking for. He did say ask us to give you a shout
Sachin.
out. He yesterday on the
I of course I saw the stream. मैं था live actually. मैं comment बीच में किया नहीं. Sachin is a dear friend. Yeah, he's one of my closest Milanisti over here in Bombay. In Delhi, he's from, but yeah, he's one of my closest Milanisti buddy. Yeah. So
yeah.
I was loving it, and I know Swarnim, I know Sachin. So the popcorn खा के थोड़ा enjoy कर रहा था यार. मजा आ गया.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to calm things down because at the end of the day चलता है यार, होता है.
नहीं, but I know one thing. Sachin is on a pretty. सब लोग जैसे आधे Milanisti बहुत upset है since Paulo has left. So काफी रुके हुए Milan fans पड़े हैं इधर. So he's one of them, and we are all one of them. So yeah.
Fair play. New broadcasters were good. Yes, Madridista mania. Barring the initial hiccups, I did like what they offered. We kept saying कि उनके पास 1080p है, 60 FPS है. So let's support them. मैं देख रहा हूँ सुबह से लोग उनको Instagram पे बहुत गाली दे रहे हैं. Don't do that. They're new. They got the rights late. Give them time to set up. Please be patient. Please.
It was amazing. Actually, मेरे को मजा आया.
Yeah.
Except that, of course,
Yeah.
starting otherwise
Same.
it was so smooth.
Yeah.
As Param you mentioned yesterday on the stream. By the way, Param, Ajay, great stream yesterday.
Thank
I
you.
loved how detailed it was. Amazing. Well done, guys. So what Param said मैंने देखा था. The stream was so clear. Different qualities थे. And I'm very excited about his pura match highlights. Pura match replay, which is going to be
Boy. Exactly, they have full match replays for Coppa Italia, guys. Coppa Italia का broadcaster 10 साल हो गए अपने पास था नहीं. So Rajat, they lost Dybala, Lukaku. Dybala का अभी तक देखते हैं यार. DJ bhai will join Rajat. Can we start with current champions? Yes, that's the format. So we are going to
we are starting with the current champions.
थोड़े comments लेके let's start. Ciao
Let's
Ciao
start
guys.
only.
Nice to have you. अरे हाँ, relax Rajat bhai. मतलब I didn't realize you're such a big fan of DJ bhai. I mean, who's not? But relax, he'll join. Let's start in alphabetical order. Spaghetti has been calling for this since yesterday, but no, we are going by the fixture list here. Spaghetti. Fair enough, Suresh. They can definitely. Bikku is here. Nice to have you. Juventus jeetega. A lot of people calling for Juventus to win the league. Fair play. Sachin bhai is here. Finally, the Sassuolo admirer in our community is back to the channel regularly. Nice to have you. Napoli and Juve do not write them off. Of course, but Conte is a bit unhappy. Rajat, we'll get to it. I'm waiting for Yogesh. I don't know where he has disappeared. I tagged him. If anyone knows where he is. We don't have Man City field because we... Anirudh, nice one. But if I go deep into that, it will upset some people. So, Mittul FC, of course, there's no doubt about that. Full army is here. Question for Chintan sir: do you rate Pavlovic signing? I think he could either be the next version of Stam or so. Ayan, Milan is right away after Inter and Genoa. तो उस पे ये question I'll star this Chintan bhai. You address it then if you don't mind. I've starred it. ठीक है Ayan. So ये question Chintan bhai will answer then. Who do you think will be the surprise package? So sir, Bodhayan, star players and everything, surprise packages will be during the stream and towards the end. So again, I'll start this as well because these are questions I think we need to address as the stream goes on. Atalanta Matches Views is here. One of the biggest Atalanta fans from India. You can follow him on Twitter with this exact username. He's kudos to him for supporting Atalanta. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's good to see new Atalanta fans in the country as well. Timothy will be a breakout star. Fair play. Serie A is back. Yes. New fans, Haryanvi, Serie A. Okay, Serie A As is back. Yes, the typical name used to on Twitter. Favorite podcast. Nice to have you, Tanuj. I know you're a Milanista. Always nice to have you here. Can't wait for the start of the season, especially after getting that Fofana deal over. Chintan bhai is the happiest, trust me. 1K next. Yes, Rajat. Yes, hopefully. So,
spread the word. Spread the word.
That's all we can say. We have, over the last few days, people have been supporting us a lot on Twitter, Insta. So thank you to everyone. So let's get started, Ajay bhai. You can take over.
Let's get
to the rest of the comments in a while. DJ bhai, again, he's replied he'll come soon. So yeah.
Let's start with Inter Genoa first because that is the first match of game week 1. And just pull up the schedule, Param. And let's start with the champions, man. You don't have to be modest. You don't have to underplay. तू आराम से बोल, ठीक है, तुम लोग फेवरेट्स हो, ये एक फैक्ट है, और लाजियो बकवास है, ये दूसरा एक फैक्ट है. वो अपन आएंगे लाजियो सेक्शन.
So Ajay bhai, you might want to relax on that because yesterday we had a Lazio fan follow us on Twitter from India is what I mean. So today, I'm not joking. Tonight we will be serious about Lazio. If that Lazio fan is here, don't take any offense. We will be very serious about Lazio. Costa was trying to hide that laugh, but come on, Kosto, you have to be serious about Lazio as well at some point. So,
the last comment I posted on our WhatsApp group was a joke about Lazio.
So no, but in all seriousness, we will be discussing teams. Even I will be serious about Hellas Verona while talking about them. So don't worry if that Lazio fan is here. Please do not worry. Don't be discouraged. I'll just pull up the fixture list very quickly, guys. Atalanta Matches View says supporting Atalanta is difficult. Truer words have never been spoken. So I guess I hope this is visible in the first place, Ajay bhai. I hope this is visible.
Yes.
So Ajay bhai, you want to take over? Anything you want to start off with?
Absolutely. So let's start with you, Param. Inter, current champions and clear favorites for the Scudetto. So तू बता, what are the changes that's been going on at Inter? Who are the players that have been brought in and who are players who moved out? How is it looking like at the Inter camp? The floor is yours.
So of course, Inter. I want to start by saying कि Inter के सबसे ज़्यादा players international duty पे obviously थे, along with Real Madrid over Euros and Copa America combined. Because of that, players have returned to training in a staggered manner. मतलब पहले एक bunch, बाद में दूसरा bunch, बाद में end में Lautaro Martinez and everyone. So training has not been as easy. Luckily for us, players like Lautaro Martinez have returned in top condition because he never really got a break. मतलब वो खेलते ही गया. He played Copa America and he barely had a holiday. We did have an injury sort of mini crisis because Simone Inzaghi upped the intensity in training because he knows that Inter will potentially play at least 66 to 68 matches, including the Club World Cup and everything. So he had to up the intensity for physical preparation. And उसके वजह से injuries हुए हैं. Obviously, Buchanan got injured in the Copa America. But apart from that, Zielinski is injured. He will miss the game tomorrow. Of course, De Vrij is injured. He will miss the game tomorrow. Aslani, we'll have to see what the situation is. Arnautovic, whatever he counts for, he's back. Taremi is back. But they're all both returning from injuries. And that was the situation. We had a few injuries. But again, before getting into all that, I'll quickly pull up the team on transfer mark for, so that people can have a look very quickly.
Ins and outs, bata Inter mein yaar. Ins and outs.
Yep, just 1 second. So this is visible, I hope. So जैसे मैंने बोला, obviously this market was about Inter strengthening their bench because last season थोड़े bench पे weaknesses थे. मतलब you had players like Stefano Sensi, Davy Klaassen, who are below. Since he's still okay, but he's injury prone. Davy Klaassen is below average, of course. So you had to replace these players. So आप देखते हो Davide Fratesi का transfer permanent किया, loan obligation था. Josep Martinez, Genoa starting goalkeeper, was signed for 13 million. That's the real only expense we have made. Augusto loan obligation got triggered. Marco Arnautovic loan obligation got triggered in February. No words for it. We are trying to sell him, but he wants to stay because obviously he's earning a good salary over here. Why will he want to leave? Zielinski was signed on a free. As I said, he never usually gets injured, but he is injured now, so he's not available for tomorrow. Should be fine for the second game. Taremi is here. He's back from his injury, so I'm very excited for Mehdi Taremi because he's come in top shape. बहुत अच्छे shape में आया, बहुत अच्छे form में आया. He's conducting himself very well. He's gelled in with the teammates very well. He's gelling in with Mkhitaryan especially very well. So they're all already raving about him. So I'm very excited for him. I don't think he'll start tomorrow. Again, we'll get to it. Other than that, the biggest talking point was obviously some of the departures. We didn't sell big players because nobody again wants to leave. And with Inter, it's simple. If you don't sell for a big amount, no big signing, big money signing will come in. So that it's as simple as that. We have, as you can see, we have made some smaller sales. Agume, Oristanio, Zanotti, Carboni we loaned to Marseille. He's very highly spoken of, but for some reason we loaned him. We probably, wanted to make money, but Marseille already signed Greenwood by that point, so they didn't have money to spend on him. So udhar ek problem hai. Maybe we could have kept him over Arnautovic again, but Arnautovic didn't want to leave. Sanchez left. He signed for Udinese. We will talk about that, obviously.
Yep.
Apart from that, there is no major outgoing. The only thing pending for Inter really is Dumfries' contract extension, which is expected to happen, but I'm not fully convinced. I won't be surprised if he tries to run his contract down and summer mein free mein, next summer mein free mein chala jai. Again, I won't rule that out. Again, no big signing will come in until somebody leaves, and the main target right now is to sign a left center back because Buchanan jo hai player, obviously he's injured. I'll just, for those who don't know Tejon Buchanan, just to pull up his image. Where is he over here? Wait, here. Sorry. So December to January tak out hai. He's the right wing back, obviously. So usko replace karne ke liye Inter want a left center back, which means Darmian and Dumfries will play right wing back.
Yeah.
The left center back name has finally been leaked after many weeks. It's Thiago Tomas from Argentina, a very young prospect. But we have competition from Gladbach and Leipzig, so I don't know how easy it will be to sign him. Uske baad, if Arnautovic and if this trash player Joaquin Correa leaves, only then will a striker come in. But the window is very short, so I don't think anyone will come in. I think we will be stuck with Marco Arnautovic and Joaquin Correa. So that's pretty much Inter's squad. Now, obviously, the strength here is over every other team. हमारे पास consistent players है, सिर्फ bench strength add हुई है. As I said, Mehdi Taremi, Josep Martinez, and Piotr Zielinski, right? But my problem in this squad is here, where I'll tell you, Acerbi and De Vrij, because Acerbi is coming in from a major surgery. While he was one of the best centre backs in the world, I would say, and even in the league, form-wise, strictly speaking, his physical decline I can see on the pitch. Stefan De Vrij, same I can see. And these two are the main central centre backs, and I wanted them, at least one of them, to be replaced. Now, Inter was trying to sell Stefan De Vrij when Pioli was about to become Al Ittihad's coach. He wanted De Vrij, but Pioli to Al Ittihad didn't happen, so the deal collapsed. So, obviously, if we would have got money from De Vrij, we could have probably hijacked the Buongiorno deal from Napoli, but again, we could not. Now, to replace that, Inter fans want Jan Bisek to play as centre back because he has been the best player in pre-season and he's very talented, former Germany under-21 captain, and he is very good in across the back three. He can play as left centre back, centre, and right centre back. He is very good. So I feel he has to play as a central centre back, and De Vrij and Acerbi can play less. So he's expected to start tomorrow at right centre back. Again, we'll get to that. But this is my opinion. I feel if Inter have one weakness, it's this central centre-back position, given that we have to play at least 66 to 68 games, whatever that is. And obviously the second weakness that is very evident is Arnautovic and Correa, because you have four strikers, right? Thuram, Lautaro, Taremi. These three are class. That's fair. The fourth striker and the fifth striker, Arnautovic is not reliable. He played 20 minutes in preseason. He got injured. Now he's back. Correa is trash. I can't say anything more. So the fourth and fifth strikers are not reliable. That's the issue. If something holds Inter back, it's the centre back and the strikers, nothing else, in my opinion. So यही problems है Inter की team में, I feel, which should have been addressed, but the management has not been able to, and I'm a bit disappointed. They were worried कि अगर Arnautovic को धक्का मार के निकालेंगे, and if he does not get any offer, because he has a very big influence in the dressing room, it will leave the other players unhappy because he's friends with literally everyone. Sad to see. But that's the problem. That's
But
when
don't
we are...
Param, don't you think De Vrij के बारे में बोल रहे हैं यार? But aren't you a little harsh on him after seeing the tournament he had in Euros?
Yeah, look, I agree with you. उसका tournament बहुत अच्छा था Euros में. But again, there is a big physical decline, and tournament, again, a tournament is a different comparison, obviously different in comparison to the league. And in league, De Vrij has to be present. He's already injured. I don't know if he's out for 2-3 weeks. They're saying so he's already going to miss the first 2-3 games. Matlab, your central center back cannot be injured for so long, especially to start the season. And then there is Acerbi, who again is old, who plays very well, but again he's coming off a major surgery. So I'm not getting this logic why they didn't intervene and sign a central center back instead of going for a left center back right now. My biggest problem over here, and this is where, again, I feel this is where it could haunt us going forward in multiple competitions. Serie A में चल जाएगा, Coppa Italia में भी चल जाएगा. Champions League is where I'm a bit worried now because of this situation, and again because of these two idiots up front, Arnautovic and Correa. You have.
Param, you're too harsh, man. Too harsh. Before I get into your final prediction, which is Scudetto winners. Chintan, your 2 cents on the whole situation at Inter and how the summer transfer market has been.
Yeah, first of all, as Param said before, Inter fans are very harsh on Inter as a club because उन्होंने 2 signing कर दिए थे when market had opened.
I agree.
They had probably sealed a veteran midfielder like Zielinski, who I am a big fan of, and Taremi, who Milan were chasing for so long. So yes, I understand what he's saying about the centre back issue, and I agree to it. But I think De Vrij was fantastic in the Euros. I think very under the radar uska performance chala gaya tha. And I feel the manager, of course, Bastoni has taken that leap, and as he said, the market's not over. But yeah, I feel if you go to see Ajay, every position they have everything covered. They have a backup. Every position is covered. I'm just talking. Let's, of course, unfortunately, Buchanan ko injury ho gaya. But other than that, Inter can put a second team also, which can probably finish top 4. So I feel and he's, of course, Param is now, you can call him spoiled for choice because he's crying for a 4th and the 5th choice striker who is bad. And our second choice is
like he said,
and our third choice is pata nahi kaun hoga. So when our third and the fourth choice है ही नहीं हम लोग के पास तो
एक बंदा है मेरे पास में टैमी एब्राहम बहुत अच्छा बंदा है ले ले यार प्लीज
नहीं वो बर्टोलाची से रोमा हमारे पीछे पड़ी हुई है और पैसा निकाल रही है यार श्योर
मैं तो सच में अगर आप लोग ने देखा नहीं व्यूअर्स ट्विटर पे मैं रिक कासडॉग को बेचने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ चिंतन को और हम लोग ये बार मेरे को वो जो बैक पास है वो हॉन्ट करता है मैं अर्जुन से आज बात कर रहा था एंड Arjun and I were saying that only if you have the ball in that position in MDFA we just clear the ball मतलब सिंपल है clear बाहर डाल दो भाई बॉल को मतलब ऐसे जगह पे पहुंचा दो कि it will be tough to retrieve it will give your team to even fall back but I'm digressing quickly Chintan where do you see Inter finishing in the table
no chance champions and I'm not being funny also I think they have a very good team and what they have above everyone else is continuity which every team almost has a new manager. So I feel continuity might just help them go through. They have a set established players. So I think champions is something they have to be. I think they'll be champions. And for me, when it comes, हम लोग दोनों ने ऐसे predict किया था. I feel Champions League, if you put them, for me, after Real, along with City, I think they are favorites for Champions League. So they have a very high expectations from Serie A fans, like especially मैं बोल रहा हूँ from Serie A fan, just unbiased Serie A fan. Lot of expectations from them to do well, go deep in the tournament. So for me, champions, and मैं बोल रहा last time में, it's not just champions, and I'm not again joking. I think it's going to be a heavy margin. 10 plus.
Look,
no, I'm serious.
So again, even tactically also, Ajay, but I don't think there should be much of a difference from how we play. Only I can tell you based on preseason, he's trying a bit of varieties here and there, thoda idhar udhar. Obviously, with the arrival of Zelensky and all, he's trying to, try a bit of different combinations in transition more than on paper. Apart from that, again, there are no major changes per se. Continuity. Again, I agree, continuity is important. Any other club would do anything to have that, obviously. My only worry is, again, Interco, it's not only about retaining the Scudetto. Now you have to go past beyond the round of 6. Sure, the Champions League format is different and everything, but still you have to do well in the Champions League. And then looking at Arnautovic and Correa as the fourth or whatever fifth choice striker is not good enough for the Champions League. Again, Copa Italia में फिर से ठीक है, 2 बार जीत गए, उसके बाद एक बार bad tournament is fine, but again you still want to do well. You have to have those backup options. So I'm not saying we are weak, but these are two areas of concern which I feel Inter could have could have fixed with a low cost approach. Could have gone for talents because our scouting is good. That's not a problem. If you can scout players like Jan Bisek, that's not really a problem. So I think they could have done that. I was a bit disappointed on that end, but again, I won't complain. I'm not going to sit here and say, Inter top 4 ke bahar.
These are first world problems. First world problems are here. Before going on to Genoa, quickly, Mithul, Kosto, and we have DJ in the house
DJ
as well. DJ has joined us. So, quickly, the three of you, your views on Inter and where they're going to finish. Early predictions.
I think like it's Inter's title to lose because they have a very good squad, and the two additions that they made, Taremi and Zelensky, have again been very smart signings. Like, as much as you can, like all the hate apart or all the jokes apart, they've been very good with the transfers lately. All the players they've been signing lately in the last 2-3 years. And I think they have a very good squad. And like Param said, कि वो लोग एक साथ अब बहुत सारे competition में they are focusing, not just the title, but it would be very, very tough. Like the other teams have to do something really extraordinary to snatch the title from them. Because like Chintan also rightfully mentioned, कि बाकी जितने भी clubs हैं who might be the real contenders for Scudetto have a managerial change, like Juventus, like Milan. So I think it would be very tough for the teams to get things done the way Inter will be doing. So I think it's Inter's title to lose. उनके ऊपर ही है, like if the onus is on them only.
Fair. Costume?
First, obviously, but I think the good part about Inter is, say, last season there was a team in Juventus who could have been called a potential title challenger at a point, and they were not playing the European competition. So, is bar the situation is कि the so-called favorites who are always around the top of the table or in the top 4, top 5, they're playing European competitions. And abhi Champions League, we know you play a lot of games as compared to the previous seasons. So, उससे एक advantage आएगा because everyone will play the same amount of games. ऐसा नहीं है कि Juventus are not playing European football or they have an advantage. Because again, the good part about Inter is they don't have a new manager in place, and it's probably the third stage of the Inzaghi revolution, which is जो tactically मैं वो देखना चाहता हूँ कि team evolve कैसे होती है. So if say a Milan or Juventus had somehow finished outside the Champions League or European spots hypothetically last season, then maybe I could have said कि maybe they don't play as many games, and even if they don't have that squad depth, maybe वो challenge कर सकते हैं at some point. But I think जो winning margin होगा title का Inter का could be the same as last season, if anything.
Yeah, चल रहा है भाई ये. Simone Inzaghi disagrees, by the way. He just said, I see a very level championship at the top. So
he's just been
he's all I can say is right, but whatever. Anything else? Because we comments to address certain questions.
So I'm starting all the comments. We'll take the comments later. Otherwise, Apan will not be able to cover all the 20 teams.
Fair play.
Honest. Quickly, DJ, welcome, man. Welcome to the stream, and we just
boys.
So, your thoughts about Inter? Obviously, them being one of your biggest rivals. Do you see them as possible Scudetto contenders once again?
Guys, definitely. But, it's a telling fact that no team has kind of retained the Scudetto since Juve's run ended. there is some truth in that. I feel like Inter in a very, very good position, like the boys were saying. Really, now this is Inzaghi's third revolution, so to speak. But I feel like Inter are so much in preservation mode right now. Did fabulously not to sell or let go of any big names. Brought in a couple of key players as well. I think that a lot of where they stand in the Scudetto race over the course of the season will come down to how they begin. It will also come down to how their perceived title rivals begin. To me, Inter are guaranteed a top two position. There is a little bit of fatigue, I feel, in Simone Inzaghi, but he will be driven largely by that retention of the Scudetto. Inter are definitely the team with the maximum continuity, which is why the start comes into play. That's where they will make that difference in this big chunk. The gap that everyone is talking about, 10 and 10 plus, is really going to be defined by how they start. If it's a slow start, if it's a lazy start, it's not going to be 10 plus, according to me. I think then there is a race that can be governed between the likes of, I'd say Roma would be dark horses. I think Juve, Milan are definitely in the mix as well. It could be very, very interesting. Of course, we'll come to the perceived challengers later. But Inter definitely guaranteed top two. 10 plus, I'm not sure, because it comes down to how they start. But yeah, of course, team with the maximum continuity, so they're definitely heads-on favorites.
Fair. I think we'll wrap up Inter. Any last thoughts, Param, that you want to share about Inter before we move on to Genoa?
Yeah. I think in view to tomorrow's game, all I can say, there are two absentees, obviously, Zielinski and three, De Vrij and Buchanan. Apart from that the squad is fine. The expected lineup to start tomorrow is Sommer in goal, Bisek at right centre back, of course Acerbi in the middle, Bastoni on the left. At right wing back, Darmian, Barella, Hakan and Mkhitaryan and Di Marco completing the midfield and wing backs, and up top Thuram and Lautaro. Again, Lautaro, I think he's still evaluating the final condition, but I don't think he has a fitness problem from what I've read. So this is pretty much the same starting 11 as last year. There's literally not many changes. And yeah, I think Genoa में हम लोग 4 साल से जीते नहीं away to them. We have not, like, the last time we won at Marassi was 2020. You have to count in the fact that they got relegated, obviously. But still, it will be a tough game. Again, Genoa पे आएंगे because they've lost their own, bunch of players. But it will be a tough game for sure. As Simone Inzaghi has said over here, Gilardino is a good coach. So expecting a tight game. I think we will have a good season. My goal for the season has to be doing well in the Champions League. I know DJ Bhai said no one has retained the Scudetto, but again, at the end of the day, these records are meant to be broken, right? And we will be for sure aiming for the Scudetto. That much I can tell you. Obviously, there's no denying that Simone Inzaghi wants to retain it. I think I agree with DJ Bhai ki close race hoga. I don't think 10 plus hoga. I think that's a bit too much. I think Juve, Milan, Roma, like Napoli, to definitely I will consider. Atalanta, I think, will improve as the season goes on once they get over this phase. But yeah, I think it will be a close title race. I will put us as the favorites, but in a very close race. So that's my closing thoughts on Inter. And unfortunately for Ajay Bhai, the issue here is Yogesh is trying to join us, but we can only accommodate 6 people.
Working on that. Just working on that. Let's get to Genoa.
Sure.
We'll do Genoa first, where in the meantime I'll try to get
I'll pull
Yogesh
something up. Yeah, sure. I'll pull something up regarding Genoa. तब तक थोड़े comments ले लेता हूँ. If someone can pull some comments up until then, Ajay bhai, you can, until I pull up Genoa squad and everything. One sec.
लोग मैंने कुछ स्टार किए हुए.
हाँ वो आप questions.
I'm just looking at the
Also,
past comments जो हुए हैं.
Yeah, this fixture Inter and Genoa कितनी बार हो चुका है, like in the last recent time as a starter fixture, right? If you notice,
so
first
the last
match
time
day
it happened, वही हम लोग बोल रहे थे मितुल, the last time it happened was when Gio first got the rights 3 years
exactly,
ago. Now
I remember watching it. Yeah.
This started इधर खत्म हुए थे. We'll hit 10k sub before Juve won the Serie A.
अरे ये पावेल तो अलग
ये तो शायद
one day
ये साल भी हो सकता है.
I don't understand him. One day he's pro UA, one day he's anti UA, one day he's pro Inter, one day he's the biggest troll. I'm telling you, Morata, please do something. Yeah, so अच्छा.
This is an inside joke यार. मिलानिस्ता है ये भी अपना, so inside joke, but yeah, वो तू पनौती है दिनार, वो नहीं है.
from No Serie A broadcast. I love the new streamers. Okay, I've pulled up their squad, Ajay bhai. Just give me 1 second. What questions were there, Ajay? Ajay bhai, if you, then I'll quickly address those if you want before we shift to Genoa. Very quickly.
Just a second. There were some. These are
Star-
questions that have star kiya, but I think those are towards the end because those are more generic questions about the league, star player, all of that. So we can do Genoa.
ठीक है Costo, I'll come to you if you don't mind. देख यार अभी जेनोआ का एक अलग इशू है. Their owners are probably the most dodgy owners in the league. 777 partners. You know what happened with the Everton takeover? They couldn't buy. They're pretty much a bankrupt company. Somehow they have multiple clubs, and Genoa is in a position where they always have to sell to buy, and you can see a result of that in the transfer market over here. If I show you the outgoings, it's ridiculous how many players they've sold and how many less players they've bought. You can see Retegi out, Josep Martinez out, Yeboah Hefty just sold Albert Goodmanson today. Obviously,
Goodmanson आज ही है ना? I just saw Goodmanson आज ही हुआ ना, just confirm.
Yes. Glad we didn't buy him because of his whole sexual assault thing. Wherever he wants to go, he can. I didn't want him at Inter. But coming to the point, Costo, they're in a position where again sell to buy, and the incomings have been very discouraging, or so to speak. Vitini खरीदा who doesn't even have double figure goals. Marseille से लाया, not as good. Konate Winter is a good talent. Thorsby is also decent. Brooke Norton काफी young player from Arsenal youth team. Zanoli hai, Bohinen hai. But apart from that, you look at the squad to replace Josep Martinez, they have Golini hai. I mean, it's not looking good. Johan Vazquez Chalo is a good player. Then you can really say only Bohinen, Friendrup, and maybe Malinowski, and Chalo Junior Messias is also fine. As Chintan Bhai said, Goodmanson. Huh?
Goodmanson's gone, no?
Yeah, Goodmanson's gone. Yeah, so
it's gone.
If you want to talk about it, because it's looking like Gilardino spoke in his press conference, I wanted a strong squad, I wanted upgrades, but these guys have sold way too much before, buying an X amount of players. What do you think? Where do you think this Genoa team stands? Do you think they can go higher than 11th place from last season?
I think if you look at their raw numbers, matlab the most rawest of XG numbers, they actually overperformed by the XG by about 10, which is generally not sustainable.
Yeah.
So their XG was at 35 and they scored about 45 or 46. And that was like the second or third lowest XG of the entire season. And they sold Goodmanson, who was obviously their chief sort of goal scorer and creator. And they're signing Pinamonti, who जो भी है, we know Pinamonti, एक season अच्छा 4 साल में. And then they're probably signing Fabio Silva. I feel bad for the guy, the way his career has been, but he's never proven to be a goal scorer.
Yeah.
Since he's joined Wolves and जो भी उसके loan spells थे. That is the most underwhelming part of the window, where you're replacing a goal scorer and creator with Pinamonti and Fabio Silva, two players who I don't know, उन्हें goals score करने का नहीं आता उन्हें goals मारना, and even if they do, they're way inconsistent. And you don't even know Fabio Silva का profile क्या है. Is he a proper number 9? Is he a winger? Is he a number 10? So वो एक tactical confusion भी है. So the squad has been dismantled essentially, and that Golini signing in place of Martinez, that's a joke. But I guess could have been worse. Could have been David De Gea. So I guess something's better. There's a silver lining. So the squad's been downgraded to a point where काफी overperform करना पड़ेगा, which they actually did last season, XG wise. But I think finishing where they did last season is next to impossible, because Gilardino, I used to praise him a lot last season, but even the younger signings they made, the guy from Arsenal, Norton Coffey, he can play either. I think he can play anywhere on the right back bhi khel sakta hai, right mid, right wing, anywhere on the right. But a lot of outlets, the local outlets, reported that he's been brought to get goals, whereas he's not a goal scorer. Usne last season bas 2 goal mare the, 2 assists, 3 assists, something like that, for the wherever, I think he was at Millwall or somewhere, championship. So it's been a very weird window. But if you look at the state of their ownership, especially signing like Norton Cuffy and Connie Deventer, who I really like, I think Deventer's like the sort of signing, agar sab kuch theek jata hai, then he's someone who can be that Seven Sisters wala player going forward.
Okay, fair
Or
enough.
maybe a Fiorentina, ya fir kuch bhi, someone who finishes inside the top 10. Torino, our favorite club, who finishes inside the top 10. Clubs like that. But जो उनका main attraction था upfront, that's been lost. And I think वो बहुत बड़ा letdown है. And I expect them to stay somewhat, because अभी हम बाकी teams की बात करेंगे तो we'll realize how bad they are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
उनसे तो ठीक है. But again, could have been worse, could have been David.
Yeah, fair. And I just want to ask you, which players should people keep an eye on if they want to, if they let's say tune into a Genoa game? Because yesterday we had a question on one of the broadcast stream where someone wanted to support a mid-table club, and we gave them between Genoa and Torino because of the history value, you know, of everything. And that person said they'll decide after watching. So which player from this, you know, massacred squad would you pick? Because there are some under 20 team players they've called up from their youth team, you know, Acornero, a bit highly rated, Fini, highly rated as well. But other than that, from this squad, if you wanted to encourage people to watch out for players, who would they be?
One is obviously, Abhi, it is possible that Johan Vasquez can actually leave. I think he's been linked to Turkish clubs, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Besiktas, one of the three. He can leave, but I think Morten Friendup is the guy I'll keep an eye on, and Connie Deventer. Because he's like, from what I was told by people who work in the scouting space, a lot of bigger clubs, be it your Premier League clubs or La Liga, the major clubs, are keeping tabs on. I think Milan bhi beech mein, I think June or May, Milan bhi link hua tha usse. So I think he's the one, and he's very good defensively, and he's very decent on the ball as well. I think he's 21 or 22, quite young. And Connie Deventer is the sort of player who's a very the sort of player that Antonio Conte can like going forward. A 27-year-old version of Connie Deventer. The way I expect him to grow, he's a very Conte player. Thoda right-sided centre back, can play centrally as well, and he's pretty good on the ball as well. So I think those two are the ones I'll keep an eye on. If Johan Vasquez leaves, because Vasquez, I've been a fan of Vasquez since he was earlier there. I think 1920 season, and he's gone to a couple of clubs, and now he's there again. So yeah, if he stays, I'll keep an eye on him as well, because he's a left-sided centre back, and I'm a very big fan of left-footed defenders, and I hope he stays as well.
Yeah, fair. So I think if you guys want to keep an eye out on players in Genoa, it'll be Connie Deventer, as he said. If Vasquez doesn't leave, Johan Vasquez, you can say. So Atalanta matches view says in the comments, of course, Malinowski, provided he can stay fit, because he is a bit injury prone, of course. Malinowski, of course, over here. And Friendrup, as he said, where did he go? Yep, Morten Friendrup. But let's move on from Genoa, because I think what we expect from Genoa again is a mid-table finish of sorts. I think we can agree, or maybe a bit more disappointing than last season. What would your match predictions be for Genoa Inter? As again, they've sold out their season tickets and everything. A great atmosphere is expected tomorrow. That's what Genoa fans were having a laugh on social media कि चूना लगा के tickets बिचवा दिए और players भी बेच दिए तुम लोग ने. मतलब, but what predictions, Chintan bhai? I'll start with you. We will get to the rest of the panel here. We don't have premium version, so people will have to drop out and drop in constantly. So वो करना पड़ेगा हम लोग को. But Chintan bhai, what are your predictions for Genoa Inter?
First games are usually, I think, the first few games just sizing up your opponents and getting match fit. So I won't be surprised if it's a non-entertaining game, or just I think Genoa depleted. I think Goodmanson signing is a huge blow, man. I think very depleted. I'm very disappointed. I thought we all were very highly talking about Gilardino and his work he did at Genoa last season. So I'm disappointed by the departures. But yeah, I think Inter are going to start off strong. I think a 1-0 win for Inter.
Ajay bhai, what about you?
2-0 Inter.
2-0 योगेश, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेलकम यार. आई नो थोड़ा जगल करना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा रेडी रहना आज योगेश. क्या लगता है तुझे?
Yeah, Inter are quite strong here. Like Genoa won't be able to handle much. I guess it would be a straightforward win for Inter 2-0.
2-0 बोला तू?
Yeah, 2-0.
Okay, and DJ भाई, what about you?
3-0 Inter.
3-0. Jeez. I will say 1-0 as Chintan, but I'm a bit cautious about tomorrow. I think Genoa will.
You're not cautious, yeah, Param. You're being superstitious, yeah. It's a
No,
Yeah.
writing on the wall, yeah.
Arey,
Genoa, you know, their problems are too much off the field, and that's going to filter in. And this Goodmanson sale is really going to hurt them psychologically.
Fair play. So
I
that's
agree
Inter.
with Costa. Yeah, D.
Yeah.
Winter is a good player to look out for.
Yeah, fair play. And Costo, wait, did you give your prediction for Genoa Inter? Sorry, what's your prediction?
I would say 3-0, and the reasons are
Jesus.
obvious. I want a goal. I want to see a Golini error. I have this incredible hate towards the guy. उसे नहीं आता खेलना, उसको रैप करना चाहिए. सब नहीं है उसके लिए.
Yogesh is getting
Sadistic
Should
pressure.
handle it up.
internally. Yogesh is boiling up. But I think, I don't know where Mithul is. We'll get him back on the stream. But I think let's move on from that. What do we want to touch upon next, Ajay bhai? Is it Milan Torino or the Parma Fiorentina game? What are we touching on next? You're on mute, Ajay bhai. You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm saying let's do Milan Torino and then followed by Parma
Yes.
Fiorentina.
Okay, so we'll come to it. Let's take some comments before the audience thinks, we are not addressing them because it is a very active. I can hear, Arey yaar, he's an Inter fan, but he's the biggest Chintan fan as well in this community, I feel.
बहुत पढ़ाई करता है, लौटा तो पढ़ाई करो, अच्छा पढ़ाई करो और कल
और अंकल मत बुलाओ.
Yeah, bro, please don't flunk because of us. I don't want to bear that tag that you probably didn't do well in your exams because you were watching us. Jude Jewel, sorry, which other support Atalanta? Jude Jewels, if you want spice in your life as a Madridista. Fair play. Okay, Atalanta. I would say Torino again, but whatever it is. Malinowski long shots will make the actual goal stats more than XG.
His long shots are just amazing, man. जरा कहाँ से भी मार पड़ता है, बजा देते हैं.
Ajay bhai sacrificed himself for Yogesh. They're buying. This is terrible. How you can't sign Pinamonti to replace Goodmanson. Yes, so we will come to this. Ravindra Nico is going to UA. He has been left out of the Fiorentina squad. Yep. So it is definitely happening. You can see obviously DJ bhai is very happy. हाँ, हिंदी में भी करेंगे भाई, mix कर रहे, because we also have people watching from different countries. GGMU. So mix up करना पड़ेगा. We can't keep it on one language. दोनों mix up तो करेंगे wherever we can. Anirudh says Inter 87, Napoli 77, US 75, top 3. Fair play. Haryanvi Jat, the 3 things are going to happen this season. UF fan crying and sending an apology letter to Allegri. Roma finish karegi 6th. Again 3 and Fiorentina winning a trophy. Fair play. देखते
Fiorentina finals में पहुंचे लेकिन ट्रॉफी नहीं जीतती है यार. That's the only problem.
And they have really invested in their squad. Atalanta 2 and Napoli, I know they have had a change, but Conte at the moment, Ravindra, वो बहुत गुस्से में, उनका investment थोड़ा चल रहा है. Param, do you think Inter can reach last season पहुंचना चाहिए था? दीपू, I don't know this season होगा. Whatever it is, मुझे वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. टाइटल जीतो वही काफी है मेरे लिए. अगर वो जीता तो points and all doesn't matter कितने points है. I would say Inter could lose the exude too, but almost all the big teams in Serie A have had a coaching change. They can't compete unless Inter themselves. हाँ, देख Inter के वो थोड़ा है. We do have a tendency to shoot ourselves in the foot, पर वो कम हो गया. But again, that Pazza Inter factor you cannot rule out, as they say in our community. The UA's target should be to finish in top 4, make a deep run in Coppa Italia and UCL. Will take a bit of time in under Thiago Motta. So I think ये थोड़ा आगे जाते हैं अजय भाई थोड़े comment से. So is the
Milan Torino.
Yeah, is this the Fiorentina fan? No, Aja for De Gea, because we did find a Fiorentina fan on Twitter from India, so I thought he was the one. But no, for De Gea. Okay, so let's go to Milan Torino. Let's look at this. Where is, by the way, does anyone want to drop out for Mithul? Maybe, I think because we've not had his opinion, so maybe one of us can drop out for Mithul.
Juve for Juve. I'll drop off. Ping me when.
Chalega na? Okay, so you can hold on until I ask Mithul. You can hold on until then, just because he's nowhere in the stream over here. So yeah, okay. Until then, Chintan bhai, let's start with you. Milan Torino, obviously Fonseca versus Vanoli, two coaches at new clubs. Very exciting coaches. मतलब Fonseca के बारे में I know all Milan fans are not happy. Most of them are, but not all. Torino on the other hand, we'll come to it. But what are your thoughts? It's, as Ajay said, no longer AC monitoring Milan. Signings are done. Apparently the incoming market is closed. Fonseca said it himself, not apparently. And outgoings होने वाले अभी. How happy are you with the market, and where do you see this Milan squad stand? I'll pull it up. And yeah, just general thoughts on it very quickly. मतलब generally कैसा लग रहा है?
Yeah, man. First of all, very happy with this new signing for fun. I think was much needed. We've been chasing a number 6, though he's not traditionally a number 6, but I think he was needed, and verbally chasing him for so long and not getting your targets, I think was very disappointing. And the management acting a little क्या बोलते कंजूस. But I'm happy right now. The squad feels complete. A lot of players actually. We need to sell a few players. यार वो क्या होता है? I think more or less in almost every Serie A team, it's very hard to get rid of baggages. So we have some baggages we need to get rid of, which is going to be hard because I think सब लोग भूल गए हैं. As a Milan fan, मैं भी भूल गया हूँ कि we still have Origi, and oh God, like he's refused to play for the under-23 team also. So it is very hard because some of them are on high wages, so it's going to be very difficult to get rid of them. But yeah, it's a good squad, and जैसे Ajay would know this, of course, he's seen Fonseca play. I was very happy with how they played pre-season.
Yeah.
I think that was very exciting.
यार,
The youth
Milan beat Barca, Man City. Like US
And
tour
Real.
was very, very successful.
Yeah, and what I like is the game he played, holding the ball, passing the ball, not panicking, which was to an extent missing during Pioli's latter half. So very happy. What I'm very happy about is with the Milan Futuro team, the under-23 team, which they've put up, and he's playing a lot of youngsters. He's giving them time. And Ajay, हम लोग ने जैसे बात किया था with the under-17, under-19, we have Ziroli, who's the captain. And Milan, of course, back-to-back. एक बार semi-finals गई थी UEFA Youth League में, last time finals. We have a lot of youth players, and he played a lot of them, and they performed exceptionally well. So positive है वो part में. But yeah, I'm very happy with finally a player, a profile of number 6, which Milan desperately needed.
Fair play.
100%. These are Florence is out with the UCL, ACL, right?
Yeah, Florence, very harsh on him. First game of the preseason, he's out. See, listen, I think he gets a lot of stick, but I think he's a very hardworking player. What I think his most underrated quality has been his crosses. Yeah, he's great with crosses, So overall, if you go to see, we lost him injury के लिए, but we got Emerson Royal, which we were chasing for a while. I have no comments on him as of now because मैंने जो उसको स्पर्स में देखा था यार काफी टट्टी था यार. मतलब वो मेरे को यार कास्डॉप की याद दिला दी, वो बैक पास जैसा उसका. मतलब the thing is, just because Brazilian है does not necessarily mean skillful है. So that is my own.
Or Serie A handle also shamelessly tweeted a photo of Emerson Royal in a classic Brazilian jersey. I mean, the audacity.
Yeah, and they're already top 5 most expensive Brazilians for Milan. मतलब यार, come on यार. मतलब ये तो हम लोग का insult हो रहा है थोड़ा कि वो Emerson Royal का चीज. But yeah, I think much needed is because Florenzi injured है. Calabria का deteriorating rapidly, I can say. Kalulu is on the market, surprisingly, knowing Florenzi was injured. So I think Emerson Royal was needed. Yeah, Kalulu is a very big dilemma. I'm happy, not happy. If we get 20 million for him, would be a great deal. But yeah, he's a he's a good utility player. When we won the league, uska और Tomori का amazing backline form हो गया था. But I think he's ravaged with injuries a little bit. What I'm very looking forward to this season is I'm very excited to see Pulisic. He had a fantastic first season last year. He's a very skillful player, and I think he's been moved to the center now. He's been going to be as number 10 more or less. Liao भी publicly बोल गया कि I think I would want to see him play number 10. Chukwueze under Fonseca has been a revelation for us. Yeah, probably needed that time. So we have a great top 4, like front 4, I think. With Morata, of course, very skillful है. But जैसे परम 4th or 5th striker की बात कर रहा था, my concern is our 3rd striker. Like we have him and Jovic. and Okafor of course plays left, but we are lacking there. Colombo,
Jovic
I'm
को number
sure,
9 दिया ना, and
yes,
Morata
number
is
9.
taking number 7.
Morata has taken number 7. So I'm pretty much it's very scary. Colombo loan deal पे जाने वाला है. So pretty much striker नहीं है. वैसे बोल सकते हैं.
What about Salemackers? Is he going to stay or are Milan looking to sell him? Because he was so good at Bologna last year.
He was good at Bologna, he was-
Touted exchange between Salemackers and Chiesa.
Yeah, I've been reading that, and I don't know who's the winner here, but yeah, Salemackers great utility player, to be honest, and I was
Very good
very happy. I was very happy with him when he was at Milan also. To be, I have no complaints. He's came in as a right back. Let's not forget he came in as a right back, played right winger, and his goal against Napoli, that solo goal was amazing. So Salemackers, apparently, I just read somewhere and I checked it. He's not officially on the Milan website anymore. So I'm guessing he might be sold over here. So I think Okafor was linked, but I think he's going to stay as a Liao backup, बोल सकते हैं उसको. But yeah, and another fear is my favorite Milan player in this time has been Benessa. He's been absolutely amazing for us. Injuries ravaged से काफी हो गया था injury से career थोड़ा decline पे. But there are rumors, I've been hearing things that he might be linked to a Saudi club and might be leaving. So I think that might happen because we need to sell someone if we buy someone else. So yeah, I think more or less team set है यार. And of course, as सबने देखा होगा Euros में Tijani Reinders has been spectacular. What a player. I think we are very lucky to have him. Very gifted midfielder. So I see him start with Fofana eventually, I think. And front four, I think Morata, Liao, Pulisic and Chakwezi रहेंगे. I think RLC, Loftus-Cheek, finally, I would want to see him as a number 6 or a number 8 behind वो देखा Fonseca tried him there. So let's see, pretty exciting. Tomori has been a rock for us, and Pavlovic, I think I just read somewhere, Pavlovic, yaar, it's Ajay, sabko pata hai, yaar. I think DJ, everyone knows when you buy a player from another league, it takes time to settle down. People are very harsh. I think he had the Salzburg had a terrible season, and he was probably the only shining armor for them, I feel. Very physically strong. No nonsense defender hai. So वो थोड़ा उसका I like.
Interesting that you mentioned Pavlovic, because I know that Kaustubh has got a few comments about Pavlovic because he does follow a lot of other leagues as well. Kaustubh,
so yeah, Kaustubh, please.
Your thoughts on Pavlovic?
He's like, as Chintan bhai mentioned, he's quite no nonsense in his approach. Ball pe he might not be your like abhi maine bola ki I really like left-footed center backs, but he's not someone who's say too expansive on the ball in a way. He's very defense first. But again, if there the point of signing a player for that fee is especially Serie A mein, you don't sign a player of that for that fee unless and until you don't have a plan in place. Utna paisa, especially for a club like Milan, who scout really well. The plan would obviously be to have a structure around him which suits him, which is
actually also वही है because with the high press Milan plays.
I don't think Tomori has ever been exceptional on the ball either.
He's not. नहीं, but Kaustubh, क्या है, what you said is absolutely right. क्या होता है, what Milan lacked last season has been when we press ahead. With Tomori's natural instinct is to push forward a lot. So we needed someone to stay back and clear up the mess at times, and that is where I think Pavlovic might come in the picture with a no-nonsense. The thing is, Milan anyway structurally back three हो जाती है when they attack with Theo bombing up front. So anyways, a Benessa or Fofana आने के बाद, what I feel is we'll get that structure in the middle where we'll get that gaping hole cover करने के लिए. So I think for that reason he might be there. Gabbia again. Actually, unfortunately, also none of the defenders, centre backs are good with the ball. Where you go with Gabbia, where you go with Malik Chow, Tomori and Pavlovic now. So none of them are good with the ball. Only person who's good with the ball is Kalulu, who is now linked with Juventus.
And the weird part is कि Fonseca generally likes flexible players at the back. Abhi Roma mein he had Mancini. There was a period Mancini DM खेल रहा था. where
he
he
was so
was like
good.
he was very
Hmm.
good, and he had to drop in as centre back in possession. So I want to have a couple of these flexible defenders or flexible midfielders who can play at the back. Fofana, from what I've seen, he can sometimes drop in as centre back in the when you build from the back,
Built up play, yeah, built up
but
play. Man.
हमेशा नहीं करेगा. That's not his strength. His strength
Yeah,
is
that
more towards the number 8, थोड़ा 6 में थोड़ा सा आगे, in front of the defense,
hybrid
not
है थोड़ा,
backline
yes.
का part. हाँ, so there has to be, I don't know who that will be, कि कोई एक squad में से ऐसा player जो maybe drops into the centre back role. Adli did that sort of role last season, and I
Yeah.
really like Adli. The good part about Milan is the midfield. क्या options है वहाँ पे? The number of options from Benacer to Loftus-Cheek to Fofana bhi, and I'm a big fan of Adli because last
Yeah, yeah.
season the transition he's had from being a pure 10 in France to being
हाँ.
a 6. It's been very good to see because naturally you can see he's naturally very blessed technically in a
Yeah,
way.
very, very gifted. Very gifted. You know, by the way, Kasub, Ajay, I was thinking he would be a perfect player for Roma right now because I feel Milan mein wo extra hai. He's very gifted with the ball on his feet. You know, so I think he's a great player.
Actually, yeah.
My only my fingers crossed thing is what I've been reading in the comments, and I've been getting asked one question every time: will this be Rafael Leao's breakout season? And I think everyone wants to know that. And I feel this is it. I think this is his season. If this is where he has to prove it, he has talent. Everyone knows it. So this is where he has to prove it that he is going to take that jump. But yeah, as you know, as a fan, I'm biased. So I would want to know from everyone else, if as a rival, DJ, I'll ask you, do you see, if you are playing a Milan, do you see that, okay, Rafael Leao, first person to mark or look out for, or is he just another flash in the plan of many skillful players coming around? Or do you actually keep your eye on him as an opponent?
Since I agree with you, this is a two-part question. I feel like this Milan team is funnily enough a departure from the the quintessential Milan DNA. You know, I feel like this is a team that there is a certain humility about them. It's an air of humility without them even knowing it. I think they're going to be a team that really plays within themselves, very compact. The flamboyance that we're used to seeing, that very Euro Milan is, even though Fonseca is coaching this team, is not going to be the case. I feel like this Milan is going to come from a space of being very strong as a base defensively. Like Kostov very correctly said, Fonseca likes that flexibility in his players in many ways, like Mota. To me, I feel like Leao, yes, it is going to be his breakout season if ever there was one for him. If it doesn't happen this season, I think he may push for an exit. With Fonseca, because I feel Fonseca is going to look at a little bit more of a defensively solid unit, I think that might restrict Leao a little bit, not just in his movement, but also his contribution in defense. So I think, yes, if this was the season for Leao to break out, this would be it. Will he break out? I think there's a very fine line, because I get this feeling that Fonseca will somewhat keep him on a leash.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Ravindra's answer over here that Leao has broken out. He just needs to be consistent.
Yeah.
And Ravindra, I've actually starred a lot of your questions. We'll take those comments towards the end when we get to those points. But Chintan, to answer the question, I love Leao, man. I absolutely love him. If I had to sign one player from Milan, it has to be Leao, because he is, on his day, he can be unbeatable. Just that consistency is pending. One thing from Fonseca, I really feel that he will give Chukwueze that freedom to really express himself, to expect good things from Chukwueze if he remains fit under Fonseca. But yeah, I think now with all the signings that you made, for monitoring का तो जोर तो निकाल सकता है. And Milan are serious contenders, I would say, for the Champions League places. With Inter being the favorites of Scudetto.
AJ, why not even a Scudetto run? Because the thing is, what they're going to come from a defense first scenario.
Yeah.
I feel, and if that is the foundation from a Scudetto perspective, that's what you need first up. you know, and I think Fonseca will be a little unpredictable. I don't think Milan's going to play as freely as we are perceiving at this moment in time.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
which to me will give them a deep run Scudetto wise.
Fair. Param,
On Milan, right? So I think I feel again I'm not a big fan of the Emerson Royal signing. I feel they could have done better given the targets they had initially. But again, you can always argue कि एक नया environment can make a average player better. You know, it could hide the technical deficiencies. If your environment is good, you can always overperform. Now, is Emerson Royal the most smartest player? No. Is he the most technically gifted player? No. He has a lot of brain fade. So let's see. That right back position is a doubt for me.
He's very
I
good
do-
at making his own compilations.
Yeah.
One thing he's good at.
Definitely, I saw his when he arrived at Milan. He made like a whole post on Twitter as well about how fans had gathered for him. But again, yeah, he needs to focus on the game. I think Pavlovic. Again, I've been watching Pavlovic for a long time. I'm a very big fan of the signing. One thing I will say is that apart from the passing wala jo weakness course तुमने बोला, he does have a lot of concentration lapses in his game. A lot, I mean, very frequently, which he had last season against Inter as well. Very casually gave away the penalty against us. So that needs to improve. But I think other than that, definitely a strong signing who knows how to carry the ball. Definitely Milan needed that kind of profile. वो एक चाहिए था. Apart from that, Leao के लिए, I think as रविंद्र ने बोला था, breakout season already हो चुका है मेरे लिए. I don't think breakout करना बाकी. I think the level has to increase for Leao. I think वो एक बीच में रट में अटक गया है and वो उसको बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. Now, I hope he can focus because there are a lot of criticisms with Leao as to where his focus really lies off the pitch and everything. That's what I see from a lot of AC Milan fans. Again, I do think Fonseca se wo benefit karega, you know, with a fresh face. I do think he will benefit with the player rotations up top. I think someone like
connection also.
I think yes. I think even Okafor will benefit, but Okafor का हमेशा fitness पे आ जाए. At the end of the day, वो injury prone player AC Milan के पहले भी था. ये कोई news नहीं है. Jovic, I'm not a big fan of personally, but again with a new coach, you never know. Fofana अच्छी signing है, top signing है. Do I see him as an out and out DM? No, I do. I see him as a hybrid of a 6 and an 8. Yeah, he 1 week again. Fofana is physically that profile. Milan के पास इतना physicality थी midfield में, very good, a good ball carrier. मेरा एक concern है Fofana के लिए, जब large spaces होते हैं उसके आजू बाजू में, he does not know how to address that on the transition. तो वो एक Fonseca के अंदर rectify करना पड़ेगा. Does this mean Milan will not start well? No, I do think they will. But I think Milan का main point to address will be transitions, be it from defense to attack, attack to defense. I think that is what needs work. And I feel other than that, depth wise Milan ने obviously upgrade किया. Left back पे Alex Jimenez है, backup के लिए talented है. Under 23 team है, that's a big plus point. अगर वो connect हो जाती है तो injuries के time आप internally call up कर सकते हो, something that an Inter will not be able to do, something like a Roma will not be able to do. तो वो एक advantage है Milan के पास. I think they're definitely better set. I think they should be considered a Scudetto contender. I don't think आप उनको Scudetto के नीचे बोल सकते, even if it's a new coach. Again, last season Inter had 13-14 new players being in the title. So if only because there's a new coach, why can't Milan not challenge for a title? You know, the logic can go anyhow. So I do think Milan तो रहेगी Serie A title में रेस में. Jesus Monza पे आएंगे, बहुत टाइम है अभी Monza के लिए. Your Monza.
Yeah.
So
I think Param, we can move on to Torino, Parma, Fiorentina very quickly because एक घंटा हो गया अपन ने 3 टीम किया भाई.
Before we move on, I would like to say pay attention to one Milan player. I've been a big fan of Liberali. He's had a fantastic preseason. He's been absolutely amazing. So confident on the ball. There are 2 players surrounding him. He still does not give the ball. Amazing player, and I think he's going to get a lot of chance. So look out for him. And my personal prediction before I end, I know how much of fun I make of Inter.
I think we lost Chintan Bhai, or is it me?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not me.
Audio
So
only.
एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ, अजय भाई थोड़े कमेंट्स ले लेते हैं because I again थोड़ा चैट के साथ थोड़ा एंगेजिंग रखते हैं बीच में. बाकी के कमेंट्स भी लेंगे भाई लोग, थोड़े बीच में लेते हैं because we have 17 teams to cover still. So you have to be a bit patient. थोड़ा आज patience रखो भाई लोग, थोड़ा please. आज सब कमेंट्स ना हो पाए, so forgive us, but we will come to some comments. हीरेंद्र बुलाई दिया, ये सब लाजियो पे आते हैं. वेस्टर्न मक्कीनी यूए की बात करेंगे तब आएंगे. ब्रेशियानी stolen by Atalanta, not by Napoli. UA beat Real Madrid last season और pre-season में देखो क्या वहाँ pre-season does not give the full picture, guys. Do not go by pre-season. We lost to Al Ittihad. in that logic, right?
I think you know when I was mentioning Milan's good pre-season, that is when this comment popped up. But
Yes,
it's a good confidence booster for Milan. And I mean,
yeah. Ajay bhai, could you just text Yogesh because he has disappeared. Mitul is coming back, he told me. I can sorry, हाँ इधर थोड़े और comments लेता हूँ यार. आप लोग comments लाते रहो, मैं देख रहा हूँ.
Chintan, तू last कुछ बोलने वाला था before you went.
Yeah. I was saying that doesn't matter. My expectations from Milan are very high. So if Milan don't finish second, I think I'll be disappointed.
Second, wow.
Fair.
I mean, you should aim higher, I feel, but ठीक है.
Yeah, top two. I think title is difficult. I'm being very serious about it. But top two should be Milan's target. If they don't, I'll be very disappointed.
हाँ, करेक्ट. अरमान से स्पॉट ऑन परमेश्वर, बट फोफाना का गैप जकारिया कवर करता था. करेक्ट अरमान, वही मैंने भी जो भी मोनाको में देखा था वही चीज थी. आई होप मिलान, एग्जैक्टली मिलान के पास वो पेयरिंग होनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि बाकी के प्लेयर्स नहीं कर सकते. दे आर नॉट लाइक इनकेपेबल प्लेयर्स. डेफिनेटली फोफाना का अराइवल इज अ बिग प्लस. वो तो एक आप बोल ही सकते हो. प्लेटफॉर्म्स डील कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. यस, वी एड्रेस दैट अरमान. थोड़ा लीगन का है कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. यसीन एडली जैसे कॉस्टूम ने बोला बहुत अच्छा 6 है. हेजुड ट्रांजिशन किया उसने. डेफिनेटली अ गुड ऑप्शन टू हैव ऑफ द बेंच एज ऑफ टुडे, कैन ग्रो. अर्जुन ठाकुर सेज मिलान फैन हियर. गाइस ब्रिंग अप योर कमेंट्स जस्ट बिकॉज़ दे आर टेकिंग देम धीरे धीरे से. ये मतलब नहीं कि आप कमेंट्स बंद कर दो. लाओ कमेंट्स, लाओ, वी आर वेटिंग फॉर इट. बट हमको और 17 टीम कवर करनी है. थोड़ा स्लो जा रहा है इधर. सो प्लीज ब्रिंग अप दोस कमेंट्स. कम ऑन गाइस. हाँ, रविंद्रा का कमेंट ये पर्सनली मैं अग्री करता हूँ. उसका ब्रेकआउट ऑलरेडी हो गया है. ही जस्ट नीड्स टू बी मोर कंसिस्टेंट एंड इवन फॉर द नेशनल टीम. हीरेंद्र, जैसे मैं बोला, लाजियो यूए पे आएंगे. Lalovic says could have done better than Emerson Royal in the right back position.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes, Nick Karsdorp.
Honestly, abhi
Karsdorp.
Roma could not sign Mark
Yeah,
Kubel. Atlanta ka move fell through.
Yeah.
The
But I
Kubel
don't
could
think
have
so.
been a good
Yeah,
sort of option for Milan.
yeah.
Yeah, or
Twitter handle.
I think so.
Is
Atalanta
DJ
matches
on
use Atalanta पे अभी. DJ is not. DJ is not on Twitter. I've never. He's not there. I've never seen. ये वो Insta पे ही है sir. Because I had asked him. He said he's not on Twitter. When I was setting up the profile. So नहीं है. He's not on Twitter. Dipanshu. I think
He's
यार
on,
थोड़ा move करते quickly.
MSN Messenger rooms.
Next, Atalanta Lecce game. Yes, Atalanta matches we will come to Atalanta shortly. Ajay, am I lagging by any chance? Because I see others lagging for some reason. So am I?
No, you're not.
No. Okay. So let's go to Torino. I'll start with
Torino. Torino.
Yogesh किधर है यार? मतलब
the everyone's favorite number 10.
I'll try to bring Yogesh.
Uski guest appearance.
Yogesh को आप बुलाओ.
Akshay Kumar on 3-2.
Yeah, so we will come to Torino guys because मैंने Torino recommend किया किसी को support करने को when they asked कौन सी mid table team को support करूँ.
I think Torino you have to support only for the coach right now.
हिस्ट्री भी है. आई मीन स्टोरी तो है ना चिंतन बैट दी एंड.
No, हिस्ट्री भी है. I know, but you know, अब करंट टीम में हिस्ट्री तो देखती नहीं है ज्यादातर ना. So उसके लिए बोलो Vanoli is someone to really to look forward to.
But unfortunately वो disaster नहीं होता तो you probably think you know Torino could have been a way bigger club. Is this visible by any chance by the way?
Yes,
Is this
it's
visible?
visible.
अब तो किया है. Sorry. थोड़ा lag हो रहा है मेरे पे. Sorry. So यार Kostub, let's start with you quickly. Torino क्या बोलूं मैं भी. Torino का जो कोच है Paolo Vanoli, right? He's the talk of the town. I'll pull up a picture of his also for the audience. ये रहा. Thanks to Transfermarkt of course. यार ये हेवी इंस्पिरेशन लेता है कॉन्टे और सिमोने इंजागी की प्रिंसिपल से. एंटोनियो कॉन्टे ऑफ कोर्स. Is this the breakout moment for Torino? Because हम वो जोक बोलते हैं बार-बार Torino 10th फिनिश होती है. ऐप खोलो तो 10th पे ही दिखते हैं. लास्ट 3-4 सीजन वही चल रहा है. Even beyond that. Because you have a pretty decent squad here and they have a squad जो better करनी चाहिए थी 10 से. मतलब गोल में आपके पास सर्गे मिलेंकोविच साविच का भाई है वानिया who's pretty decent. परशूर्स है जो मेन सेंटर बैक इंजर्ड है. साउल को ला लीगा से लाया, बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर है. बुंजोर्नो का रिप्लेसमेंट अभी तक खरीदा नहीं है. ऑब्वियसली दे आर प्रमोटिंग सम प्लेयर्स एज यू कैन सी हाईली रेटेड इन देयर एकेडमी. दलावाले एंड बाल्को. राहुल बेलानोवा है जिसका ब्रेक थ्रू सीजन था, राइट कॉस्तुब. अली डेम्बेले प्रमोटेड फ्रॉम देयर एकेडमी वाज ऑन लोन एट वेनेजिया. रिची जो सेरिया में बहुत हाईली रेटेड है बट उसका ब्रेक थ्रू लग रहा है ऐसा ये सीजन आएगा विद वनोली. इलिच भी है. इलखान जो अगेन टर्किश टैलेंट है जो गुलेर के तरह हाईली रेटेड होता था बट हैज ड्रॉप्ड ऑफ. लाज़ारो ठीक है. व्लासिच है एज एन अटैकिंग ऑप्शन. अगर आप देखो यू नो शे एडम्स भी ले लिया. डुआन जपाटा है. सनाब्रिया है. So tell me, Costo, what can we expect from Torino, और क्या Torino को sign करना चाहिए कौन से positions में to make that European leap? Because लोग बोल रहे this is the season where they will be in the top 8, top 6, top 7, whatever. I've seen many people say that. What do you think needs to happen at Torino?
I think वो जो there's that glass ceiling कि can that team make it to the European places? That is actually very difficult to break. Be it, I mean, Serie A में specifically, obviously Premier League में भी, but Serie A में if you look at that glass ceiling is difficult to break because अभी last 3 or 4 seasons I think only Fiorentina have been the one to break it. That is purely because Conference League का introduction was. If there was no Conference League, we would have had the same teams competing in your Europa League and the Champions League. So I think thoda sa difficult hai, but I think the natural transition from someone like Ivan Juric ka system to what they will have now under Vanoli, it's very natural. Thoda, I would say, utna zyada breakneck high press nahi, which was the case under Juric. Thoda sa toned down, thoda in possession progressive, and thoda sa structured in the sense positionalism का थोड़ा influence है उसमें उसके approach में to be to have these numerical advantages in midfield, थोड़ा सा slow build up instead of to move the ball quickly. So that is like the foundation of the ideas are the same. जैसे वो apply कर रहे हैं, that will be different. So that is like a good part about this transition, which is very different to हम बाकी teams को अगर compare करें who are around Torino. Maybe Fiorentina का similar sort of transition होगा under Palladino. But I think European spot, though, I don't know. But better than their trademark position, they can do that. But again, Buongiorno को replace करना पड़ेगा. But अभी हमने देखा, they've promoted a lot of younger players and it's Torino's DNA. Buongiorno खुद academy graduate Primavera से निकल के आया था. So do not be surprised if any of those players actually make a mark in the first team. I do think.
But isn't Saul Cuco a centre back?
Yeah, he's a centre back. But Ricardo Rodriguez is also left.
He's left. Betis, I think.
So, and honestly, unpopular opinion, I like Ricardo Rodriguez.
I think he was amazing for Torino.
Yeah. And उसका transition जैसे Adli का था from number 10 to defensive midfield. I really like that transition. Switzerland के लिए भी काफी अच्छा खेला था Euros में. And Inter से link हुआ था. The cynic inside me wanted that to happen because I like Rodriguez. But मैंने देखा था online, the reaction to those links was very negative. Okay, and he's gone to Real Betis.
He had, I think he was good for mid-table season because when he was in Milan, he's that one of the Shaqiri kind of players who plays well for the national team.
That is true.
Yeah, but I think he's a good work horse. But I think that'll be a big miss. I feel as a leader, it'll be a big miss for them.
So Torino का वही issue है कि अभी
another centre back.
या Buongiorno नहीं है, रिकार्डो रॉड्रिगेज नहीं है. मैं फिर से स्क्वाड पुल अप करता हूँ. एक और चीज टोरिनो ने बोर्ना सोसा साइन किया, ऑब्वियसली द क्रोएशियन लेफ्ट बैक जो क्रोएशिया के स्टार्ट करता है, तो वो वनोली के फिलोसफी में डेफिनेटली फिट होता है जो अटैकिंग ओरिएंटेड है. ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट अपडेटेड येट ऑन ट्रांसफरमार्क्ट बिकॉज ऑफिशियल अनाउंसमेंट बाकी है, बट वो लोग उनका मार्केट इज फार फ्रॉम ओवर इज व्हाट आई विल से. मैंने जो पढ़ा है मतलब वो लोग और बिजनेस करने देख रहे हैं, वो लोग मिडफील्ड बढ़ाने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं. दे आर ट्राइंग टू ऐड डिफेंडर्स एज वेल. आई होप दिस इज विजिबल. मैं उनकी लाइनअप पुल अप की है देयर कोपा इटालिया गेम. जैसे आप देखो 3-5
गुड सीजन फ्रॉम रिची बाय द वे.
I was just going to say that. This has to be his season to shine now. He has to take up the mantle.
Yes, so जैसे आप देख सकते हो अजय भाई, वानिया मिलनकोविच, साउल कोको बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर है. ही इज कमिंग ऑफ अ गुड सीजन फ्रॉम विद लास पाल्मास. मसीना जस्ट ही इज ऑल राइट. इलिच का ये ब्रेकआउट सीजन भी बोल रहे हैं बिकॉज इलिच हैज ऑलवेज बीन हेल्ड बैक ऑफ सॉर्ट्स. और वो अगेन ज़पाटा सानाब्रिया, अगर आप देखो वो फिजिकल शॉर्ट स्ट्राइकर कॉम्बिनेशन हो जाता है. कॉस्टुम जस्ट लाइक कॉन्टे यूज्ड टू लाइक pretty much almost that.
But Kostub, how excited are you at the prospect of Che Adams playing in Serie A?
Not excited at all.
What a cultural signing.
Cultural signing वो थोड़ा उसे English weather condition से break मिलेगा, but honestly वो he's never been that prolific goal scorer. थोड़ा exotic सा move है, but I don't think he starts. Abhi हमने देखा Sanabria and अपना Zapata will probably be the starters. Che Adams will be that वो bench से आके that bulldog sort of वो है ना that bench से आके plays those 15 minutes, scores these goals. जैसा maybe Rebic ने एक season में करा था मिलान में to get them Champions League football. I'm not saying Champions League football Torino को मिलेगा, but that sort of impact end में वैसा कुछ I don't know if he has to make an impact. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं करेगा.
But Param, I read is Pellegrini still there or he left? He was on loan.
I think
he left if I'm not wrong. He left.
I think loan से वापस आया फिर गया something like that.
गया. एक चीज मैं पुल अप करना चाहता हूँ.
चिंतन भाई, took a U-turn and how?
Yeah, because he was supposed to be the next big thing out of Italy, right? And एक चीज मैं पुल अप करना चाहता हूँ regarding Paolo Vanoli यार. जब वो वेनेजिया का कोच था न्यूली, उसने ही वेनेजिया को सेरिया में वापस लाया है. दिस वाज ऑब्वियसली 69 गेम्स अगो जब उसने टेक ओवर किया था. वेनेजिया था लास्ट इन सेरिया बी. वो आया, उसने उधर से बचाया एंड हिज टैक्टिकल इनोवेशन जो वेनेजिया की ठीक ठाक स्क्वाड थी उसकी वजह से वेनेजिया के प्लेयर्स भी अच्छा खेलने लगे एंड उसने उसको सेरिया में उनको वापस लाया है. उसने टैनर टेस्मन, बूसियो जैसे प्लेयर्स को बूस्ट दिए जो हम बाद में बात करेंगे. ऑफ कोर्स यू नो फेमस स्ट्राइकर पोयन पलो फ्रॉम यू नो द फॉर्मर बुंडेसलीगा स्ट्राइकर, उसको सेरिया बी का टॉप स्कोरर बनाया. सो जो टोरिनो में लैक कर रहा था लास्ट सीजन, उनका जो गोल स्कोरिंग था बहुत कम था. व्हाइल दे हैड वन ऑफ द बेस्ट डिफेंसेस इन यूरोप, दे हैड अ हॉरिबल गोल स्कोरिंग रिकॉर्ड. आई थिंक वनोली ये फाइनली बैलेंस लाएगा टीम में. जैसे कॉस्टोव ने बोला, दे विल प्ले अराउंड बेटर एंड रीच द फाइनल थर्ड विद अ न्यूमेरिकल एडवांटेज व्हिच दे वुड नॉट डू प्रीवियसली. So definitely ये team is a team to watch out.
I mean, I would want to add about Vanoli, about him.
Definitely, go ahead.
My 2 cents, because I'm a big fan of Vanoli. And what I feel is Conte is a little arrogant about his back three and how he plays. He's not that flexible. He comes in a very Inzaghi mold for me, Vanoli. He's very flexible with his back 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, what he plays. He's not that stubborn, you can say. So what I like about him is, मैंने unfortunately Torino का गेम देखा नहीं था कोपा इटालिया का, but what I'm very excited about is he will put his team as per his opponents and he will play that way. He is not a very stubborn boss. So I'm very excited because Vanoli is the one of the few managers अगर बोल सकते हैं who I would wanted to see. I was very excited, to be very honest. I was very surprised Venezia and him parted ways mutually. I would have loved to see his continuity at Venezia only. But yeah, I'm very excited for Vanoli because what I like about his 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, whatever he plays, he's very astute and he's very flexible.
Fair enough. I think हम लोग टोरिनो से मूव ऑन करेंगे. जस्ट अब उनको आपके प्री सीजन रिजल्ट्स दिखा दो. उन्होंने ज्यादा नहीं खेला है. ऑब्वियसली बिहाइंड क्लोज डोर्स आई थिंक एक गेम खेला था, वो सोफा स्कोर पे देखेगा नहीं. आई डोंट रिकॉल व्हाट. कोसेंजा के अगेंस्ट कोपा इटालिया में खेला, दे 1-2-0. ये जो लाइनअप आप देख सकते हो, ये प्रीटी मच स्टार्टिंग 11 होगी बारिंग अ फ्यू चेंजेस.
Whether that Ajay, that Param Ajay Kasu, that midfield looks pretty decent with Linetti, Lecce and Ricky. It looks decent.
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ चिंतन में, अगर आप ये स्क्वाड देखो, अगर एक अच्छा मिडफील्डर ये लोग साइन करे, एक 6 या 8 भी, ठीक है, टमेजे को छोड़ के, तो क्वालिटी आ जाती है. और अगेन दो ही कंपटीशन खेल रहे, एक बुंजोर्नो का रिप्लेसमेंट साइन कर ले और मे बी एक विंग बैक साइन कर लेना, ये स्क्वाड सेट है टॉप 10 के ऊपर जाने के लिए. आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस इज एक्चुअली अ गुड टीम. एंड आपने बराबर बोला कि 3-5-2 सूट करता है, वो मिडफील्ड अच्छी देख रही है. अब थोड़े प्री सीजन रिजल्ट्स देखो, जितना कम खेला उसके लिए अब रिजल्ट देखो. मेट्सकेल 3-0 हराया, लियोन को होल्ड किया, अगेन क्रेमोनेसे से हार गए. इट्स ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द प्रेप बट इट्स लुकिंग डिसेंट फॉर देम. अगेन लेट्स जंप टू द प्रेडिक्शन स्टार्टिंग विद अजय भाई. क्या प्रेडिक्ट कर रहे हैं हम लोग मिलान टोरिनो के लिए? गाइस आप लोग कमेंट्स में भी प्रेडिक्शंस डालो.
I thought Torino prediction. Torino 10th है.
नहीं वो जोक पे हम लोग एंड पे आएंगे. बट गाइस आई वांट यू गाइस टू लीव अ प्रेडिक्शन स्कोर लाइन. एसी मिलान होम टीम है, मिलान टोरिनो की प्रेडिक्शंस डालो आप लोग. अजय भाई मैं आपसे चैनल का स्टार्ट करता हूं. ये प्रेडिक्शंस
3-1 मिलान.
3-1. आई विल से 2-1. मुझे लग रहा है टोरिनो थोड़ी अच्छी टीम मिलान को थोड़ा चैलेंज देगी एंड बिकॉज ये थोड़ा फर्स्ट मैच डे है, थोड़ा क्लोज होगा. सो मिलान विंस बट 2-1. कॉस्टुम, व्हाट अबाउट यू?
2-1. And I think Milan will make it 2-0 for end में Torino maybe a goal to make it nervous, but they still win. I was about to say but वो गोल नहीं मारेगा.
चिंतन भाई, your prediction.
He cannot.
Your prediction.
Yeah. See, I'm very worried. I think 1 रहेगा और बाद में मिलान विनर मारेगा. So
अच्छा मिलान विनर बाद में मारेगा, ठीक है, फेयर प्ले। एक क्वेश्चन मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, एनीवन कैन आंसर दिस, विल टोरिनो फाइनली विन द डार्बी डेला मोले यूवे के अगेंस्ट, बिकॉज हो गया 10 साल के ऊपर, कैन वाइनोली ब्रेक दैट?
No, I don't think so. Juventus have gotten stronger, I feel. No.
या मुझे भी मुश्किल लग रहा है, लोग कभी नहीं
थोड़ा सा
जीते हैं।
मेंटल भी है,
हाँ,
they can't.
मेंटल चीज थोड़ी डेफिनेटली। सो टोरिनो से मूव ऑन करते हैं गाइस, 4 टीम हो गई है, प्लीज हैंग ऑन, आपके कमेंट्स लाते रहो। 29 पीपल स्टिल हियर, वी हैव गॉन अप टू 825 सब्सक्राइबर्स, हिट द सब्सक्राइब बटन, लाइक करो, शेयर करो प्लीज गाइस। अगेन वी आर वेटिंग फॉर कमेंट्स, वी आर वेटिंग
अजय
फॉर
भाई, वो किसी को आना है तो बोल देना, आई कैन रोटेट नाउ, पूछ लेना भाई।
अरे हम लोग
योगेश तो गायब हो गया है,
या योगेश गायब हो गया, मित्तुल गायब हो गया, मित्तुल
योगेश साइनिंग करने गया है, टेंशन मत ले।
whatever for two teams I want to be here. One is of course Roma. I'm secretly supporting them this season behind Milan. So that वो team के लिए तो मैं रहूंगा इधर बस. I have too many good things to say about De Rossi.
Yeah. Guys, come on, we need more comments यार। हम लोग ऐसा नहीं कि comments ले ही नहीं रहे, obviously लेने वाले हैं। एजुड सेरिया वालों का इंटरनेट खराब रहता है यार, अभी क्या ही बोले, होता है कभी कभी किसी के इश्यूज चलते रहते हैं, can't do much about it। रविंद्र भाई says Torino may draw but not win, the longer the streak goes on the more the psychological pressure। हाँ ये डार्बी डेला मोले। हीरेंद्र ब्रॉडकास्टर है, हाँ अब्रॉड में इट्स अ स्ट्रगल, इंडिया में इट इज gxr.world, हम लोग एंड में दिखाएंगे कौन सी वेबसाइट है, if anybody does not know as of today। पर अब जो लोग बोल रहे हैं ना यार abroad the situation is way better, abroad situation और भी खराब है, they are only showing 2 games per week, it's worse than what we have। So इसलिए मैं
हम लोग अभी already 2 गेम दिखाने वाले सिर्फ यूके में per match day, so we're going to get more, we're going to be shat upon more now over there because अभी तो और मैचेस नहीं देखेंगे सेरी आ की, और हम लोग को फार्मर्स लीग बुलाएंगे, so get ready for that I guess।
yeah
Premier League players will be valued at 200 million, हमारे 10 मिलियन।
हाँ जो भी इंडिया में है जस्ट बी ग्रेटफुल, अपने पास ऐसा ब्रॉडकास्टर है जो सब गेम्स दिखा रहे हैं, उधर वो लोग देख नहीं पाएंगे सब। सो लेट्स मूव टू पार्मा विद दैट बीइंग सेड एंड फ्योरेंटीना, बिकॉज इसमें ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट है कॉस्तुब का। बट आई विल स्टार्ट विद पार्मा, जस्ट गिव मी 1 सेकंड, इफ यू कैन जस्ट टेक द अदर कमेंट्स अंटिल देन, जस्ट गिव मी 1 सेकंड। पार्मा, हाँ ये रहा यार, कॉस्तुब पार्मा पे एक एक्साइटमेंट लेवल है बिकॉज टीम अच्छी लग रही है पेपर पे। आई डू फील थोड़े गैप से इधर उधर, मतलब इट्स अ यंगर टीम। अगेन आई विल पुल इट अप वेरी क्विकली, जस्ट गिव मी 1 सेकंड बिकॉज मैं सब रेडी रखना चाहता हूँ एक साथ। पार्मा है एंड ऑब्वियसली विल एंड वन मोर थिंग, पार्मा फ्योरेंटीना इज एट द सेम टाइम एज जेनोआ इंटर 10 बजे कल, सो वो क्लैश होगा। हाँ दोनों सेम है। ये 3 साल पहले भी यही हुआ था, आई थिंक, आई गेस इट्स
ये डायनासोर्स
would never do that।
Yeah, absolutely. These dinosaurs will never learn, man. कभी सीखेंगे इन लोग।
या आई मीन जो स्टार्ट कर रहा है एक गेम पहले, एक गेम से स्टार्ट करो, बाद में जितना पेयर करना है करो। These guys will never learn। I'll just pull up their squad here quickly. After learning about UK's UK's Serie A broadcast situation, I'm grateful for what Galaxy। वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ रविंद्र, लोग जो कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं, they are not understanding how bad it is abroad। I'm sorry, like it's horrible। भाई स्कैंडिनेविया में, पूरे स्कैंडिनेविया में ब्रॉडकास्टर नहीं है, उधर भी 2 गेम दिखाने की बात कर रहे हैं सिर्फ वो लोग। It's horrible। DJ भाई is back। DJ भाई returned before योगेश। यार ये क्या कर रहा है योगेश? So I hope this is visible, Kaustubh।
Guys, we should ask this question to DJ before we move on, yaar, about the derby। What does he think?
हाँ DJ भाई, one question for you, because we were talking about Torino in very in high regard because of the new coach, obviously Paolo Vanelli। Do you think finally he breaks the jinx and wins the Derby della Mole? Because बहुत time हो गया है, बहुत, मतलब it's been over a decade, right? Do you think that's happening?
Yeah, guys, I'm actually very curious about Vanoli because he's been Conte's assistant, and the trajectory that he's had has been rather impressive with everything that he's kind of gone about and done. Especially after the promotion that he got Venezia. For me, again, like at this point, it's really, really hard to speak about fixtures like that because you want to really understand. There's a lot of changes even at Juve, and for me, we'll come to it, of course, but a lot of this season is so unpredictable in so many ways that it's going to really happen when you see the way teams start And I think the momentum over the course of the season, the start, is really what makes a difference, in giving you that confidence. Because there's so many teams with new coaches, there's so many new players that need to be integrated, and keeping them in mind, the start is what's going to build the momentum. It's going to create that cohesion. So,
Yeah,
to answer the original question, very early, Arch. It's very early, guys. I can't.
Yeah,
Don't be
that's
so
fine.
humble,
That's
yeah.
fine.
It's okay. You can say no, yeah. I don't see them winning.
हाँ
it ever.
बोलो no चलता है यार. Come on, you can
No,
say that.
I genuinely, I mean, like, how do you assess? I don't even know Juve, where they stand, which will
You were
be an interesting
you were too
discussion.
tough mentally to lose this game to
We will,
Torino. I feel.
yeah, we will come to
Heritage.
Torino might draw, but not beat Juve. Don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Let's see, no?
Yeah. I'm dialing Yogesh. मतलब where has he disappeared, bro? Like कुछ response ही नहीं रहा इस बंदे से. But let's Arun thinks they will break into top.
I just got information that he's on a separate video chat with Lukaku.
Lukaku, yes. Wait, he answered. Yogesh भाई किधर है यार? He's not replying even on call. He's answered it, but he's not replying. क्या है भाई? मतलब इतना busy हो गया.
That is because Lukaku is doing this. He's doing this. Hold on.
But let's get back on track.
Hey, can you put up Param? Can you put up Torino's Parma's game against Palermo ka starting 11? I think they lost.
Yes,
right?
I will. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I just wanted to take 2 comments. ये अपना top 6 वाला unpopular opinion, bold shout है Arun. But again, if others have a bad season, I won't rule this out. Again, if Torino make a couple of signings, DJ, if you have anything where people can follow you, because people are asking constantly. You're very popular.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on this thing. Yeah, the only thing I use is a little bit of Instagram, which is it's more like a private thing. It's just like family account. There's no real this thing, but it'll come soon. Everything is through Calcio Charcha, guys.
Yeah.
So everything that I have, I owe to Calcio Charcha. Just follow us, and that's more than enough.
What a
DJ,
response.
I was basically shouting out your handle on MSN Messenger rooms, but I think only Chintan, you and me are old enough to understand that reference.
Yeah.
Look who's back here. Yogesh, मतलब मैं फोन पे बात कर रहा हूँ, उसका भी जवाब.
हो गया Lukaku, done.
Lukaku done.
I don't know, man. Lukaku का क्या चालू है?
नहीं यार, फोन पे था ना अभी उसके साथ इतना modest. But I'll just
Guys, Yogesh's trajectory till Christmas is going to be so interesting. It's going to be almost as interesting as Conte's trajectory.
Yeah. Because
very curious.
For sure. So let's move to Parma, yaar. Again, I hope. Wait, I'm just pulling up. Chintan bhai, you wanted to see their Coppa Italia ka lineup, right? So I'll just pull that up. 1 second.
Because I think everyone has an emotional connect with Parma, not emotional, but rather people would want Parma to stay here because it's a historic club. So I would want Parma to do well.
हाँ, 1 मिनट दे दो भाई. हाँ, ये लोड हो रहा है. हाँ, so अगर आप देखो यार, पहले मैं उनका स्क्वाड दिखा दूं चिंतन भाई, if you don't mind, because I don't want people to थोड़ा भी off guard. Costo, I'll start with you यार. एक तो सबसे पॉपुलर साइनिंग इधर नाम वाइज है Zion Suzuki, पर थोड़ा लोगों का मिसकंसेप्शन होता है Costo, because people think he's good, but he is actually very, exactly.
He's terrible.
बहुत
He's terrible.
he's एशियन कप में बहुत गलतियां की इसने Costo.
Very error prone, very.
Yeah, exactly. DJ Band Chintan Bhai also said it. So ये थोड़ा misconception होता है कि he's very good, but again he's expected to start right away. Chichizola है जो who's a famous Serie A household name. उसके अलावा they have again their stalwart Costo Serie A B players. Osorio है, Balo है, Valeri को sign किया है, seasoned left back from Serie A. Midfield में सबसे exciting name Costo Bernabe. We will talk about him because of very highly rated talent, former Man City youth player of course. Hernani is injured, but again a veteran in the team. सबसे famous player इस team में Costo, you will agree, is Dennis Mann, of course.
Dennis Mann.
Insane. Yeah, Dennis Mann. Cancellieri को अभी sign किया. Biggest signing I would say Amquist, Lecce से free में उठा लिया ये लोग ने. Serie A में he was absolutely killing it last season. And striker में थोड़ा number 9 नहीं है, traditional. Boni है, but he's not a traditional line. But Costo, what do you make of this squad? You see the incomings. Suzuki, Cancellieri, Amquist, Valeri, ठीक है, बाकी सब Primavera team वाले और outgoings भी इतना कोई मतलब they're not big waves made, but they're relying on a younger pool and the existing team और थोड़ा primavera से. तुझे क्या लग रहा है? This squad is stacked enough to do better than just survival? Do you think this is like a 11th place, 10th place squad? What's your take on Parma and also the coach Pecchia, because he is doing a pretty decent job?
I think they will be. I'm not saying raw data ke basis pe, just in terms of where they finish and everything and how much they impressed. They could be what Genoa were last season under Gilardino. Unka jo front three hai, it's like that makes me want to watch every game of theirs. Mihaila, Dennis Mann, even Barnabé himself. You can see ki jo Parma ki you had that team before they got relegated. Usme you had these very Gervinho, Kulusevski, that Scandinavian striker. This is like Streets will never forget. Cornelius, yes, the GOAT. Scored a hat-trick and disappeared.
Yeah.
This seems like a very, and it's not like on paper they're good names, they're flashy names. They're all players who play well together. And when they signed Almquist when Monza lost Colpani to Fiorentina, I thought he could have been the one to replace him there. Because they're very similar in style, even stature. And to get a player like that for free, it's like it could go down as the best deal in Serie A. The way he played and the way he's got a very good work rate as well in general, where the way he played last season. He constantly likes to cut inside. Very much like Colpani himself. That is apart from Apna Barnabé and your Dennis Mann and everyone. Dennis Mann was actually really good in the Euros. First game Romania, I think Ukraine's, the game that we will never forget. He turned into prime Leo Messi in that game. So I want to see something like that in this Serie A season, because when he put in that performance, I started hyping him up again that we know him. We know him from our own league. So I want him to carry that forward. But yeah, and the good part is, उन्होंने जो experience sign करा है, those are generally those defensive players जो either centre back, full back, deeper midfield. Because Cyprian as well had when he was at Parma, he had that stint in Serie A, and he's had a very decent sort of stint in Liga as well. So he's someone who's fairly experienced at the highest level, matlab, in the top tiers of European football. So it's like a very, very good squad, pretty much like Genoa. And unka jo playing style hai, again, it's progressive, and it's not like अब अभी हम कालियरी पे आएंगे. कालियरी का जो playing style है, their DNA of the last few years, it's very Brexit in a way. It is so far attached from that. Which is, I don't think Gilardino का style can be compared to what Parma will have. थोड़ा सा difference होगा, but I expect them to do similar things to what Genoa did last season. Exact कहाँ finish करेंगे I don't know, but
definitely you think above 15.
Yeah, above 15 for sure.
ठीक है. Again, अब देखो ना, again players I would say to keep an eye out would be if Bonnie is fit.
Like just to jump in, Cancelleri, when he had these really good spells. He's just very inconsistent. There's these sparks of brilliance where you can see that if he plays well for 15 games, he's someone who can play for Italy at some point. I think call-up bhi aaya tha beech mein thoda training camp ke liye. He's never played as such, but I want to see him do well, because I always thought he had kuch to hai. Whenever it catches fire, he's going to do something.
I agree with you. Thoda inconsistent player hai, but I'll ask anyone on the floor, like aapko, for you guys, do you think Parma's youth oriented system, actually I was reading a lot of things, they call him, like in Italy they're calling them the mini Chelsea because of what their owner is doing. वो भी थोड़ा youngsters को stack up कर रहा है.
The American owner.
Yeah, Kraus. So उसको उनको mini Chelsea का tag मिल गया अभी. But Ajay, I'll come to you. Do you think this youth, like especially, do you think a player like Bernabe will have a breakout season because he is quite talented? Many teams will are definitely already have them on their list, चाहे वो Italy में हो या abroad. He was one of the stalwarts of the stalwarts of their whole title winning campaign in Serie A. ये क्या लगता है आपको?
Yeah, I
Will he
feel
break?
Parma hopefully should be exciting to watch. I'm
Yeah.
personally looking forward to seeing them this year in the league. I don't think so. They will kind of make it into the top half, but they'll be battling relegation. But if things go well and if there are not a lot of changes, manager merry-go-round, वगैरह सब, so I think they should be safe. But this is a project that's for the future. That is for sure. And Calciari, I really like him. I loved him at Roma Primavera. A lot of potential, but
Lazio में तो कुछ किया नहीं.
went to Lazio, yeah. So, but exciting project and definitely worth keeping an eye. And as you rightly said, Parma एक historic club है. Even Chintan had mentioned it. Always good to see them back in Serie A, especially considering what they've gone through over the last decade or so.
I think
Chintan,
Bernabe, I think is very exciting. I think this can be his Bernabe and Dennis Mann, just on a serious note, I think they can show what Serie A में दिखा सकते हैं. As Kaustav rightly said, the Ukraine game, he was fantastic. So I had a lot of hope. Same thing. I was sitting with my friends and watching it, and I said I know this player, and they thought I was joking, and it was actually funny that I know him. Yeah, I said I've seen him play. So Bernabe, by the way, I think he's very highly. He can play multiple roles actually. But since the time he's been pushed forward as an attacking midfielder, he's been fantastic. He was very highly rated Man City also. So I feel Dennis Mann and Bernabe are two players to probably जो वो बोलते हैं marquee players हो सकते हैं, the popular players in the squad. I think they can be that.
Yeah, and we'll move to Fiorentina right away. I'll start with Yogesh, but एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ. एक player I think जिसको ज्यादा shout out नहीं मिल रहा है is Benedict Chak or the Polish winger, because he almost had he was probably the top 2 player along with Bernabe, top 3 I would say, Bernabe and Dennis Mann last season. So अभी वो first game के लिए तो injured है, but very talented Polish winger considering कि Poland में एक अलग ही football crisis चल रहा है उधर. So definitely a team to keep an eye out, or I think if they have a good season, उनके players definitely will be in the radar. But let's go to Fiorentina. योगेश, मैं उनकी स्क्वाड 1 मिनट में पुल अप करता हूँ यार, कि कैसा लग रहा है तेरे को? क्योंकि देख यार, एक एंड पे ये लोग अच्छे प्लेयर साइन कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, कोल्पानी, ये सब वो सब. Then you see Moise Kean up top, then you see David De Gea in goal, and I know you Kostuk to he's having a field day with all the trolling when it comes to David De Gea to Fiorentina. But यार, what do क्या लग रहा है तेरे को? Do you think this Fiorentina side can go past that 8th place finish with what I know the squad is yet to be completed? Their main goal is to reduce the bloating in the team because हमेशा bloated team रहती है इनकी. What's your early sensation, Yogesh? क्या लग रहा है तेरे को? मैं squad pull up कर रहा हूँ, but just tell me your early sensation.
Yeah, first of all, like Fiorentina के लिए थोड़ा soft spot है मुझे. Like I always admired Fiorentina, like, and even Florence as a city. Hello.
बोल sorry.
Yeah, guys. So I was saying कि Fiorentina के लिए थोड़ा सा soft spot है. Like I always liked them as a club and as a city as well. ये season I'm not very sure कि उनका strategy क्या है. Like they are, like as you said, they are doing quite contradictory things with like the players that they are trying to get in. So on the surface it looks like they are just like just trying out whatever they can get from the market and just trying that out. There's no clear strategy as far as I can tell. And they had this chances to win titles for the past few seasons, but they have not been able to do that. So I guess वापस से ये season they will be trying for that. But overall, like as a strategy club की, like what kind of players they are targeting, what kind of system they'll be playing, उसके ऊपर बड़े question marks है.
Fair play. I'll go to Chintan bhai, because you look at the. I'll just show you the arrivals and departures और एक बार score दिखा दो. Congrats, चलो ठीक signing है, but he's not the most solid defender. हमने Euros में भी देख लिया था, and that was not a small sample size. वो generally वैसा. Moise Kean again 13 million for a player who has barely, again numbers who has not put up. Shocking थोड़ा. कोल्पानी अच्छी signing है. सबीरी के साथ
Amazing signing.
Yeah,
I think
सबीरी
it's
के
an
साथ
amazing signing.
Yeah, सबीरी के साथ अटक गए बिकॉज सबीरी का क्या सीन है, वो आया 2 महीने में निकल के गया बिकॉज ही फेल आउट विद इटालियानो, ही बेयरली प्लेड फॉर फियोरेंटीना. चलो गुडमैनसन आ गया आज, टॉप साइनिंग. और एक तो वी डोंट नो अगर अक्टूबर में दिस गाय गेट्स कन्विक्टेड, खत्म इसका करियर गया. So that's a very risky signing. Amir Richardson, again I need to do more research, but बहुत exciting talent मैंने सुना है.
So I know about Amir Richardson a little bit because I know someone who used to follow Stade Reims, you know, and he's a very good player. And सब लोग बोलते हैं he's pretty much like Pogba-esque with his ball control and his
He's
quality.
compared himself to Pogba as well, na? Something like that.
Yeah, वो तो खुद तो बोलेगा ना, लेकिन वो ना मैं publicly देखती है. But he's very skillful. He's a very and on the contrary, what you were starting off with, Param, I am very positive about Fiorentina. I think with Palladino, they have a fantastic squad now. With I feel Kolpani is, of course, everyone knew last year Monza का best player था by a margin. Amir Richardson is someone might take time to adjust. Goodmanson, let's leave that if that leaving his conviction aside. Fantastic season, and हम लोग ने almost half of us named him in team of the season, you know. So I feel by the end of last season, सब लोग हम लोग वही discuss कर रहे थे finals के time पे. I think they had ran out of scores. They were tired. They were exhausted, and I think it was a given. I think हार गए थे. We were expecting them to win. वो अलग, we were not expecting them to win. जीत जाते अच्छा होता. So I think it's a fresh page for them. And De Gea, I know, yeah, I think whatever is when he was in United, it was a great shot stopper for sure. Plus, more or less, if you can put this as a commercial signing also, I'm not against it, you know, something like a commercial signing. Eventually, it's good for the club. Kamiso bhi thoda exuberant manager hai. He's a very flashy manager, flashy owner himself. So, and you know, as Kaustubh told us last time, you know, Etienne Del Monte told us, they have a fantastic training camp, training ground, and the facilities they've upgraded to another level. So that will indirectly attract good players. So I think it's a pretty decent upgrade, and I'm pretty forward. Jesse Arun was talking about Torino. I would be bold enough to say that I would see them finish pretty much in the top half of the season, closer to the Seven Sisters.
Fair
I
play,
agree. I completely agree. Completely agree with that. And the main factor is Palladino. Really rate him as a good
Palladino,
manager.
yes.
That fraud Italiano has gone.
Yeah.
I think that Palladino will really get the best of the Viola players.
Fair play. Kaustubh, I'll come to you. Ajay bhai, I'm somewhere between you and Chintan's views because मुझे क्या लग रहा है, I think वो लोग सबसे अच्छी चीज कर रहे हैं इनकमिंग से ज्यादा, एक तो लोग स्क्वाड के साइज को कम कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज कौस्तुभ, आई थिंक यू लग रही कि लास्ट 3 सीजन में ना इनकी हमेशा ब्लोटेड स्क्वाड रहती थी विद अ लॉट ऑफ अनहैप्पी प्लेयर्स, ये वो बकवास, एंड they used to struggle to get rid of it. At least they're not making unnecessary signings थोड़ा इधर उधर squad size wise. ठीक है, अभी
before you go ahead, let's address the thing. Milinkovic has finally left. The guy who was touted to be every single club's best centre back has gone to Nottingham Forest. Like, what a downgrade. Kaustubh, yaad hai, every year linked with one of the top clubs. Param, क्या हो सकता है? मतलब, what do you think? I to be very honest, never thought he was a good defender. तेरे को क्या लगता है? What went wrong with him? मतलब, why was he linked every year but never managed to go anywhere?
एक तो फियोरेंटीना हमेशा ज्यादा मांगती थी फॉर हिज एक्चुअल क्वालिटी, तो टिपिकल फियोरेंटीना है. मुझे याद है हाउ मच वी ट्राइड फॉर दिस गाय एज द स्क्रीनियर रिप्लेसमेंट. मैं प्रे करता था भाई मत साइन करो इस प्लेयर को. आई वाज गोइंग टू यूज अ vulgar word, but I held myself back there because I absolutely dislike him as a player. Of course, nothing beyond that. बहुत unintelligent player है, बहुत error prone है. I don't know. I mean, kudos to Fiorentina for getting the whatever money they got for him. I'm being very harsh, but I don't like Nikola Milinkovic, the player. मतलब कितने errors मैंने देखे, कितने brain fades देखे. I'm tired of watching it. I'm glad I don't have to watch him in the Serie A regularly week in week out. बहुत harsh sound कर रहा है, but this is where I stood with him, Chintan bhai. Every time, because I know he was linked with AC Milan, ये भी जानता हूँ मैं. And I think we can only be grateful कि वो अपने clubs में आया नहीं कभी. That's all. Seriously.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for selling him to Nottingham Forest. Sorry if anyone likes.
I think one reason why उसका price inflate हो गया था was because वो headed goals बहुत ज़्यादा मारता था. There was a, I think 18-19 season में, or that calendar year 2018 or 19, he had the most amount of goals by a centre back in the top 5 European leagues, and all of them were headed goals. That was when he was decent. तब वो लगता था कि हाँ चलो है, he could score goals, aerially ठीक था. That was when उसकी positional attributes, lapses in concentration, were not as covered because Fiorentina themselves were that bad. When Fiorentina का upgradation हुआ, then we realized how bad this guy truly
Fraud,
is.
fraud.
And वो final में
Yeah.
जो error करा था उसने, that Jared Bowen goal,
Yeah.
and the entire final in general. I think even last season भी वो ऐसा कुछ खास नहीं खेला था final में.
नहीं.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I completely forgot Amrabat is back. I completely forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So let's address this. Mitul, मैं तेरे पे आता हूँ क्योंकि Mitul is back in the chat. Let's go to him again quickly. I just run through the arrivals and departures again for the chat एकदम quickly. Pongracic, Keane देखते हैं, Amir Richardson, Kolpani biggest signing I would say, Goodmanson also. Valentini January में आने वाला है I think if I'm not wrong कोस्तो अभी नहीं आ रहा वो center back depth के लिए. Yeah, Amrabat is back from the loan. I don't think he's leaving because उसको offers भी नहीं है. And I think वो रहने वाला है जो from the news पर if you follow Fiorentina sources. Milenkovic गया, Monteno गया, Castrovilli Lazio गया, we will come to Lazio. Duncan Venezia गया, Bonaventura has gone to Al Shabab. No doubt there he was about to leave anyways. Apart from that, Kostob and Mitul पे आता हूँ मैं पहले. Squad I think personally ठीक है, but it's a bit, even if I said squad cutting की जरूरत थी, थोड़ा center back और midfield में do you think certain players like let's say Gino Infantino इतना highly rated talent को जब वो साउथ अमेरिका में था साइन किया मितुल didn't get to play.
Yes.
Do you think a player like him can fill the void? Because थोड़ा I feel midfield में वो creative spark और center back especially, right? Because center back में literally Ranieri, Pongracic है, Krastev को वो लोग लोन पे डालने को देख रहे हैं. So apart from that there is no one. So do you think someone like a Gino Infantino needs to step up so that let's say a defensive profile like for example let's कहा गया वो Barak can maybe play as a makeshift center back or even a Mandragora? क्या लगता है तुझे?
I think like good question though. Like Valentino को अगर हम देखें तो वो करता है, like he has this one season, मतलब हर सीजन में 1 or 2 players that he picks up और उनको बहुत चांस देता है जो किसी ने सोचा नहीं है. तो हो सकता है कि इन्फेंटिनो को भी दे, but I'm not sure क्योंकि अब Palladino की देखो अगर if you compare from his previous job, I think he has a bigger responsibility. So for that reason, I think Fiorentina, क्योंकि of course Fiorentina as a club now is now growing in ambition. क्योंकि वो लोग अब कॉन्फ्रेंस लीग के फाइनल 2 बार कंसेक्यूटिवली चले गए हैं. They have been actually like setting a bar for themselves only. कि वो constant top 8 finish हो रहा है. Like Chintan mentioned, अभी मैं सुन रहा था वेओला पार्क का भी कि like now they've increased their training. डेविड डेया जैसा प्लेयर साइन कर लिया है, which is big based on the club's recent standards. तो अगर ये सब अगर देखोगे तो I think even the coach has certain objectives. That is why he's here. Comiso will of course be putting some certain objectives. तो हो सकता है this time we see a little bit more of a, you can say conservative approach by Palladino, not taking big risk. So because of that, I think शायद Infantino शायद he might get chucked out in some games because he's still 21. तो हो सकता है कि उसको ना खिलाए इतना, because of now Amrabat is also back. तो हो सकता है ये लोग they'll start playing the people who are already known there. तो उसको शायद थोड़ा कम खेले. Otherwise, I feel like it is his chance कि इतने सारे players गए हैं, तो this could be the perfect time to step up. But I feel like Palladino will go with what the basics or most logical things mean. तो उसमें यही कि अपने the trusted players को ज़्यादा खिलाओ. So I think
Fair
that
play.
is why.
Fair play.
Probably
Again,
all game, or not in the first game. I think.
Yeah, fair play. Now quickly we'll close Fiorentina prediction लेके जाते हैं because obviously time का थोड़ा constraint है. Actually ये जो lineup है, this was not a 5-3-2 to be very clear. ये जो Freiburg का last friendly था, it was a 3-4-2-1. Biragi played as the left center back, Martinez Quarta was the right center back, Pongracic middle में था, Dodo right wing back था, Parisi left wing back था, Amrabat और Mandragora formed the pivot, Sottil और Kolpani played behind Moise Kean. So यही news आ रही कि ये लोग 3-4-2-1 खेलेंगे even against Parma. But quickly, Ajay bhai, if you had to pick 3 players in this Fiorentina squad who you would want people to keep an eye on out basically for star players, कौन होंगे इस टीम के?
Kolpani for sure. For sure. I feel that Moise Kean is going to have a redemption season.
Wow.
The only reason is because of Palladino.
I
really feel that Palladino might be able to get the best out of him. He comes into an environment that has got relatively less pressure. So maybe he'll be able to extract, the best out of Moise Kean. And I think overall, I would say that even Ricardo Sottil तो ठीक ही है.
Goodmanson.
Goodmanson probably.
Goodmanson, yeah, again, but then it's just that वो अक्टूबर का जो उसका verdict है, that
This, yeah,
that really is
it's a very
kind of
sketchy situation.
yeah, and of
Very,
course
very
Nico Gonzalez is leaving
leaving
Fiorentina
Nico
for-
Gonzalez. Yes, you
Yeah.
were. But yeah, I think definitely pretty much Fiorentina. Quickly guys, predictions without any comments. Parma Fiorentina, क्या predictions है आप लोग के?
1-1.
1-1. Chintan bhai,
2-1 Fiorentina.
2-1 Fiorentina. Mitul,
I would go with a Parma win. I feel Parma has a little bit more gas this time because they have shown it. And I think the first half, of course, Fiorentina will score, but they'll make a comeback. 2-1 for Parma.
2-1 for Parma. I will also say a 1-1 draw because दोनों थोड़ी work in progress teams I feel, and I think Parma is good enough. योगेश क्या prediction लग रहा है?
I think it will be a draw. Parma getting some points of Fiorentina would be a pretty good start for them.
Kostu, what do you think? Because the last time a team won in this fixture, I'm just checking, was all the way back in 2020, which was Fiorentina away to Parma. बाकी उसके बाद सब draw रहे, जो भी meetings रहे, obviously with a few gaps. क्या लग रहा है, कौन जीतेगा?
Also, when do you think the first De Gea error is going to come?
मैं बोलने वाला था. I want to see it. Although honestly, I want him to do well, but it's beyond him now. But I think Fiorentina 2-1 win.
Fiorentina.
And no De Gea errors, please.
Fiorentina Parma हो गया guys. We obviously have a long way to go, but I think हो जाना चाहिए. With the certain other teams, we won't be discussing एकदम depth में. मिलान का discuss हो गया. मीर तेरे को वापस जाना पड़ेगा. हम लोग stream के बाद time stamps डालेंगे. Don't worry. Again, I see 19 people. भाई लोग comments लगाओ. I know थोड़ा आपके लिए थोड़ी चीजें नहीं हो सकती है with regards to mid table team, bottom table team, but हम लोग ने थोड़ा एक structure plan किया ताकि सब बड़ी teams पहले ही ना cover कर ले and then you guys get bored towards the end of the stream. James Rodriguez के links है. It's his agents. It's his agents offering him to Lazio more than anything. So वो देखते होता है कि नहीं. अजय भाई डिबाला पे आते हैं. प्रीतिश स्टार, if you can star that अजय भाई, मैं कर लिया. चलो. Mir Richardson was fantastic in the Olympics. I have followed him. Targelin were, yes, मैं देख रहा था. They were definitely good.
But one thing on Fiorentina we've not discussed is Bonaventura left, and Richardson is probably the replacement sort of player, which I quite like. Because Bonaventura was like one of the most underrated midfielders that Italy have right now. The way he could turn past the press, the way he could like evade defenders, and he's 34, 35, and that's not because to have that trait means you have good hamstrings, and as you get older, your hamstring don't support that ability. वो अभी भी है उसके पास. That is actually very rare.
Yeah. Fair play. तो I think अजय भाई किस पे move करने? Do we want to go to Hellas Napoli because that way Napoli हो जाता है, Hellas quickly and then Bologna we can
do let's do Hellas Napoli and after Hellas Napoli we'll take some small teams, Empoli, Monza, Venezia, Lazio.
हाँ, उसके बाद एंड में बड़े टीम से थोड़ा क्लोज कर देते. So यार पहले Hellas.
I liked how you sneak Lazio in, Ajay.
Don't Chintan bhai, there might be a Lazio. Yesterday I said this, there is a Lazio fan who followed us from India.
I'm just saying I love it. Ajay is in a very nice, a very good mood today. I love Ajay in this mood. So watch out, Lazio.
Super happy to do this mega stream. आज मेरा पूरा दिमाग में यही था कि भाई आज stream enjoy करना because finally football is starting. Club football is starting. It's been a while.
Yeah. Definitely. So
club football starts with Eric Ten Hag's upper ball against Fulham.
Yeah. Costume. I'm just कल मेरा Premier League preview आने वाला है. I've got a lot of high praise for Man United. I really feel that they will surprise a lot of people.
Inshallah.
But
probably they will only surprise you, I feel.
let's go to Hellas Napoli. Obviously Yogesh से start करते. Sorry, I just will take this one comment before that. बेचारा एक साल आउट था DDG. वही एक प्रॉब्लम है कि वो क्या शेप में है, क्या has he improved on his ball playing, खेला ही नहीं एक साल के ऊपर. So that's a big question mark. James in Spain, he'll sign with Betis or Rayo. हाँ, Lazio के ओनर ने deny तो किया था, correct, that's true. But yeah, of course, but वो deny बहुत करता है शिवम. He always does.
Betis are just doing such a great job, man. क्या team है Betis?
Just imagine Isco and James together.
And Nabil Fekir as well.
Nabil Fekir.
And funnily enough,
With
Chintan
that
bhai,
Johnny Cardoso.
हम लोग- yeah,
And
they-
managed under Manuel Pellegrini, right? So
yeah.
Yes.
And also, funnily enough, because we are coming to Napoli, and Napoli obviously have given away Natan to Real Betis only. योगेश तेरे से
Yeah.
स्टार्ट करते हैं. I know हम लोग ने already ज़्यादा Napoli discuss कर लिया है, so we can obviously get directly into it. Again, give us an insight into the pre-season. I think it's pretty much obviously done for Napoli. पर एक बड़ी चीज टॉकिंग पॉइंट है जो हमने लास्ट टाइम से डिस्कस किया था योगेश की. Conte is a bit upset because you guys missed out on Brescianini. वो Atalanta चला गया है. Atalanta
When
में
is he
definitely.
not?
Yeah, when is he not? And obviously वो पूरा Osimhen का situation अभी भी चल रहा है. He's not out. Chelsea are again re-interested. Lukaku आ नहीं रहा है. David Neres पे जाएंगे instead. I mean, it's a bit chaotic. क्या लग रहा है योगेश? What's expected now in terms of incomings and outcomings?
Yeah, the thing is that Osimhen के लिए offers lineup नहीं हो रहे थे. Like expectation was after this season, after the previous season, like Osimhen would be getting top-notch offers from probably Premier League clubs, and he'll be off, and Napoli would gain decent amount of money for him. But वैसा reality हुआ नहीं है, and because of that, काफी market is sort of like hung up Napoli का. ब्रेसियानी का ये डिबाकल हुआ था, बट आई गेस वो इसलिए हुआ था बिकॉज कैयुस्टे को जो शिप कर रहे थे टू आई गेस ब्रेंटफोर्ड अर्लियर,
हाँ वो fell through. Ipswich Town.
दैट फेल थ्रू, एंड उसका एक सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक डोमिनो इफेक्ट आया था ब्रेसियानी के डील के ऊपर, एंड कैयुस्टे फाइनली मैनेज टू गो टू इप्सविच टाउन आई बिलीव, and
Yes.
and Bresciani ka then like Napoli tried to, after the medicals happened, Napoli tried to change the terms of the agreement with Frosinone, and that's when the deal fell through. तो थोड़ा सा सैड तो है, बट क्या कर सकते हैं अब उसके लिए.
नहीं, but
I
वही
think yeah, Conte would
हाँ,
be
बोल.
expecting कि एक कोर टीम अवेलेबल रहना चाहता था, लाइक ऐसा था कि फर्स्ट सेरिया मैच के पहले एक पूरी कोर टीम अवेलेबल रहे. प्लेयर्स कैन डेफिनेटली सितंबर 1 तक सीजन ट्रांसफर मार्केट ओपन है, तो सम प्लेयर्स माइट बी कमिंग इन अ बिट लेटर, बट एक स्ट्राइकर का पोजीशन जो है अभी भी ओसिमन इज डेफिनेटली आउट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट. उसने एक्सप्लिसिटली रिक्वेस्ट किया कि दैट ही डज नॉट वांट्स टू कंटिन्यू विद नापोली. ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, लाइक एटलीस्ट इतना क्लैरिटी तो है हमारे पास में कि ओसिमन वोंट बी देयर. So that's the only thing, and Raspadori will have to fill in like until and unless we get a striker. Maybe Lukaku, और अभी जैसे rumors आ रहे कि David Neres would be coming in, and I guess he'll be coming in क्योंकि काफी advanced stage पे negotiations.
हाँ.
But is there a chance where Victor Osimhen might just go unsold this market? हो सकता है?
Sorry.
Is there a possibility that you might
Unsold,
not end up unsold? Because if अगर कोई 50 million bid की, I'm just assuming that if someone bids 50-60 million, it's not as per the price what ADL has decided in his head. Do you think there are chances he might go unsold this season?
यार ओसिमन जैसा प्लेयर बेंच पे साल भर रहेगा थोड़ा सा डाउटफुल लग रहा है मुझे. आई थिंक समथिंग माइट मूव. पीएसजी आई गेस वापस से वुड रिकिंडल देयर, लाइक पीएसजी ने प्रॉपर्ली रिप्लेस किया नहीं है एम्बापे को. दे नीड समवन अप टॉप. So I guess PSG might come back in on the deal.
I think when PSG sell Ugarte, that is when the Osimhen deal gets triggered.
हाँ वो फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट से टेक्निकली फाइनेंशियल फॉर पीएसजी. बट योगेश, अभी तू देख ये नापोली टीम में मैं लाइनअप पे आता हूँ. एनीवन एल्स वांट्स टू आंसर एज वेल. प्रॉब्लम है कि कॉन्टे ने वही कंप्लेन किया मोडेना गेम के बारे में, जो फैंटास्टिक कोपा इटालिया गेम था. मजा आ गया मेरे को देख के. मतलब मोडेना एक्चुअली, योगेश अग्री करेगा, फुल 90 नॉर्मल टाइम में मोडेना वाज द बेटर साइड. दे हिट द पोस्ट ट्वाइस, दे कुड हैव एक्चुअली वन द गेम. पर मतलब उनके पास वो जो कॉन्टे टिपिकल जो फिजिकल प्रेजेंस रहता है ना, वो था ही नहीं. मतलब रास्पाडोरी ऑब्वियसली शॉर्ट, ही वाज नॉट विनिंग एनी एरियल ड्यूल. कॉन्टे को एनगोंज पसंद नहीं है तो एनगोंज को खिलाता नहीं है. ओसिमेन स्क्वाड में नहीं है. सिमियोने इज आउट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट. So technically Conte does not have a striker. That's the biggest problem, Yogesh. ठीक है. और मुझे एक लॉजिक बचा इधर, योगेश, do you agree with this? He is willing to keep Politano, a player he kicked out of Inter, over Cyril Engonge, a profile that Napoli could do with. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I guess Politano is playing in these early matches just because of the experience and the understanding he has with other Napoli players. I guess uh, Cyril को काफी थोड़ा सा शो अप होना पड़ेगा लाइक लास्ट सीजन कितना भी chaotic हुआ था बट आई पर्सनली फेल्ट कि उसके परफॉर्मेंसेस वर नॉट अप टू द स्क्रैच
अरे भाई वो 6 महीने है क्लब में भाई.
नो बट
क्या
आई saw him play like but it
Very,
was
very
not
harsh. Very harsh. एकदम डी लॉरेंटिस वाला आंसर था ये.
ये अभी
डी
फोन पे
लॉरेंटिस
कॉन्टे से
और-
बात कर रहा था, लुकाकू से नहीं.
हाँ.
no but
वही-
उसके performances are not so strong enough कि Politano को bench करे and we don't have any other alternatives as well. So,
अरे भाई पर 6 महीना बैठा है वो सिर्फ क्लब में यार, तू क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है उससे. बट चिंतन भाई, I'll come to योगेश अगेन. ये इनकमिंग्स और आउटकमिंग्स में एक बार दिखा था. बुंजोरनो बिगेस्ट साइनिंग, हम सब अग्री प्रीटी मच करते हैं मितुल कोस्टो की दिस गाय वाज द बेस्ट डिफेंडर इन द लीग लास्ट सीजन. Not Calafiori, please, we respect Calafiori, but Calafiori was not the best in our opinion. Rafa Marin है, Spinazzola, ये 3 टॉप साइनिंग है. फॉलोर उनको को ऑलरेडी कॉन्टे निकालने का ट्राई कर रहा है कोस्टो, व्हिच इज अगेन गोइंग पास्ट माय हेड. शेडीरा को रख रहा है, गायतानो गया कैलियरी, आई थिंक इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. ओस्टिगार्ड को हटा दिया,
Almost.
ज़िएलिंस्की, हाँ ऑलमोस्ट ज़िएलिंस्की तो ऑब्वियसली गया, डेमे भी गया. सो मतलब चिंतन में व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड इज, आई नो नापोली सिर्फ 2 कंपटीशन खेल रहा है, बट ये जो नैरेटिव है कि ये लोग ऑलरेडी स्कुडेटो कंटेंडर्स है, is this definitively true? Because I am seeing an incomplete squad on many ends. I am not seeing a squad that is ready right away maybe to challenge for the Scudetto, at least sitting here right now. ठीक है, स्कॉट मैकटोमिनी के लिंक्स है, मैं वो देख रहा हूँ कमेंट्स में. GGM you brought it up, yes that is there, but where is the striker, where is that creative, where is Billy Gilmore, he's also linked, where is the where is the one more center back. बुंजोरनो को तो सीसी भी खिलाना है, where is the left center back. So do you really think ये स्कुडेटो वाला सीजन है? बिकॉज मुझे बहुत डेफिशिएंसीज दिख रही है टीम में.
ना आई थिंक स्कूडेटो सब लोग बोल रहे हैं ऑफ कोर्स बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉन्टे इन्फ्लुएंस, बट या मेरे को तो नहीं. आई लाइक कॉन्टे, आई लाइक व्हाट ही ब्रिंग्स टू द टेबल, बट आई फील that last season left a big scar on Napoli and Napoli's players in general, and selling Osimhen, I know he wants to go, but he seems like a pretty much decent character or a characteristic kind of a player which Conte would like to have in his team. And my only concern again is we all love Kvaratskhelia. I think he's so skillful. Conte is kind of a player where his skills might be undermined a little bit, where he might be told to pull back, might not get the freedom eventually. So I feel to an extent Juve are a bit more settled when it comes to things, and I don't know, Bressanini was such a perfect fit what he wants from a central midfielder. Being a ex Milan youth player, I know how good he is. Pretty much similar to I had a pretty much similar feeling when Cristante left Milan. A utility player ban sakta tha Milan. Bresciani had to leave because of course Milan were in turmoil back then. So I'm surprised. To be very on a serious note, I don't know what happened when the deal fell through. And Follow again is a pretty much a number 6 which they would want. So I don't know. एक कुछ turmoil है. He has a certain characteristic where he's told the owners that I want them and he's not getting it. There is something missing, lost in translation हुआ है, which we don't know about, or as we know that they might have just confirmed deals with a few players. But as what Yogesh is saying, it looks like till Osimhen doesn't go, काफी सारे deals blocked हो जाएंगे उनकी, big money. So and I read somewhere comment में, I pretty much agree that Osimhen is a great player, but there are not many teams who have that much money to shell out 100 million now, especially towards the time when the season is starting. So a City, I know they don't have someone other than Haaland over there, but they are not going to sign someone like this. United have players, Arsenal have players, EPL में तो more or less every club has a good striker for them. So I don't know where Osimhen can go. And
Chidan bhai, the answer simple: Chelsea. They love stacking players.
वही option है, Lukaku, Osimhen.
And by the way, people forget that Nkunku is such a great player and he's just coming back from an injury. So Galliani he's going to be like a new signing for them. But and my concern is not that. My concern is, are they going to sell him off by come end of the season if the last offer is 50 million? will that happen? And if that happens,
Yeah.
are PSG also just buying time because they know right now Napoli have to 10? But coming to your question, incomplete तो लग रहा है. Inter are far away runners. So मैं जो भी अभी if anyone asks me, are they potential title challengers? I only compare them directly to Inter, and which is fair enough because they are the defending champions. So in that logic, I think the gap is too much.
Mm-hmm. And Mitul, I'll come to you before we take close Napoli out because Yogesh से close करेगा whatever. ये उनका मोडेना का गेम था Mitul. Obviously, you see the lineup.
Yeah.
Merit था उसने Merit की बात चल रही है छोड़ देगा but again penalties बचाए so I think he might end up staying as well. Buongiorno again वो left center back खेल सकता है but ideally they have bought him for CCB. They do not have a LCB है नहीं अभी टेक्निकली उनके पास. डी लोरेंजो भी RCB खेल रहा है. माजोकी खेला था. They had an all-right game. मतलब you can see it's early because Modena was really giving them a lot of problems. Yogesh तो अगर देखा होगा you can testify for that because they hit the post crossbar. I know sure Napoli भी थोड़ा dangerous था.
I watched the highlights.
हाँ इतना dangerous. हाँ and तो मितुल तुझे क्या लग रहा है मतलब personally how do I put this कि for you do you think even if they only improvise on the striker और बाकी थोड़ी areas रह जाती है it's enough for a two competition team मतलब क्योंकि दो ही competition खेलने वाले at the end of the day well spaced out. तुझे लग रहा है striker enough and market बंद हो गया तो भी ये लोग कर पाएंगे top 4 good enough for top 4?
I think few years back अगर होता तो for sure, but I can like even we, for example, Juventus were playing just one or two competition last time as well, right? And we had a better set squad as compared to Napoli. And after some point, we were pushing, we were getting closer to Inter. And at one point, हम लोग 1-2 point ऊपर भी हुए थे because you guys went to Saudi to play the cup. But after that, it was a huge fall because we have realized that, now it needs more than just a complete squad. Now it needs more than, perfect starting 11. It needs a good depth, और good depth में you have a backup option और उसका भी backup होना चाहिए because now Serie A has improved a lot. And I think if I see this lineup, because जब पहले rumors आ रहे थे about all the links, I was also very excited for the Napoli rebuild because I thought कि under Conte होगा because Conte again brings his own influence to any team. And then they got Buongiorno and Bresciani was almost there. So I thought, like now Napoli will be battling it out for the first point. Maybe, they can go all the way as well. But then slowly the deal gets, starts to break off. And then I see Spinazzola is still not the fittest because even in that game, I saw the highlights. He was subbed off, I think, around 70-60 minutes, if I'm not wrong, Yogesh. And he was losing it. Like he was losing his stamina. So that is why they have to bring him out. So I think this team can fight for cups, but they might not go all the way for the leagues yet.
Conte and cups, bro. Conte and cups.
I know.
And
I'm just saying about.
Also, they've not really replaced Zielinski per se.
Yeah,
exactly.
During that era, last 4-5 years.
Yes,
he's probably one of the most crucial, pivotal player in the team. जो हमेशा used to make other players better around him as well by supplying the ball and all. So I think at max I'm saying this team can win a trophy, and that is by winning Copa probably because if Conte breaks his curse. But I don't see them winning Serie A because Serie A has become very tough now. Even small teams are giving more than they have ever given to a league, right? So and now when you have a competition of Milan, you have a competition of Juventus, for example, who are also fighting for as a challengers trophy, you can say. And of course there is Inter. So I think it's very tough, very, very tough for Napoli to see it. And they have very good squad, probably 7, 8, 9 players who are deserving of a title, but still not complete 11 and even a depth that is needed for the Scudetto. So
and before
they'll fall short.
Yeah, we'll close out with Yogesh. मैं तेरे को तेरे key players पूछूंगा, but before that ये penalty shootout हुई थी नापोली और मोडेना के बीच और insane था. Actually ऐसा लग रहा था योगेश नापोली हारेगी because they missed the penalty first, but मोडेना eventually दो miss किया and वो कॉन्टे का चेहरा दिख रहा था sideline पे. मतलब he was obviously very unhappy. पर योगेश, 3 players if you had to pick, people should watch out for from Napoli this season, who you think will do well and start, do well for this team and help them achieve their goals. कौन लग रहा है तेरे को?
I would say Kvaratskhelia, Di Lorenzo, and Meret. Like these 3 players.
तेरा क्रैश अलग ही लेवल पे भाई डी लोरेंजो पे मतलब पर हाँ बोल
No, exactly. Not Lobotka, under Conte. That too.
Lobotka is a world class player, man. What a
लोबोटका तो
midfielder.
अच्छा खेलेगा यार, उसमें I have no doubts.
हाँ पर
What about Lukaku? What about Lukaku?
लुकाकू जब आएगा तब देखते हैं.
तो आने वाला है कि नहीं? बता दे, तो ऑडियंस को बता दे कि डील हुआ कि नहीं.
अभी तो डील हुआ नहीं है. लग रहा है लुकाकू के बदले डेविड नेरेस को ले लेंगे. अभी तो ऐसा लग रहा है.
Guys, hint.
Weird. Yeah, that is so weird.
Inside,
If David,
inside scoop only on Calcio Charcha. ये this is
हाँ.
Fabrizio Romano को पता नहीं है, but David Neres is coming to Napoli. Confirm.
David
योगेश ने confirm कर दिया. योगेश
एक
का
तो
year
हाँ,
भी को आ गया.
या योगेश तू तेरे लिए कैप्शन बना, हियर वी गो स्टाइल कुछ हिंदी में बना ले तू. Because I
यार मेरे
definitely
3
think
प्लेयर्स जो मैं पिक करूंगा वो like these 3 would be there. Kvaratskhelia, Di Lorenzo and Meret, because Meret का गोल में परफॉर्मेंसेस अच्छे रहेंगे. आई बिलीव कॉन्टे के अंदर ही शुड इम्प्रूव.
Yeah.
स्कूडेटो विनिंग सीजन में Meret was quite solid. एंड ये सीजन भी अगर लाइक 2 पेनल्टी सेव्स ऑलरेडी कर दिया बंदे ने, तो एक थोड़ा गुड फुटिंग पे स्टार्ट कर रहा है. उसका कॉन्फिडेंस भी थोड़ा बिल्डअप होना जरूरी है. एंड इफ ही हैज अ गुड परफॉर्मेंस, नापोली एज अ होल वुड हैव अ गुड परफॉर्मेंस. डी लोरेंजो न्यू रोल में
यार डी लोरेंजो के लिए मेरे को समझ ही नहीं है. मेरे my
Yeah,
head is
same man. Same. This guy was almost leaving you guys.
मितुल don't forget अपने wounds काफी fresh है after Euros.
Exactly. After Euros, यार. And he's saying कि अगर वो अच्छा करेगा तो पूरी टीम अच्छा करेगी. Wow.
No, I was saying that for Meret. डी लोरेंजो पे तो अभी बोला ही नहीं मैंने.
yeah, let's but that's fair. Let's take some comments then quickly. Hellas Verona close कर देते हम लोग. PSG is the
Wait,
most
wait.
likely.
Param, I have one thing for Yogesh. He's not replying to my tweets.
कौन सा tweet है?
हाँ तू एक्टिंग कर रहा है भाई, तू एक्टिंग कर रहा है. Zoom in.
ये बता, ये कौन सा लोगो है भाई? बता तू मुझे.
नारायण ग्रुप ऑफ स्कूल्स. हाँ ये देखा मैंने, मुझे चमका नहीं लगा कि ये लोगों की बात कर रहा है.
भाई तुम लोग समझते नहीं, उनका विजन इतना दूर है, स्काउट कर रहा है इधर.
डे लॉरेंटिस.
हम लोग का जो सोच इधर खत्म होती है, वो फिल्म मेकर और अपना योगेश की सोच उधर चालू होती है.
This is
वो कॉपीराइट के पैसे ले लेगा कल और इसको लुकाकू में डाल देगा.
So मीर ये करेंगे, मीर ये थोड़ा एंड में करेंगे बोल्ड प्रेडिक्शंस. आई नो थोड़ा लंबा चल रहा है, बट दिस इज लाइक सीजन प्रीव्यू, सो लंबा होने ही वाला है ये स्ट्रीम. सो जस्ट हैंग इन. चेल्सी have 8 first 4 team goalkeepers. वही they have to sell a lot. Guys, do you think there is any other team challenging Inter? हम लोग वही डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक सब लोग वही अगर मिलान यूवे के
कृतेश नो आई डोंट थिंक
यूवे के टेंजेंट पे है, और कोई
Inter
इसके अलावा
B team can challenge them for sure.
Yogesh is becoming ADL. It's the perfect arc. Atalanta is versus PSG winter transfer for Osimhen. So Atalanta पे आते हैं हम लोग थोड़ी देर में. Scott McTominay में join. Yes, Osimhen is a 100 million player. I don't think he will be left unsold. Deck यार, again depends. Again रविंद्र, बहुत weird situation है थोड़ा. Shashruth, nice to have you. तूने UA representation की demand की थी. We already have one. We actually have two, but since we don't use premium version, one has to drop out. तो उनको भी बाद में बुला लेंगे. But यार, let's move एकदम quickly.
Exactly 3 minutes में I want to move on from the next team because it is Param's favorite team. So Param might just talk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on his next favorite team.
इसलिए मैं कौस्तुभ को फ्लोर दे रहा हूँ बहुत quickly because obviously we also
favorite
have
team, favorite stadium.
Ajay, let's have a pee break and come back because I'm not interested in talking about this team at all.
I just want them to get relegated. That's all.
Yeah, प्लीज. मतलब आई थिंक ना हम लोग कुछ बड़ा करेंगे इस चैनल पे. हेलास वेरोना गेट्स रेलीगेटेड, कुछ तो करेंगे यार. कुछ
no by the way Param बोले no disrespect to any Hellas Verona fan listening to us right now.
Yeah, we just है थोड़ा है, we don't like them, but let's Kostub, I want to go through this quickly, not because it's Hellas Verona, but we also have less time to cover. एक तो वो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है इधर. बट यार मतलब आधे प्लेयर्स तो इन्होंने उठा के लाजियो को बेच दिए. एक तो वो है मतलब
small clubs dealing with each other.
Yeah, it's quite ironic. Kabal UA को बेचा obviously. कबाल यूए को बेचा. नॉसलिन जो उनका 6 months में, जो लास्ट 6 months में स्टार प्लेयर था, उसको लाजियो को बेच दिया. केविन रुएज छोड़ के गया बाजिल. टोमा एंड्री पलेर्मो गया, जो भी ठीक ठाक प्लेयर था. मतलब अगेन they are obviously going with under massive financial issues. again we keep bringing this up. Owner was in prison and everything. Arrivals भी देख थोड़े ठीक ही है. Suat Sardar ठीक है. Chacha Hua is probably one standout player because he is in demand as well. He's doing all right. But other than that, you look at this squad, Costum does really. Casper Tengsted Benfica से लोन पे लिया, but again not a great signing per se. मुझे सिर्फ दो अच्छे प्लेयर दिखते हैं. तो विल बी टॉमस सुस्लोव जो यूरोज में भी था स्लोवाक के लिए. लाजोविच ठीक है. डूडा अच्छा है, but that's pretty much it for me. Is there any other saving grace for this team? Do you think their new coach Paolo Zanetti is good enough to save them? Because I think they are going down this time. क्या लग रहा है तुझे?
Same. Honestly, I'm still shocked that Verona is still in Serie A because constantly they've been having to sell players and then overperform. And Marco Peroni did a good job, and obviously he got his move to Lazio, which he probably deserves well because those squad था at one point ऐसा लगा था कि relegate हो जाएंगे, then somehow he turned things around. And Lazio का जब से वो आए, I think when 2019 is when they got promoted. तब से उनका ये रहा है कि somehow they end up overperforming on resources and on the squad they have. I don't think they can because Paolo Zanetti has never impressed me. दो teams उसके अंडर relegate हो गए. I mean, not directly. Last season वो sack हो गया था, then the team went down. But I don't think he has it in him to. I've never seen कि उसके पास ऐसी कोई tactical identity है which stands out.
Yeah.
Be it at Venezia or in his previous stint. कभी मेरे को ऐसा नहीं लगा कि it's something which कि वो किसी क्लब. Even Marco Giampaolo has that identity. उसका दिखता है.
ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया.
At least he's like Marco Baroni. We know Marco Baroni का जो approach है वो कैसा है. Paolo Zanetti, I don't see him overperforming with a team that's weakened on the basis of their financial resource. January में भी कुछ नहीं करेंगे.
Yeah.
Because अभी summer में नहीं करा after selling all those two players. अब करना, ideally they should be doing it now. January में it will be too late.
Yeah, true. And I think
and in general squad में कोई इतना strength नहीं है.
Yeah,
Abdul Harawi was good in the Eredivisie. उसके बाद वो Sassuolo आया, उसने कुछ करा नहीं.
Yeah, exactly.
And even Suat Sardar at a point
was good.
At Hertha Berlin, Bundesliga, he had really good numbers, ball carrying or defensive numbers. Not anymore. हो गया उसका.
Yeah, so I just want to say to close Hellas Verona out कि we are not skipping them over ऐसा कोई, but really ये team financial issues से जा रही है. Depth के लिए पैसा नहीं है really. अब देखो Casper Tengsted was not a starter at Benfica. ठीक है, Coppa Italia में उसने गोल मारा, but they got knocked out by Cesena. मतलब I was very happy they got knocked out. Cesena is a Serie A B team. They knocked them out of the Coppa Italia 2-1. And really कोई difference maker per se है नहीं. Darko Lazovic चलो ठीक player है. Suslov is a talent. Duda is a veteran. He's good. Yeah,
Duda is the only one I can see saving grace थोड़ा हो सकता मतलब.
Yes,
veteran है.
Diego and Diego Coppola ठीक है. But really there is, as Kostub said, there is nothing. I'll be very surprised if they survive relegation. मतलब it will need others having a shit season for these guys to survive. जैसे ये बोला जो मार्को बरोनी था last season, उसने बचा लिया कचरा टीम के साथ. Kudos to him because he was saving the team when their owner was in jail, when they had to sell players. Literally bulk sale था वो. So I think these guys are definitely getting relegated. That's my take on Hellas Verona. Let's move on from them.
Param, you know, by the way, जो मितुल बोला ना, बहुत सही point बोला था. Serie A is different now. The leagues are teams are competitive. 7-8 साल पहले शायद बच जाते हैं ऐसी टीम से, लेकिन not anymore.
Yes.
I still feel like just for the scenes, this team will still survive. I think it's our destiny. It's our destiny. I think कि हम लोग after the season we'll be talking again कि how this team has still survived. जनवरी में वो कुछ लोन लाएंगे.
It's because of this.
Yeah, it's because of this. I feel कि हम लोगों ने बोला ना, I just got just ticked me कि भाई अब पक्का जनवरी में कुछ करेंगे. 2-3 लोन लाएंगे और they will still scrape through 17.
और इनके बड़े
strong
इंटर मिलान और रोमा के अगेंस्ट ही आएंगे. For reasons
these guys, definitely they give me that vibe that they might pull something off. But देखते हैं.
Monty का एक goated वो आएगा moment बीच में 2-3 games and they'll I think they'll get 17th finish again. So
Dinar, this is true. Yes, 14 teams have new coaches, so definitely yes. Let's quickly Napoli, Hellas Verona, Napoli predictions. Hellas Verona is the home team. I I say 1-0 Napoli. क्या लगता है अजय भाई आपको?
3-0 Napoli.
Wow, 3-0 fair play. चिंतन भाई
2-0 Napoli.
Costo
2-0.
2-0 मितुल.
I would say 1-0. गंदा सा मैच.
वही
हाँ,
मुझे
वो तो
लग रहा है.
expect
By the
करें.
way, you guys know, right? They have a history. Both these clubs, rivalry, intense rivalry.
Yes.
Fan base, ultras. They are almost same, but they hate each other. क्योंकि
Yeah.
वो बोलते हैं कि you are not Italians, you are Neapolitan. तो वो
Yeah,
भी
वो-
अपना बोलते हैं कि
That is
they have,
Napoli.
they are very
Ultras
racist
have
to each other.
to with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
It's a
is
rivalry.
Hellas.
Like half of them are forced, half of them are like कि हम जबरदस्ती कर रहे हैं, but this is a little bit natural they had. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Rossonera says 1-0 Hellas. Fair enough. I would be very surprised if that happens. भाई लोग आप लोग भी comments में
17
बताओ.
I want that for chaos. I want that for
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
chaos.
Entertainment. Comments में आप लोग भी बताओ. 14 people still here. Let's move on quickly. Let's go to which one, अजय भाई?
Let's do Roma, यार. Let's do Roma. I'm very excited.
Cagliari Roma. चलो Cagliari Roma पे जाते. We will give a bit of मतलब not a bit. We will give good time to Bologna, Atalanta and other teams. थोड़ा Empoli, Monza we will run through. Lecce we will run through. But I want to give time to Atalanta, Lazio, Roma and of course Bologna. UA तो है ही of course. वो तो no doubt. We're waiting for DJ bhai also to rejoin. So we'll save UA for थोड़ा end. But let's go to Cagliari Roma. Let's start with Roma because थोड़ा I'll pull up Cagliari in the meantime. एक तो आप लोग comments लाते रहो. 17 people I see in the chat. Please let us know your thoughts on Roma's signings. कोई questions है तो भेजो. अजय भाई, let's start with your club. Obviously एक थोड़ी बड़ी न्यूज आ रही है कि डिबाला शायद जाए. अभी थोड़ा मिक्स्ड न्यूज है because एक सोर्स बोल रहा है जा रहा है, एक सोर्स बोल रहा है रह रहा है. थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन है अभी भी. Does Dybala leave a big hole in this team because everything was looking, एकदम jolly, मतलब सब अच्छा चल रहा था और एकदम suddenly ये मूड खराब हो गया. क्या लग रहा है आपको सीजन के
Another
बारे में?
thing, Ajay, I want to ask you one more important question. Dybala, do you think, of course, he's going to go and news are you more upset because of your connect with him, or you think genuinely Roma will miss him when he leaves? Like, anyways, he's injury prone, so he hardly plays much. So, as a player attachment हो जाता है, उसके वजह से you're more upset, or that, oh my God, Dybala is going to go, so tactically we are in a bit of trouble now. We need to panic buy someone or something.
No, I think it's the first thing because as a fan, you would miss Dybala, probably the best player after Francesco Totti, the best technical player to be on the pitch. जितने मेरे sources है, it looks like I know he's considering a move to Saudi, but he's going to more or less accept the move. दिक्कत यही है कि देखो tactically, I don't think so. De Rossi will miss Dybala because during preseason, De Rossi had mentioned that he wants to try Dybala as a false nine. In the preseason games, it didn't really work out that well. And agar aap dekhoge, then the only position is the right wing position. If the way that De Rossi lines up the Roma team, and in that position, Roma have already signed Matthias Sule from Juve. So Sule is going to be the starter, and there is Baldanzi already who Roma signed in January, who is the backup right wing option. So that literally leaves Dybala with playing as a false nine or a bit behind Dobbik, who's going to be the starting center forward. So वहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे, De Rossi typically starts with 3 midfielders. Pellegrini is that player you can say as a 10, but he does drift out wide on the left. That's a starting position. Then you have Paredes as the regista, and a Mezzala in the form of either Cristante or Lafay. So that really says that where is Dybala's role on the pitch. So in my opinion, tactically, I don't think so Roma will miss Dybala. But as a fan, obviously, like Dybala literally transforms the team. But I really understand where the management are coming from, because there is also a clause that if he plays 14 games this season, he gets, in his contract, he earns 7 million gross. So if there is a time to sell Dybala, it is now. I wish it had happened in the summer, because Param and I, we had done a stream few months ago, तो जहाँ पे मैंने predict किया कि Dybala शायद ये summer जाएगा. If he goes to European club, I thought it will be Atletico, but if not, it was going to be Saudi. So I think the latter option is going to possibly come true. So as a fan, obviously I'm going to miss him, but I think tactically Roma are safe and sound without Dybala as well.
Fair enough. So we'll just quickly go through the squad arrivals. ये वो थोड़े और thoughts पूछेंगे. आप देख सकते हो गोल में मिले स्विलर obviously है, मैथ्यू रायन बैकअप के लिए. there could be competition, I would say. Obviously Matthew Ryan के भी errors होते हैं, but I do think थोड़ा competition होगा. Evan Indy का है, Mancini है, Kumbula जाएगा. I think Empoli are
Kumbula
interested.
is going to Espanyol.
Sorry,
Espanyol.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. My
Done.
bad. Sorry. Smalling, I don't know if he'll leave. Ajay bhai, you could clarify that because
I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he stays fit.
Fair enough. Angelino आया है, obviously. Samuel Dahl आया है, young left back from Djurgårdens, who is very talented. Zeki Çelik, Karsdorp, Roma legend, of course. Brian Cristante है, Paredes है, Enzo Lafay. हमने इस पे स्काउट रिपोर्ट हमारी पहली एडिशन में किया था. We are very personally, I am very excited to see him. बोवे है, बोवे के थोड़े ट्रांसफर लिंक्स आ रहे हैं, सो उधर देखते हैं क्या होता है. अजय भाई पीसी लीग
He's taken number 8 that was vacated by Matic. It looks like he's going to stay. Hopefully he stays.
Yeah, Zalewski है, obviously Pellegrini is the captain. बल्डांजी का होप कर रहे ब्रेक थ्रू सीजन हो सकता है. एल शरावी तो रहेगा. सूले आया है, वही एक थोड़ा रोमा फैंस के लिए, बिकॉज सूले आया सब डिबाला के लिए. आई नो विद द होल डिबाला कनेक्शन, इफ डिबाला लीव्स थोड़ा ऑकवर्ड हो जाता है, बट ऑब्वियसली सूले हैज हिज ओन लेगेसी टू मेक हियर. डिबाला तो देखते हैं क्या होगा. डॉफबिक आया है, जिसपे हमने स्काउट रिपोर्ट किया था. ला लीगा टॉप स्कोरर, एब्सोल्युटली इनसेन. टैमी एब्राहम का फ्यूचर अप इन द एयर है. एल्डोर शमोरोडोव जाने वाला है. ही इज लिंक्ड विद एटलांटा यूनाइटेड, ऑब्वियसली इन द एमएलएस. सो देखते हैं उधर क्या होता है. सो दोस आर द ट्रांसफर्स गाइस. पर Ajay bhai, how has the pre-season been? Because last your game was a draw with Everton, where this was the starting lineup: Artem Dovbyk, Sule, Pellegrini, Zalewski, Cristante, Lafay, Indica, Zeki Çelik, Angelino. Not a bad lineup. How was this game, and how is Roma doing in pre-season physically, tactically? What are you seeing? What is lacking? What is good?
I think, De Rossi has got his ideas very clear that he wants to use Dovbyk as the focal point of attack. So this was Dovbyk's, I would say, first proper run out, and he actually looked like he was missing some sharpness. Obviously, pre-season, and he's settling into a new team. So the first half, I think Roma could have literally scored 3 to 4 goals and been ahead. Unfortunately, Roma missed a lot of chances. The Pellegrini goal was quite brilliant. I mean, अगर आप highlights देखोगे, you see the Sole ball that we had mentioned basically. पर जब अपन कर रहे थे, the way that he finds that pass, the weight of his pass is so accurate. So Pellegrini making that run, typical number 10 run into the box. So very excited. It is not the finished project yet. I think it will take some time for Roma to get going. I don't think so. It's going to be like up and running from game week 1. थोड़ा समय लगेगा, but very excited at the direction overall where the club is going, and overall the players that Ghisolfi and De Rossi are bringing into the team. Like, we are finally moving away. Costo and I, we keep on saying, from the George Mendes web of players, and typically signing the Dybala, Lukaku. The transfer doesn't cost much, but the wages are insane.
Yeah,
the whole project did not work, obviously, because Roma did not finish in the top 4. So I think this is the right way to go. And with all due respect, Atalanta have done it, and there is no shame in copying their model, and because they've really achieved a lot of success from getting this model where they get all these players who have a tremendous ceiling.
Ajay, I want to ask you one question. I just saw that starting 11, and I saw Cristante starting. Now, my personal opinion, I saw Bove play. He's a fantastic player. Paredes, of course, will start. Do you think, as a fan, and of course, he's a youth player, Bove can fit right in with Enzo Lafay over there?
I really think he can. मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता, because under Mourinho, Bove was, Bove got so many minutes under Mourinho,
and he was fantastic. He was fantastic.
Yeah. But I think
you played 10 men against Milan, and Bove came on, and he was running on steroids. Yeah. I think you're fantastic. So, you opened this, I saw remove Cristante, put Bove there, and I think this team looks completely different. That's my personal opinion. So, what do you think about that?
I'm again not a big fan of Cristante, the technical player, but he gives you 37 out of 38 games, because एक game में he will say Porco de Dio, and Serie A will suspend him for blasphemy. वो तो तू लिख के ले, तो वो एक game तो miss करने वाला है वो. But that's the thing, right? I mean, we don't have players who can last for an entire season, and Cristante does play 90% of the games of the season. So that is what Cristante brings to the table. Technically not the greatest player, but he's always there at thereafter.
And he plays everywhere.
But
sorry, go ahead.
And he plays everywhere, so he can centre back. बैक भी खेल
हाँ,
सकता है,
भैया।
इधर भी खेल सकता है. So
Yeah, very quickly, Ajay bhai, how are you expecting Roma tactically कैसा खेलेगी very quickly? तो फिर हम लोग, we can probably then ask you also on the basis of that who stands out for you, who will have a great
Yeah,
season. So क्या tactically
I
expect?
think I really think De Rossi is a smart coach, but he's still young, inexperienced. The teams that actually will kind of challenge him are the lower teams who play with the low block. So I really feel that in attack, the transitions are going to be quick, and you will see a lot of interplay in the center between Dobbik, Pellegrini, Matthias Sule, in the half space coming in from the right into the middle. You'll have a lot of exchanges over there. Hopefully, the one aspect that I think can be improved is more shots on target, which obviously would lead to a higher conversion rate. So वो एक मेरे को एक area है where I think Roma and De Rossi can improve, and of course at the back as well, because ये जब high line खेलते हैं तो उसके साथ में you have all these challenges. Is Manchini the fastest player? I don't think so. Is he the smartest player?
No.
Definitely not. So वो एक थोड़ा question mark आता है, and then the right back issue यार, मतलब Zeki Celik है अभी, the second option is Rick Carlson.
So we are looking at links of Saud Abdul Hamid, and I can tell you from obviously Al Hilal, and I can tell you are pretty much signing the best right back in that league, because वो बहुत time से एशिया में कुछ ज़्यादा ही रह गया है, and Saudi Arabia में before all the money came in, really they wouldn't move out. All the players would go to Al Hilal and stay there only, और Al Hilal थोड़ा one sided हो जाता था. तो एक चीज मैं बोल सकता हूँ, बहुत सॉलिड प्लेयर है, जो एकदम ये जो पैसा आया राइट उसके पहले से ही वो बहुत अच्छा खेल रहा है अजय भाई. He has been one of the players that I felt always should have, as someone who watches Asian football, should have moved out way sooner. But I think Roma को एक physically tall, मतलब not just tall, what am I saying? Physically imposing player मिल रहा है at right back, जो definitely, और he's good with the ball, carrying and everything technically है. थोड़ा obviously adaptation में time लगेगा, but again we can see that everyone is opening up to Asian players because there is a market there. There aren't bad players out there. So Saud Abdul Hamid आता है first Saudi Arabian to play in Serie A, वो तो हो ही जाएगा. And but I think वो अच्छी depth उधर add करेगा. Karsdorp will go out and I think Zeki Celik will become the backup. So उधर अगर आप वो करते हो तो Roma solid हो जाती है, I feel.
Absolutely, and also Tammy Abraham might move, so there would be a wise Dobbik who will come in eventually.
Any rumors लिंक कुछ टैमी के आ रहे हैं क्या? अगर rumors कुछ अच्छे strong interest या कुछ
कान बंद करो
today.
West Ham, yeah, and
listen, Milan are still in the fray. I just read today the news that Fonseca is pushing for Tammy because he's a big fan of Tammy. So
it is funny because Fonseca never managed Tammy at Roma, so I don't know why he's a big fan, but fair enough.
He can go to Saudi as well.
Yeah, वो पैसा रोमा को मिल गया तो nothing like it. But Ajay bhai, 3 players who will have a good season for Roma.
I think, of course, Matthias Sule is the standout player. 11 goals with Frosinone last season. I think he will stand out. Artem Dovbyk, expect big things from him. Hopefully, he gets up and running soon. And I think thirdly, it's going to be Miles Svilar.
Wow.
हमको तो पता है because हम तो Serie A देखते हैं कि Svilar literally saved Roma's butt so many times, towards the latter half of the season. And I think this is the year where all of Europe, especially the Premier League fans, are going to discover, yaar, ye banda kaun hai, Svilar? Why is he so good? And why did we never hear of him? So I really feel that Svilar, Sule, and Dovbyk are the players.
I think even Evan Ndika, he's a player जो इस season अगर अच्छा खेल गया, he's getting a Premier League move.
Even Ndika as well, absolutely.
100% he's getting a Premier League move.
I'm very excited for Enzo Lafay. I think I like such kind of midfielders. I like such kind of midfielders, so I like him.
चिंतन में अगर आपने वो स्काउट रिपोर्ट देखा नहीं कि उसकी स्टोरी भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. हाँ, उसकी स्टोरी अगर आपको याद है बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. Not interesting, obviously tragical of sorts. Wrong choice of words there. And he's worked his way up. So I agree with you. मेरे को भी Enzo Lafay आपकी तरफ बहुत excited हूँ मैं उसके लिए. Let's go to Cagliari and मैं Kostov और Mittul पे आऊँगा because again for the mid-table, bottom-table teams we'll try to move on थोड़ा quickly. Time पे थोड़ा constraint है इसलिए और 10 टीम cover करना है. But finally stream देखने का time मिला. Welcome Rajat. We are done with Inter यार Rajat. So एकदम start में जाना पड़ेगा. But do continue watching. Svilar is a really good keeper. Next Vicario. Wow, bold shout. Roma, they will win the Europa this season. Again, bold shout. Hey, Julia.
I think Suilar is better than Vicario, to be really fair.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Uska foundation is better, I think.
Recency bias, but Vicario has proven for longer time.
हाँ वो
Probably अगर इस season के I would join you guys.
Yes, I agree. मैं भी थोड़ा वेट करके देखूंगा, but that's definitely a shout out. We will, keep in mind. Monza आएंगे, hey Jude. I know you want to support them. आएंगे. I'm glad you are supporting them. आता हूँ उस पे भी भाई. We will go to Atalanta Lecce next because I know we have Atalanta fans in the chat and I don't want to take that away from them यार. मतलब आएंगे. So Cagliari पे बात करके आते हैं. With new managers and an overall of teams, anything can happen. Yes, for sure. Scudetto is between Milan clubs. His wife, I think you mean Dybala, was not convinced. Which team is more likely to sign Chiesa यार? Roma Milan देखते हैं यार. We'll come to the transfer rumors very quickly. एक टाइम था जो जब ज़ाम्पारिनी और प्रेज़ियोसी के बीच. Oh my God! Yes.
Oh,
What an
who will
era!
forget this?
What an era! Literally two of the biggest. presidents.
हाँ, yeah, that's true. So Yogesh has left. I just saw the message. I think वो नहीं आ पाएगा अभी वापस. So Yogesh at least नापोली के बारे में बात करें. So let's go to Cagliari, Mittul and Kosto. मैं squad quickly pull up करता हूँ क्योंकि Ranieri was the X factor that saved them from relegation, right? And he's gone now. ठीक है, they've signed a relegation specialist from Empoli. मतलब मैं बहुत surprised था कि
They signed a goat.
Yes, they signed Davide Nicola, their head coach. इसकी इमेज है क्या इधर मैं पुल अप कर सकूं तो वो पुल अप करता हूं सेपरेटली फिर. बट हाँ ये रहा है Davide Nicola, the relegation specialist. आप इसको ना इटली का Sam Allardyce समझ लो pretty much. I think Kostub, that's a fair comparison.
Better than Big Sam ever did.
Of course, but you get what I mean, for people to understand as a reference point. But yeah, Mittul and Kostub.
Disrespect to David Nicola. I think it's a disrespect to him.
Yeah.
He has done it again, and he even drove the cycle from Crotone to Turin. I think we know that story. So because of this one,
Mittul, literally, you have just told, I just pulled that up.
Yeah,
this one.
I know the story. I call him the Allardyce of Italy only to make it a very easy comparison. Obviously, I rate Nicola.
For people who don't watch.
Yes, exactly. So यार एक तो ये एम्पोली का कोच था, इसने एम्पोली को relegation से बचाया, ठीक है? And
Cagliari, that match I saw, that was the last game I think Serie A, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Insane game versus Roma only.
Yes.
And that last minute, like in the end, they scored, and the celebrations that happened in, Carlo Castellani, I think.
So जो मित्तुल जिसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आप इधर देख सकते हो. Basically, एम्पोली relegate होने वाली थी और एम्पोली had to win. They were playing Roma, जिनका सीजन डिफाइन हो चुका था. आप इधर देख सकते हो 93rd मिनट पे नियांग ने, obviously former AC Milan player, विनर मारा और एम्पोली को सेरिया में रखा. It was a crazy moment. एम्पोली just survived और एम्पोली का कोच था डाविडे निकोला, जो है अभी कैलियरी का कोच. And Kostub, Cagliari pushed in the summer and signed him, right? And you see, look at the transfers if quickly. You have Zortea, जो Atalanta से लिया, Luperto है, again household Serie A names.
Atlanta B.
Sorry?
Atlanta B team बनाई है ना.
Piccoli उठाया, exactly. Palomino को ले लिया, Adopo को लिया, Atalanta B, as you said, आधे players Atalanta से उठाए. If Atalanta fans are still there, definitely इसके बारे में Razvan Marine Empoli से, मतलब this deal was funny, चिंतन भाई. The part of signing Davide Nicola was they would also take Marine. मतलब Empoli gifted them the player. मतलब I didn't understand. मतलब Empoli ने बोला तू Marine को भी ले ले मुफ्त में. मतलब I never understood this कि gift करके दे दिया because Razvan Marine also had a good Euros with Romania.
Yeah. And he's generally decent in general over time. Serie A में.
गया डोसेना, कोमोको, सुलेमाना, एटालांटा गया. मतलब you can see एटालांटा के साथ डील्स किए इन्होंने. And Nandes obviously अल कदिसिया गया. So changes है. But do you think Davide Nicola can Kostub and Mittul do this like this thing Ranieri did? Do you think they'll be just fine because of other squads maybe not being good enough? क्योंकि Pavoletti है, Lapadula है जो Zito Lumumbo है जो tricky हो जाता है, कभी-कभी गोल मारते 3-4 डिफेंडर को काट के.
I really like Zito. उसका ये I think this is the season where in January में तो नहीं, at the end of the season he can get that move because उतना जितना पोजीशन मिलता है कालियरी को, जितना मिल रहा था लास्ट सीजन, to contribute the way he did was an achievement.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to ask you, Kostub, do you think this squad is good enough to surpass what this thing Ranieri did? कि तुझे लग रहा है ये जाएंगे इस टाइम नीचे, और लाइक they're just good enough to in comparison to other teams not being as good? क्या लग रहा है तुझे कैलियरी का इस टाइम?
The good part is उनकी identity same रही है. Otherwise, it could have been a very drastic transition from having Ranieri to जिससे वो लिंक हो रहे थे. The man they were getting linked to. वो एक काफी ड्रास्टिक चेंज होता है. I think Ivan Juric was being linked to Cagliari brief period के लिए 2 हफ्ते के लिए.
Yes,
That would have been a very drastic transition to a completely different style of play. And obviously, Juric काफी अच्छा मैनेजर है, but वो जो gap period होता wouldn't have suited the squad that Cagliari have. So this is actually a good move, and जो squad profile है, it actually suits Davide Nicola. And जैसा Davide Nicola का Salernitana spell था कि उसे sack कर दिया, एक हफ्ते बाद वो वापस आ गया, वैसा नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. So I think they are decent, or I think he will keep them in the division. But the thing about Davide Nicola is जो भी क्लब में होता है घूम फिर के कभी ना कभी relegate हो जाता है.
Yeah, true. उसका हो चुका है पहले relegation.
Yes, so
right.
I think he keeps them, but nearly keeps them lower mid-table sort of finish, largely because his squad profile काफी fit करती है to his playing style. Even the centre forwards, the back line, he's brought Lupetto with him अभी पिछले spell से to Cagliari to replace Dossena. I think Dossena has gone to Como.
Dossena Como गया.
उसको essentially replace करा है, which is actually a decent move because Lupetto is like fairly experienced in Serie A. एक बार Lukaku ने उसे turn करा था, एक बार मेरे को याद है, उसका मेरे को लगा था career खत्म उसके बाद. But he's actually been pretty decent Serie A, decent as a Serie A centre back since then.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be safe.
Yeah, they'll be safe.
Lower mid-table sort of finish.
Yeah, 15, 16, 17, maybe
16.
even 17, but yeah. But what you're trying to say कि foundation same enough है tactically from Ranieri, so they should be fine. वो players भी mold के है. Mittul very quickly. 3 players you think that can stand out from this squad? Because Piccoli, देखो ये उनका recent game था Coppa Italia में against Serie A B team Carrarese, they won 3-1. Piccoli, हम लोग बार-बार देख रहे हैं मित्तुल Piccoli, ऐसा लगता है verge of breakout होता नहीं है. Can this be the season where a coach like Nicola can unlock him, थोड़ा level elevate करने में help करे? I'm not saying world class or anything, but at least a decent enough player. क्योंकि Cagliari really lack a goal scorer. मतलब वो out and out नहीं. Pavoletti बात मत करो, ठीक है? but apart from that, Lapatula, I know बड़े teams के against ही मारता है, उसके अलावा गायब हो जाता है. But do you think Piccoli का breakout season होगा? And any 3 players you think stand out here? Then we close Cagliari and give predictions.
Yeah, like Cagliari has always been one of my favorite teams. The smaller ones, right? I love their history. I'm not sure if you know. They are one of the only clubs who have, they won Serie A once in the back in years with just 16 players.
Gigi
Riva was, of course, the main player. They just had 16 players that season. And they didn't even have, they just had one extra sub, one extra keeper, one extra defender, one extra striker. And of course, their stadium, if you know, the makeshift stadium that they've made, a temporary one that they're playing in right now, it was made in just 100 days, less than 100 days they made it. Like a lot of fascinating facts, and they have a record. They have never lost, like while winning that Serie A, वो एक भी game नहीं हारे थे. Like they had this unbeaten record. So it's not just the invincible of Arsenal, but even Cagliari has done that. So,
Cagliari is a big club, yes.
Yeah, so they have done that. So I always was fascinated, and the fact that Unka title sponsor is always someone from Sardinia, another great thing about them. They keep it to their community. They don't want any big, companies to come in and do that because it's an island. Sardinia is an island, so they want to serve their community. They always do kit reveal by some random people, citizens of Sardinia. I love these small acts that they do. So I always follow them. And I feel like this season, of course, you can say Pavoletti will have a little bit better season, but I think it comes down to him only, like because जब Ranieri के अंडर नहीं कर पाया, like he has got so many coaches behind him before, so I think it comes to his internal, eternal motivation जो है उसकी खुद की, which stops him, I think at some point because he is a little, you can say on the verge of inconsistent because वो कुछ games अच्छा खेलता है, but just 60-70% of the season, which is not enough. Apart from that, I think Piccoli, Luvumbo, of course, Luvumbo has now at least shown that he is the reliable one. he does not do score that much, but at least he gets scraped through wins. जब कोई नहीं कर रहा है तो he'll do that. Like
Yeah.
for example, if you take an example of Liverpool, Jordan Henderson was like that. He was not the shiniest player on the pitch, but when no one is doing the job, he'll do that for them. So same thing as Luongo is doing, I think, for them.
So
Even Nicolas Viola, I would
हाँ
say
वो
as a
उनका
name.
टॉप स्कोरर भी था.
I like him as well. He's a great guy. And I'm also excited for these Atlanta players that they have signed.
हाँ.
Adolfo, of
So,
course.
मुझे वही लग
basically.
रहा है बिल्कुल कि
Yeah,
इनका पेस थोड़ा स्ट्रेंथन हो गया because of taking certain not so good
Yes.
Atalanta players, but I think decent enough. मेरे लिए मैं एक और प्लेयर ऐड करूंगा, Razvan Marine. I think will be important for
Marine,
them.
Razvan Marine.
I was just going to say
He's
Marine
added
will
him
be good.
because he was already been discussed, so I thought he
Yes.
could extra.
नहीं, अरे that's fine, that's fine. So let's go to predictions, guys. Cagliari, Roma. Cagliari is the home team. क्या लग रहा है आप लोगों को?
2-2.
Ajay,
Jinx
now
start.
I want
Jinx starts.
come on. Inter के
चलो
लिए
मैं
सब लोग
anti jinx करूंगा. I will do 4-0 for Roma then.
4-0. Wow. नहीं तो
Because
बताओ
they have this knack, right? Last few first matches, they have won 4-0, 3-0, if you remember, Ajay. Even
But
against me.
Sardinia has a tricky place to travel. 2-2.
Yes. 2-2 Ajay भाई, चिंतन भाई.
And also I have a prediction that Davide Nicola will be sacked by Cagliari and then he'll be brought back before the end of the season and he'll save them.
वही साला नेट आने वाला.
I will just say little bit of prediction. He'll be sacked mid-season. Hello, Verona लेगा उसको and Verona will scrape through the relegation.
वो भाई वो हो गया
मत
तो
बोल
यार.
ऐसा.
Yeah, Chintan bhai, quickly the predictions.
I think either Dovbyk or Sule to get off the mark. So I think a 1-0 scrappy victory. Roma.
Scrappy victory. I will also say scrappy, but like 2-1. I think Cagliari will give a good fight. Either scrappy win या draw लग रहा है because I know Roma को भी gel करना बाकी है. So 1-1 of that. Costo very quickly. Score line.
Roma 3-1 and Dybala scores and he stays.
Wow.
Sekeda.
Kisses the badge and then does a Lukaku will be very funny. छोड़ देता अगले दिन. मितुल क्या लग रहा है? Quickly score line.
I would say 3-1. I really wish Dovbyk do perform well. I am a big admirer of him since way long, and now he's in Syria, so I want him to score.
ठीक है.
Not
So
just against us, बाकी सबके चलेगा.
Yeah, that's it for Cagliari. Roma. I came here to hear Chintan uncle speak. Yes, Barella was in Cagliari. They consider him a legend pretty much. मतलब उनके through आया है वो. They love him there, obviously. So definitely a big part of
9 goal.
Yes, 9 goal. Yeremina नाम wise है. हाँ बोल. Zola, yes, Zola, of course. Now Atalanta, yes, उस पे ही आ रहे. मैं इसके लिए रुका था Atalanta Lecce. Rajat Singh 3-1 to Roma और Cagliari because तो 3-1 बोलेगा Cagliari is the home team. So am I taking it as Cagliari 3, Roma 1? Please clarify. Yeah. Hope Dybala stays. Love him as a player. So chalo yaar, quickly I'll pull it up, but let's go to Lecce Atalanta since we have Atalanta fans in the chat. Costo, 1 minute, just I'll pull up the squad, but early ये अभी Atalanta के around again I'll start with Chintan bhai. Atalanta के around obviously they lost the Super Cup and everything. It was a valiant performance we were discussing. First half में तो था ही valiant and decent enough. But we know they're wrecked with injuries. Coop Miners का पूरा situation, El Bilal Toure का पूरा situation. Marco Bresciani नहीं आ गया. चलो, there is a saving grace there, and even for Atlantini in the chat. ये salvage हो सकता है. मतलब do you think this will change and they'll improve and they'll be fine? Because Gasperini ने clearly बोला था जब last season हुआ था कि उसको upgrades चाहिए थे. He wanted improvements. And बाहर से ऐसा लग नहीं रहा है कि पर से हर जगह पे improvement आया है. And they're yet to. Chalo, there are talks with Lazar Samardzic now. Obviously, Milan are battling for him as well. But when is the next step? Is this the season where Atalanta finally take the next step? Because अभी हो गया Atalanta को underdog बोल के हो गया मेरे लिए. I am done with that underdogs. I'm not disrespecting that, by the way. But I think Atalanta is beyond underdog now. हो गया बस. Now when is the next step coming, Chintan bhai? Do you think they can overcome this mini chaos or whatever this is, and finally this is a season where they, remove that underdog label and take that step?
Yeah. I think last time DJ said something. I feel Atlanta have ran its course. I think Gasperini has ran its course here. There is a time where I think you are done with it also. I feel जैसे Ancelotti का Milan के साथ था. does not necessarily mean that the manager is bad or the team is bad. But sometimes you run your course, and yeah, if you lose Coop Miners, well, I think it's a bad move for even at how much ever fee they have been offered. You can't lose Coop Miners when you're aiming to do better than season. And Samarjit ka yaar, Param, who knows better than you? He's linked with almost everyone every time. पता नहीं किधर जाता है.
Yeah. I think we lost Chintan bhai. So anyone else who wants to
वापस घूम के उदनेसी ही आता है.
उसके पास आ जाते हैं बीच पे फिर.
we lost Chintan bhai, but if any Ajay, I'll go to you.
Yeah, see,
do they take that next step?
Atalanta obviously have been, kind of cursed with the injuries of Scalvini and then Scamacca. So those are big losses. I know that they've gotten Retegi, but I really don't rate him. And Scamacca was brilliant for them last year. Zaniolo bhi aaya hai. Zaniolo is again injured. You really don't know which Zaniolo is going to turn up. Ben Godfrey aaya from Everton, which is again 50-50 wala transfer. It may or may not work out. So Atalanta will be solid for sure because Matt O'Reilly agar aayega for Coop Miners, I think it's a very good replacement for him. Overall, I see Atalanta kind of again push and do well in the cups rather than in the league. And but Gasperini will pull out upsets. Yeah, upsets in the sense that he will top 5-6 के जो result निकालेगा मेरे हिसाब से.
Okay, fair enough. We will get to that. Atalanta matches views में तेरे comments भी लेता हूँ. You were ruined our transfers. They're offering what we want for Coop now when they could have done it last month and we'd have. Look, हाँ ये market, this is how it goes, right? Atalanta views, मतलब this is the market game. As a fan, I understand what you're talking about because as a fan, it hurts when this happens. But this is the game, unfortunately. I agree with you. I know how it feels as a fan. But let's quickly go through the Atalanta squad. Carnesecchi in goal, Musso, Rossi. Scalvini is out until 2025. Hein, I rate a lot. Isaac Hein, we know he's a very good defender. He was having a good game until that error where, Rodrigo took the ball off him. Ben Godfrey, I feel, is decent enough to cover for the injury. Jim City was going to go to Qatar, but he ended up staying, and you saw how many errors he was making against Real Madrid. Kolasinac, decent cover है. Toloi, I think Chintan bhai उस दिन बोले थे chat पे Atalanta's defense is a bit slow, and I agree कि एक वो वैसा defender है नहीं जिसकी covering speed अच्छी है. Barring Isaac Hein, I feel. Barring that, it's a really dodgy defense. I think they could have upgraded that thoda more. Soppy is obviously not there anymore. Derun is back from injury. Sulemana liya hai. But again, thoda inexperienced. He will need to have a breakout season of sorts. I hope Gasperini can do that. Ederson is the star man. Pasalic is there. Brescianini has come in. Kudos to you guys. You guys hijacked him from Napoli. So kudos to you. I think that's definitely an important signing there. Zappacosta to hey. Ruggeri. I think Ajay bhai and Kostub, this guy will have a breakout season because he looks so sure. Amazing. He made the error. He didn't mark on the goal. ठीक है, वो होता है. But he, I think, will have a place in the Italian national team. Left wing back है. Bakar is always seems like out of the project, but they might keep him. Coop Miners का तो हम जानते जा रहे हैं. Charles De Ketelaere आ गए. Zaniolo is injured. He's looking for he's working with a personal trainer and everything. So I hope it's not a serious injury. Lukman to hai. Scamacca is out until 25. El Bilal is leaving, so they need another striker. Retegi is there. Retegi needs to step up. अगर क्विकली में डिपार्चर्स भी दिखाओ, ये तो इनकमिंग्स तो समझ ही गए होंगे.
But actually Param इसमें कहता है, I think with a signing like a Samardzic and all, they can turn their season around immediately. Like a
even
like
even Matt O'Reilly if he comes to Atalanta.
Matt O'Reilly.
Yeah. So they are right now. What we saw even against the Super Cup, the midfield of Pasalic, Derun and Ederson, it's good enough to start. But what about their bench strength? And that's where I think Brescianini and someone like क्या bench पूरा?
Yes, so
पूरा खाली था bench. There were no backup of the bench to Real.
Yes. Go ahead.
So that is what I feel that Brescianini, especially someone who is a pretty stabilizer, and they need Samardzic because Coop Miners gave them so many goals last season. So if they get these two players, can turn it around completely for them, I feel. But what they have right now, I feel that is where they're lacking a little bit.
हाँ, that is a fair point. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है ना थोड़े ज्यादा चेंजेस हुए. फॉर एग्जांपल अटालांटा व्यूज सेज इन द चैट कि केविन डांसो आ रहा है. ठीक है, दैट्स अ गुड ऑप्शन. थोड़ा डांसो ना अटालांटा व्यूज ही इज अ बिट एरर प्रोन बिकॉज ना वो थोड़ा लॉन्स में ना थोड़ा रेड कार्ड ज्यादा निकालता था. He was very this thing reckless, but I do think Gasperini will help him control. I do feel somewhere there have been too many changes and they've been unlucky with the injuries because ना Gasperini को continuity भी नहीं मिल रही है because we are talking about how Atalanta might have run their course and that's not a wrong point because where is the stability? I thought थोड़े players तो रह जाएंगे, injuries नहीं होंगी and they could have taken that next leap and this is where I think we are stuck with Atalanta की when does the continuity come in, and look, the new players could do well. They might sign Wesley from the Brazilian right wing back. Of course, I don't think the Nico Williams rumors are concrete as of today, Kostub. But ठीक है, समाज से चाहे मिलता है. But I feel वो Retegi, can he step up? Can
Exactly.
he have a good season in goal?
So
I
it's a
feel
completely different profile,
yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Which is my concern.
Yeah, so Atalanta view says we will hijack Kalulu if he doesn't make his decision. So yeah, I guess that's an option too. But for all of you in the panel, I'll go to Kostob and even for you Atalanta views or anyone else in the comments. Do you guys think there are too many question marks around Atalanta and that is why you're not feeling convinced, or do you think they're just regressing and the Gasperini project has probably run its course? Do you think the player refreshing can still help, or do you think nahi yaar, ye too many question marks hai isme? Kostob, anything for you? What do you make
I
of
think
Atalanta?
question marks. I think
Yeah.
question marks because the Atlanta project is for years it's been very sustainable. And
Yeah.
जितने साल तक ये project चला है, it's
Yeah.
more than your average expectancy for a project to last.
Yeah.
So it tells me कि ये project का issue नहीं है. It's more about probably one or two incorrect signings that were made. One was probably El Bilal Torre. That's not because he's a bad player. Gasperini doesn't see him as an out and out centre forward. He sees him more as a जो थोड़ा behind the striker खेले. And this Retegi move, which I think is a panic buy because
Panic.
I think Tammy Abraham is more of that link up forward. Even though उसकी finishing उतनी अच्छी नहीं है, he's more of that link up
Yeah.
forward, which Retegi definitely is not.
Yeah.
And Ajay bhai ne वो point अच्छा raise करा कि even I'm not a huge fan of Retegi. So I think थोड़े issues हैं. Half of them are due to injuries. As Zaniolo is the sort of player who needed this move in his career.
Yeah.
वो उसे ये ट्रांसफर नहीं मिलता तो उसका पता नहीं क्या होता करियर का बिकॉज उसको इंजरीज होती हैं बट अटलांटा इज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ क्लब हु रीइन्विगोरेट द करियर्स ऑफ अटैकिंग प्लेयर्स. कमाका का किया, डे कैटलारा का किया. इट्स टाइम फॉर Zaniolo to do that. And अगर Zaniolo खेल गया, one issue will be solved because at a lot of times अभी जो current setup है, I don't see a player with too much pace. 1v1 ability वाले एक भी player है नहीं वहाँ पे. Zaniolo probably can be that player.
Yeah, but
That
fitness
will be yeah. अब वो depend करता है how long his injury lasts. So I think there are holes, but Gasperini ka we know he prefers the system over the individuals. So I think that can keep them afloat inside your 7th, 8th tak. Rest of it is about कौन fit हो रहा है, कौन fit नहीं हो रहा.
Yeah, fair enough. Chintan bhai, look, I'll take his comments for Atalanta views. I agree with Hey Jude, Jim City made a mistake, solid tha, but Atalanta views, when do you move on from Jim City and Tola is my question. How long? Where is the change? And Chintan bhai, I'll come to you with this because he says we haven't regressed but haven't upgraded like we'd have to. I think with the assessment we agree with. We have question marks like we always have some of them. Even last season, because Chintan bhai, agar aapko yaad hai, last season they didn't start well. They picked up in the second half really. Yaad hoga agar aapko. So
Yes.
for you, what I'm trying to ask is, do you think in your opinion, do you think Mercato strong close होगा? Danso sign कर लिया, Wesley sign कर लिया, Samardzic. Is that good enough for Atalanta to be a Scudetto contender or even win the Coppa Italia? Chalo, and sustain a performance in the Champions League. Do you think that is enough?
I first of all, my question is going to. I was going to ask everyone this question only: that when do we see, after this underdog tag, to go and count Atlanta as your title contenders? So what I feel is generally the back, like Jim City and Toloi, they've been great servants for them. But yeah, exactly, it's time to move on now because एक attachment एक छोड़ना पड़ेगा to move on to better team, better players. And I feel generally Kolasinac good player, but again, when you come up against a Real Madrid or something, that's where you test yourselves, and that is where you lag. Ruggeri and Hein are those modernist players who can survive here. But I always feel like क्या होता है Atlanta, they do well. एक consistency नहीं आती. Last season again they started off so well, didn't start off so well, so लगा कि नहीं है off the radar. Then वापस आ गए अंदर radar के अंदर. Koop Miners played a big role. Ederson Koop Miners partnership was absolutely fantastic, and Pasalic coming on as a sub worked wonders for them. But I still feel that what is when, as you said, Param, when you started off, when are they going to be proper title contenders? वो एक convincing feeling आ नहीं रही है. They might, of course, Copa Italia जीत सकते हैं. I pretty much think they might win a Copa Italia. They're playing Champions League right now, but if they're in Europa League, I think they can still win a Europa League. But can they do it consistently over 38 games? I don't know yet. And as DJ said, I'm pretty much thinking on that level is, has Gasperini also ran his course with the club? So there are important things. He could have gone on a high. Have they, Ajay, हम लोग वो बात कर रहे थे, have they achieved the most they can achieve under Gasperini, and he could have gone on a high? So काफी सारी चीजें. I think Scalvini's injury was a big downer for them. You know, had he been there, वो regular. And again, we know सबको पता है injury के बाद, how are you after that injury as a player? Zaniolo is a big example in front of us. Chiesa is a big example. You're not the same player. So काफी सारे things, and I hope they do well because Atlanta have been a flag bearer for Italian football for a while, how much ever we don't like Gasperini. But I feel there is a time where I think a Juventus and now both coming so strong are going to move ahead of the line. My only question is it necessary? I know Koop Miners want to go to Juventus. My question to the panel is, do they have to sell Koop Miners? It's not that they need the money.
But Chintan bhai, he's asked to leave now. Usko kab se, you remember last January he made that comment ki I'll be willing to live in the chilly weather of England to leave. He's been immature as well. Jitna bhi UA ke, matlab, you know, there is an argument.
I won't say mature because he had this one thing when he was renewing his contract. He said, "Okay, I will renew," but there was a terms and condition to that you know he can. He will be asked when he asks to leave. You know, he'll be given that green light. So that was the last time.
There are two sides to the coin, na Mitul, because people are saying ki it's like people are making it sound like ki Atalanta is the only one at fault, but unko paisa nahi milega to
there is no one at fault. There is no one at fault. I'm not saying neither Atlanta nor the player. Player just stayed here.
My point is this only, that if you want to be that ambitious, the club has to stop the move somewhere, especially to a move to a direct rival like Juventus. So I feel that is what should be done. Now,
I think they made their choices कि किसको रखना चाहेंगे because of course they have a lot of core players as well. So I think out of those they thought कि Koop Miner is the one we can do it because they're
I mean he's completely asked to leave, right? So really choice भी नहीं बनता है, to be fair. एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ. I think I'll go to Costo because Atalanta views here says, you know, Toloi we have moved on, Jim City when he regresses more. I personally thoda disagree, Costo, because I feel Toloi theek hai, they've probably moved on, theek hai, that's fair. I just feel Jim City makes a lot of errors here and there, and he says we have to respect football pyramid to have to sell players every season. Yes, that's your project, that's how you're profitable, but Costo, didn't you internally somewhere expect एक दो signings to be still, मतलब थोड़ा तो better कहीं expect कर रहा था तू, मतलब not a Zaniolo, maybe someone, you know, yes, he mentioned Oscarson, right? You can see Costo. Sure, fair enough, a good talent, but don't you think Atalanta is expected to sign someone better than Zaniolo in general? क्या लगता है तुझे, मतलब
Zaniolo, the problem with Zaniolo का तो I think मैंने Zaniolo के बारे में पहले भी ऐसा कुछ बोला था. The problem with Zaniolo is that he broke into the Roma team when Roma were pretty bad, and uska from then on, जो उसका hype बना, he was good, but जो tag लगा, I never thought कि वो उतना अच्छा था, and obviously injuries हुई, and he had some issues with the media वगैरह जो भी एक battle सा था. So I thought it was the transfer helps Zaniolo more than it would help Atalanta. जैसे मैंने अभी previously बोला.
I agree.
Atalanta could have done more. There's players out there of a similar profile who could perhaps have offered more availability, more matches, and a higher guarantee of goals as well, and more consistency. But I think a lot of it was also because of the fact that Zaniolo काफी Italian clubs को offer हुआ था. And उसका जो his agent was really pushing for a lot of moves, and उसने publicly interviews में भी बोला था कि I want to get this move. But I think still the real killer has been the Scamacca one, and I think Miranchuk sort of had an impact last season, and उसके exit को वो अभी we don't really know who Brescianini replaces as a like for like player in the squad. Because I think Matt O'Reilly अभी भी sign कर लेंगे वो from Celtic, and I'm a big fan of that player. So he
of course.
is probably the best player in the Scottish Premiership right now, and he's probably a Premier League level player as well.
Absolutely.
And he can play in the front three, जैसे Coop Miners खेलता था. So if O'Reilly plays on that right side, Zaniolo will probably be on the bench. That's how good O'Reilly can be.
I think what we can say,
What
we can say, Kostobisky, for Atalanta, let's see how the market. You can say that for any team, to be fair.
Yeah.
But Atalanta definitely more so falls in वो category की देखते market कैसा close होता है, then we are better positioned to comment on them. Obviously.
Yeah.
But your thoughts very quickly on how do you expect them to set up tactically? Then we move to Lecce very quickly, and we pretty much close this team. We don't have many teams left. So क्या लग रहा है तुझे tactically कैसे? How do you think Atalanta will set up? Sorry.
I think, although 2 दिन बचे हैं मैच के लिए, I don't think there will be a new signing in place, and not O'Reilly or not that launch defender Kevin Danzo. So I think quite the same as they were in the previous game, unless there's something dramatic. I think maybe Retegi starts, but again, अभी हमने बोला we're not huge fans of him out here. I like Ibrahim Sulemana a lot. He was decent at Cagliari. I don't think he starts. So I think quite the same. But I still expect them to win.
Okay, Atalanta view says Gasperini wanted Zaniolo personally as well during contract extension meeting. Fair enough. That's why you trust him. I personally have some doubts. But Ajay bhai, quickly, 3 players you think will stand out for Atalanta this season? Even in the chat, you can obviously let us know. For you, Ajay bhai, this is
Isaac Hein, Ederson. I think Ederson will explode even more than what he did last season. And who else? I think overall, if Matt O'Reilly comes in, I think he'll have a big impact, because Cope Miners, so anyway, is going. Otherwise,
Ruggeri.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ruggeri.
Yeah. Ruggeri has been brilliant. Yeah. He's been. I would say, यार वो एक Italy का जो left wing back position है ना, Italy are very blessed with that.
Yeah.
But I still feel that Ruggeri will have a very solid season, but Isaac Hein will have again game-changing season. And Ederson as well. Ederson though was linked with the move to Liverpool also. But I feel that Atalanta will draw some English club in the Champions League, and again they will quote unquote surprise casuals because अरे ये कैसे Atalanta कैसे हरा दिया? वो तो होने ही वाला है. Maybe they can even defeat Arsenal if they draw Arsenal in the
that'll be fun.
Wow, that would be fun. Calafiori ko.
Yeah,
I'll give a shout out to Carnesecchi also. Carnesecchi also, I believe, because he has been great. He's been a great keeper.
He has been a good shout out.
He was good.
But even the way that Gasperini rotates Musso and Carnesecchi is just it's unreal, man. I mean, they've got. I really like Musso. He's a very good shot stopper.
Very good.
थोड़ा बहुत errors करता है, no doubt, but he's a player goalkeeper,
I think one concern I have is if Derun injured हो गया, then what? एक midfield option कम हो गया, but I think Sulemana, if hypothetically Derun gets injured, I think Sulemana will be his temporary replacement और उसकी जगह खेलेगा. I want to see that. Don't wish harm on obviously Derun, but I want to see Sulemana get some minutes next season.
Fair enough. So I think that was Atalanta. Again, you guys let your आपके views दो कि where do you think Atalanta will finish? ये वो क्या लगता है आपको Atalanta के बारे में? We'll quickly look at Lecce, Kostub and Mithul very quickly. A very interesting team because their sporting director is supposed to be one of the best in Italy. Corvino, of course, Pantaleo Corvino, मतलब बहुत interesting young players sign करता है. अगर आप देखो arrivals में Marchwinski है, who's well rated in Poland. Kialonda Gaspar Mithul is being very highly rated as an incoming and a player to watch out for, as they say. Lasana Koulibaly जो Salernitana के लिए अच्छा करा था उसको भी उठाया. Fructal is all right. The biggest fan personally, ठीक है. What I heard about Pelmar, he is also pretty decent, so वो भी आया है. Strefezza, I think he left. Yeah, he left for Como if I'm not wrong. Correct. चीज गया
Como,
obviously
he went to Como.
Yes. Blan भी गया, Alexis Blan, obviously that was the big loss. And of course ये भी गया अपना Pontus Amquist, obviously. तो थोड़े big departures है. But where do we see Lecce? Because they know Lecce is a club जिसका youth team जो है Kostov, you know, they can call upon a player if needed. And you look at the full squad over here, there are some good players to keep an eye out. Kristovic है जो last season Serie A में बहुत अच्छा था. There people are expecting Serie A fans to explode. Sorry?
Patrick Dorgu.
Yeah, Patrick Dorgu भी है, of course. Patrick Dorgu है, Antonino Gallo, दोनों they're blessed with left backs. मतलब people are saying कि Antonino Gallo और Dorgu अब तक दूसरे क्लब से कैसे साइन हुए नहीं है. People are waiting for that. So my thing with you is this Lecce team, Mithul and Kosto, good enough to slightly do at least better than last season? Because again थोड़ा talent तो है. अगर आप देखो players के नाम हमने देखे, Kristovic है, you know, then again as we discussed, Sansone थोड़ा veteran है, ठीक player है. Remy Udan is also decent. Lamek Banda है, we know how tricky he is. Hamza Rafia भी थोड़ा improve हो चुका है. Lasana Koulibaly, Ilbar Ramadani भी है. It's not a bad team. It's actually pretty decent. I see them better than, let's say, you know, क्या बोले अपना easily by a mile than a Hellas Verona. But I also see them better than like a Monza, which we'll get to later. क्या लग रहा है Kostub? Do you think?
I agree.
But do you think Luca Gotti? That's what I was asking. Do you think Luca Gotti ठीक आदमी है इनको lead करने के लिए इस टीम को?
And is he the right man? Or one concern I have कि अगर वो 4-4-2 खेलते हैं, which they did when Gotti joined on a consistent basis, उन्हें 4-4-2 खेला था. Do they have that second striker as well to play alongside क्या है उसका नाम Kristovic? Because there have been links with other strikers, but Corvino gave this interview where he mentioned that their young striker Rares Burnete, who's I think Romanian by nationality, who's actually done really well for their Primavera side.
Yeah.
So he mentioned that a lot of clubs like him, but they're not trying to sell him, and their goal is कि उसे first team में खिलाएंगे next season.
Yeah.
And he's a proper number 9. And a lot of people at Lecce actually are big fans of him. If that works out, he's another youth player that they can make a big profit of in the future. But in general, I really like their squad. जो उन्होंने I think एक France से centre back sign कर रहा है, Andy Pemont. He's also someone who's very experienced across your first divisions across European football.
Versatile.
So I think a lot of those signings, Christian Fructal has that experience of playing in the Bundesliga. Obviously, Bayern का वो at a point I think second या third choice keeper भी था. उनका reserves team में काफी खेला था. So I think Lasana Koulibaly is someone I like a couple of seasons ago. I think उसने he had some 7 or 8 goal contributions as well Salernitana के लिए in that box to box role. He's also another good signing, and that centre back they've signed from Portugal, Gaspar. Again, someone who's played in Europe consistently, or he's done well. So these are players that make Lecce solid Serie A players, which will help them stay in the division. And the sporting structure they have and the youth policies they have, they should ideally stay there, and I want them to stay there. A bit like Udinese.
I would say a bit more exciting these days than Udinese. Mithul, quickly, 3 players to look out from Lecce, because I do think interesting team है. मतलब sure they do fall off थोड़ा इधर उधर, पर again at the end of the day with a limited budget आप क्या कर सकते हो? क्या लग रहा है तुझे? Interesting players कौन है to name?
Koulibaly for sure, right? Because I've seen him play in Salernitana as well. He's done well. Apart from that, I think I'm a little torn between Ramadani, of course,
Hmm.
and not sure if Pierre will be playing as well. So one of them, of course, will be playing at CDM role. So
Hmm.
that is why I think one can be there. I like Safez a lot, but he's not there anymore. So
Hmm.
Christian Fuchs, like as Kostov
So
mentioned, I
yeah,
think he can have a good season as well. I like one thing about Lecce is कि उनके mostly transfers are from tier one of European football. So that is
yeah.
what makes them
So
different than other teams from same bracket. कि वो लोग थोड़े B division के teams से भी ले
I think
but
Matswinski, he's
mostly
played in the top flight a lot.
exactly yeah. So
exactly. And
I think
even
that's a good
again,
thing about them.
yeah, again Kialonda Gaspar के बारे में बहुत टॉक चल रही है, तो आई डेफिनेटली वुड लाइक टू कीप एन आई उधर. एंटोनिनो गायो तो है ही, मतलब आई एम सरप्राइज्ड उसको अब तक मूव कैसे नहीं मिला, एक्चुअली बहुत टैलेंटेड है. बट क्विकली गाइस, स्कोर प्रेडिक्शंस फॉर अटालांटा लेचे, क्या लग रहा है, क्या होने वाला है? ऑब्वियसली लेचे इज द होम टीम हियर. लेचे अटालांटा, माय बैड. What's your predictions quickly?
I would say 1-1. Largely
1-1.
because Atlanta ka attacking dilemma.
Fair enough. Mitul?
I would say Atlanta will win it 2-0, in my opinion.
Fair play. Ajay bhai, what about you? Chintan and DJ bhai are also back. Nice to see. So we'll go to you.
Going for it.
Uh,
Going for an Atalanta win.
okay, Chintan bhai, what about you?
I go with Kostu. I think it's a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think
Not convinced with Atlanta's attack as of now yet. With Zaniolo injured, Skamaka gone, so 1-1.
Zaniolo is injured, by the way, still injured.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
with them him not being there with Skamaka, so I don't. यार रहते की
Yeah.
तो क्या वो निकला ना यार, एकदम ऐसा लेके आए थे ऐसे नेक्स्ट कमिंग ऑफ सर्जियो अग्वेरो होगा अर्जेंटीना से, मतलब क्या निकला वो यार.
Yeah, that's true. I also think draw लग रहा है मुझे because of where Atalanta and I do think Lecce are a bit talented on their end, so मुझे लग रहा है draw ही होगा. Atalanta views, give your prediction. Rajat says 1-1 as well. Suleimana or a bit defensive, Pasalic is what he wants. So yeah, if we focus on league second or third, otherwise fifth, ठीक है. So Ajay bhai, which game do we want to cover next? Because थोड़े ही teams बचे, ज़्यादा नहीं बचा है. We have
Let's do Bologna's game. Let's do Juve Como, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so we have Bologna, Udinese, Juve Como, Lazio Venezia, and Empoli Monza. So we can close with the smaller teams, of course. So we can do Bologna, Udinese, Juve Como next, and then we can wrap up quickly with the Empoli one and Lazio पे थोड़ा time देंगे, of course, because Lazio है. Then we can wrap it up, obviously. Won't take long now. So let's go to ये अपना Bologna, Udinese, because also I think the main point we pretty much understand. Let's go to Chintan and DJ, where they've come back as well. The main talking point is not everyone is excited about Vincenzo Italiano. मतलब confidence नहीं है. They have injuries left, right, center. Players are just coming back from injuries. They have not done well on the market, to be fair. मतलब they wanted Matt Hummels, he rejected them. They wanted Mario Hermoso, he rejected them. They ended up signing Martin Ehrlich. खास नहीं है, इतना ठीक player है. What I mean, do you think anyone of Chintan or DJ bhai ki they can pretty much replicate at least half of what they did, or do you think ठीक कर लेंगे? Because for me there are gaps, and अभी news आ रही है Bologna से भी कि they might just sign one center back, and if there are no more outgoings, they're not going to sign anyone. I'll pull up the squad to show you, but it's not looking great. DJ or Chintan by whoever wants to take this over. What do you think of it?
DJ?
I think Param, again, Bologna are going to be a bit of a dichotomy this season. I think a lot of what residual effect Motta's departure will have on them is what will give them the momentum at the start of the season. They will lose their way somewhere through the middle, but right now I think Italiano is just going to just basically reinforce a lot of their learnings from last season, which is they're still going to play a certain system. If they're going to play as a collective, there is going to be a little momentum at the start. Orsolini is going to be very crucial. Calafiori, obviously, big loss for his ability to bring the ball out of defense. But that ability to transition as a unit is still going to give them the start that they require. Udinese first up, yeah, guys. Udinese is down for me as one of the teams that I have penned down for potential relegation.
Yeah.
So So given the start, I think Bologna most likely 2-1 in this game.
Fair enough, but Chindar bhai, I'll pull up the Bologna squad here because it's depth wise थोड़ा issue लग रहा है. Hey Jude, I know you're waiting for Monza आते चल तेरे लिए Monza next ले लेंगे हम लोग, तेरे लिए ले लेंगे next चल. Just give us some time, थोड़ा Bologna के बारे में बात करना है इसलिए. But Chindan, this is the Mercato. Just let me pull up the squad. देखो Skorupski है, Ravali है.
Underwhelming, very.
हाँ,
underwhelming.
गोल चलो अंडरवेलमिंग है. मैं आपको पूछता हूँ, गोल ठीक है, चलो गोलकीपर्स ठीक है, बॉयकेमा है, लुकुमी इज एन वेरी अंडररेटेड प्लेयर, पर वो लेट्स से पहले 2 मैच डे के लिए इंजर्ड है. दे विल मिस हिम फॉर श्योर. अर्लिच जैसे आपने बोला, नॉट द मोस्ट एक्साइटिंग साइनिंग. Juan Miranda चलो is a pretty decent signing. I know AC Milan were linked with him at one point. Posh है, Destry is hitting 36. I mean, Nicola Moro है, Azuzi just injury से आ रहा है. Fabian is an exciting talent, you know. Abisher injury से just आया. Yeah. So what are you making of this, Chintan bhai? Because again the Zirkzee gap has been filled up by Thijs Dallinga, but you know Kambiagi 0 goals last season. They spent a decent chunk on money of him, if I'm not wrong, 7 to 10 million range था. चलो Dan Endo is there, Luis Ferguson नहीं है, Emil Holm को sign किया, injure हो गया वो right away. Do you think tactically Italiano will be ready enough for this season because of the gap? क्या लग रहा है आपको? I'm not convinced. What do you think?
First of all, Dallinga is not good enough for Zirkzee replacement. Again, very underwhelming signing for me. Very, very disappointing for a club who's come to play Champions League football after so many years. And come on, it's not just underwhelming. I feel it is upsetting to be honest to see this, you know. And Ferguson again I was very excited to see him last season. He did start off well. Terrible injury. I don't know if he's going to be the same player. So I don't know, man. It's very what do you call it? Two ends meet करने के लिए भी बहुत difficult होगा. I feel with so many competitions, you know how Champions League is. No, they're going to fall short, right? Because Serie A games will be coming left, right, and center. Champions League का extended version है वो भी, you know. So it's not going to be easy. Italiano, I don't know. Not that I think he's a bad manager, but can he do better? Then can he punch above the level with this squad? I don't know. I know they won their friendly I think 5-0 जीते थे एक friendly शायद, looked very good.
That's the residual effect now of Motta really. How much is he going to change so far? It's going to be a lot of that at the start, na?
Yeah, so I know. I don't know, man. I'm very मेरे को लगा Hummels would be a good character as a person to come in over here, you know. And Hermoso, I think, was quite done. I had no idea कैसे fall out हो गया, because I thought move was almost done. उसका और Hummels का तो I thought they wanted the club. So I don't know what happened over there. So it is very underwhelming you go to see, and you know I think I'll go as far as saying that I think Viola might finish above them also.
Rivalry तो है, एक तो बराबर है, मतलब they are the most...
I picked up Viola because they were smart enough to get Kolpani, they're smart enough to get Goodmanson, you know, and I know उसका case चल रहा है, but they are strengthening their squad in the right way, and they splashed a lot of money for Kolpani also. So I feel this is where they missed a trick. They got money. I don't know. They could have gotten better players. I feel they were not that they're not good enough players in the market, but very underwhelming for me, man. I'm very disappointed by Bologna's transfer this season.
Yeah. Mithul or Costo, one of you just answer me this, and I look at 3 key players and close Bologna. What tactical changes are you guys expecting from Motta? Because Italian और Motta ज़्यादा similar है नहीं, है similarities इधर उधर, एकदम भी different नहीं है, but it's not entirely similar. And do you think, because Bologna में वो narrative है with Sartori, their sporting director, बहुत smart sporting director, हम सब agree करते हैं, वो एक narrative चल रहा है कि he always brings the best out of underrated coaches or the coaches who are yet to take their next step, just like Motta did. ठीक है, Motta took the next step. Do you think this tactical change will be good enough for Italiano personally, for his personal level to take the next step? And do you think players like, let's say, Cambiaghi, who were average last season, will have a good season? Santiago Castro, बहुत highly rated player है, मतलब अगर आप pre-season में देखो, they are going to start him over Dallinga, मतलब their new signing. Do you think players like Fabian, all these guys, do you think Costo or Mithul, is it possible Bologna इनको next step हो? सार्टोरी इफेक्ट जो बोलते हैं वो कंटिन्यू होगा कि नहीं ये टैक्टिकली, और क्या डिफरेंसेस लग रहे हैं आपको टैक्टिकली होने वाले?
I think मेरे को जो एक the one major concern, although it's not a concern, it's a dilemma. When Italiano was at Fiorentina, those season you often saw a misfiring attack, and you could not really figure out as to whether it was down to the profiles in hand or whether it was down to Italiano's approach. Could be both, obviously. But say Palladino at Fiorentina brings more out of that Fiorentina front line than Italiano could. What will the perception be? How will that perception change around Italiano? And it was a pattern over time. It was not even about overperforming on XG. Fiorentina ke case mein, when Italiano was at Fiorentina, it was a structural issue. And the signings they've made, I've liked Kambiagi a lot, but is he Champions League level?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Same with Dalinga also, man.
Yeah, I think Dalinga काफी अच्छी signing है, but again, Zirkzee is like a different profile.
Dalinga is more stagnant, ना? Zirkzee कितना mobile player था. That is my only problem.
Static है.
Zirkzee was always on the over the pitch. He was up top as well. Mid में भी आ रहा है.
It was more of a deep lying CF in Football Manager terms. So and Italiano is generally someone who likes that एक centre forward who stands up there. Jovic, although Jovic didn't make too much of a mark at Fiorentina, but it is what it is. Look, Beltran tha last season. Again, Beltran misfired when Beltran came in with a reputation. And now the situation is that you don't have players with a reputation at all in the Serie A. How do you manage that? That is one thing I want to notice. And by the way, Bologna might sign Logan Costa from Toulouse, who's actually pretty decent. West Ham sort of like him. I think he's left-footed as well.
He's a center.
Who could be that Calafiori replacement? Because I don't think Martin Erlich even knows the basics of how to play the back three with a numerical advantage centre back midfield में जा रहा है. वो वाला उसको नहीं आता. So I think Logan Costa will be a good signing from Toulouse, who obviously उनका हाल पता है हमें. So yeah, too many dilemmas there. Too many. I won't be surprised if Bologna को एक random result मिल गया Champions League. But league में ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर.
पर तू ही लास्ट में मजाक उड़ाता था ना उन लोग का, as in like you watch Fiorentina play and you saw how frustrating they were. 50 chance मिलेंगे, एक शायद convert करेंगे, and you kept on saying, and exactly what Kaustubh said, that this is their biggest concern, which is going to be, also as DJ said, Orsolini might be a big key over here for them. He has to make that step up, and हम लोग सबने बहुत मस्ती भी उड़ाया कि why is he not in the Euro squad? So but yeah, man, I think very underwhelming.
Yeah, and my thing is वही ना कि वो young players इस time step up कर पाएंगे कि नहीं. मतलब सैंटियागो कास्ट्रो बहुत highly rated है. They are going to start him over Dalinga. मतलब वो जा रहे प्री सीजन में. This guy was scoring rockets. अगर आप एक भी वीडियो ट्विटर पे भी देखोगे, he was scoring like Adriano-esque shots. So talent है, but can he do it consistently? Can Giovanni Fabian, owned by Inter, मतलब his performances will be monitored closely because Inter has an option to buy him in 2025. Will he deliver? So ये सब young players का वही problem है.
I think I like Dan Ndoye a lot.
हाँ, Dan Ndoye
उसका अगर अच्छा season गया, his profile, he's going to a major club.
Dan Ndoye is fantastic.
What about Ferguson?
वो I think हाँ बोल.
Ferguson is back, but
नहीं.
No, 2025.
No, it's not.
What?
Yeah.
I heard like December था पहले, फिर now it's.
What a start he had, man! What a start he had! Amazing.
Exactly. And to what Kaustubh said, where is the leader? All those leaders, they have reduced in this squad. And my only thing is Italiano का जो high press approach है, high line approach है. For that now he's lost the defense. ठीक है, John Lukumi I rate very highly. I think he's very underrated. पर वो injured है. He's not there for first 2 weeks. So I don't see a good start. And जैसे चिंतन भाई ने बोला, वो मुझे दिख नहीं रहा ये लोग multiple competitions handle कर पाएंगे. But Mithul, very quickly, 3 players you think to look out for, even regardless of what we think for Bologna. क्या लग रहा है, who will stand out for you? Mitul, is he there? I think we lost him, right? Freeze ho gaya. Acha, so anyone else? DJ bhai, you think any three players who think will stand out for this Bologna team for you, despite whatever we think,
I feel like we should look out for. I know Chintz doesn't think Dalinga is a very underwhelming signing, so to speak. Obviously, stepping into the bigger shoes of Zirkzee, I think he's somebody we can look out for. Orsolini for sure, and I don't know what you guys make of Ferguson, but I think he's another guy that I think can have an impact.
But he's out for a while. I think.
Italiano.
Yeah, he's out until 25, right? That's the issue.
I think Endoy will be good. Endoy will be something to look for.
What happened to Ferguson?
He did his ACL right last season, so he's been out.
Right. To me, I don't know. So the answers are largely in the final third with regards to Bologna. I think any impact that they're hoping to have this season is going to come from there. Defensively, I genuinely feel that is really underwhelming. After losing Calafiori, not replacing appropriately, plus Italiano, while his system will not be identical.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to a lot of whatever happens in the final third for Bologna with their players in the final third.
And by the way,
also it's he's another guy we can look out for. Defensively, in the defensive phase, if at all we had to, point someone out, I'd keep an eye on Frauler.
Freuler, yeah. He's solid. I agree with
maybe
you.
Posh.
Posh is also decent.
Because Posh is like even before the Thiago Motta era, he was generally a very reliable player. Which is very rare.
Very, very consistent.
Yeah.
But what the problem with Italiano was last season is वो जितना press करता है ना उससे ज़्यादा double वो लोग थक जाते हैं. I think he does not know when to control that. So Fiorentina, I think, lost both the finals because of that. So I don't know whether he knows how to draw the line when it comes to that. But yeah,
he can't adapt.
Counting on that little residual gas they have from last season.
Yeah. That's true. I think Casper Urbanski एक अच्छा talent है, that I would say lastly, and this is their setup, as you can see. Fabian Castro, ये pretty much is the expected 11 against Udinese. Costobal lost for Udinese thoda quickly because I know we are pretty much wrapping up very soon.
Let's say worst jersey, please. Worst jersey ever.
Worst jersey in the league, but there's obviously
potential relegation candidates.
Yeah. Now look, there are a few. They signed Alexis Sanchez. Of course, fair enough. The whole story is there. मतलब वापस Udine में आ गया. He has a wine, he has the whole wine. I think wine की company या कुछ है. I don't remember. He lives there pretty much. But other than that, यार Udinese मतलब exciting नहीं लग रही. मतलब do you think also this is good enough? Lorenzo Luca, Ekelen Camp, Damian Pizarro, Karlström, ठीक लग रहा है. Do you think this is enough in comparison to like a Hellas Verona? Even someone like a Venezia who seem underprepared. मुझे लग रहा है ये ठीक है to survive relegation. मतलब जैसे हमेशा Udinese जो we always think they'll get relegated and they just survive somehow. Do you think this is good enough for them to survive?
I mean, a lot of it comes down to the manager. And the new manager, I've not watched him play as such. His system kya, but it's slightly more progressive than how things were under Cannavaro. The last few games under Cannavaro. I'm presuming that's the case. But I think in general, the business Udinese have done, it's actually decent. Okay. Even if we ignore Sanchez. But they've signed Damian Pizarro, who's Chilean, and Alexis Sanchez is Chilean as well. And Pizarro is, I think, 20 or something. He had a pretty good goal scoring record at Colo Colo. While playing a very small number of games, which is very promising because Lorenzo Luca is more of that tall centre forward. Jisko cross dalo wo goal marega. Damian Pizarro is slightly different. And they've also signed Jürgen Eklenkamp, who was a wonder kid back in, I think, some FM, 19 years old.
Long
he's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
And it's like he's probably going to be the replacement for Samardzic. I think the reason why they've signed him is they expect Samardzic to leave. And his numbers have been good. He has decent European experience as well. He was at Ajax. I think the Ajax no Champions League. Hilata won the Belgian League with Royal Antwerp. where again उसके numbers काफी अच्छे थे. So these are two signings I like. Jesper Karlstrom भी sign करा है, again थोड़ा experienced player, and I think he had the new Udinese manager. I can't pronounce his name. He knows Jesper Karlstrom from his time in Poland. So not the same club, but I think same sort of area, same database सा है. So might be his own signing. Sanchez का we don't know how it's gonna happen, but I think generally the signings have been decent. But again, comes down to the manager. कि वो manager कौन सा? They've signed Iker Bravo, but Iker Bravo has never played first team football, so unknown quantity of sorts.
Yeah, so I think with Udinese again it's a bit of an unknown quantity. I think again maybe good enough to survive, but relegation भी हो सकता है. ठीक है, some players to look out for very quickly. You can say Ekkelenkamp, of course, एक वो है, Samardzis तो जाएगा. Sandy Lovric ठीक है, Jaka Bijol in demand है. I know Inter wanted him, but obviously 20 million की demand है. He's also wanted by Premier League clubs. Nehuin Perez is expected to leave for Porto. कुछ 5-10 million की fee की बात चल रही है. It's an okay squad, I would say. This is how they set up. Runic के बारे में there have been okay reviews. मतलब he was coaching in Poland. He's all right. Should be enough. I think just 17th place of sorts या 16th place. I think that's what we can expect. Quick predictions. Chintan, क्या लग रहा है मैच में? चिंतन भाई होगा. Udinese versus of course Bologna. क्या लग रहा है? Do you think Bologna will slip up over here?
No, man. I think Vincenzo will be trying to set things off. I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a dull game again. One of those games where I'm going for a draw. I think a 1-1 draw or something. But yeah, I don't see Samardzis playing this season. So
I somehow feel Bologna will have a really good game. They will score 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
Good start. बाद में they die off. So I'll say maybe 3-1, 3-0, something like that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think Bologna maybe draw or something. So 0-0 says Rajat. One question you guys want to quickly answer because
I was just going to shit. I was just going to say that, and because I wanted to answer that, I was just going to put it up. By the way, Black X 444FF, thanks for actually commenting on this. But since the past 3 or 4 seasons consecutively, Serie A has been the top 3 goal scorers across Europe actually, and twice they were actually better than EPL scorers also. Like overall gameplay wise, game weeks देखते जैसे Kaustu must be knowing every game week Serie A had more goals game week wise compared to EPL. So consistently Serie A have been outscoring. There have been lesser 0-0 draws compared to other leagues, especially EPL. So I think this is I don't know where you got this stat from generally, even if you do get, but overall the entertaining factor in the games generally are higher. So if you see the league, and you'll really be entertained. Anyone else want to say something?
And goals के बारे में नहीं होता ना सिर्फ. It's about tactics. You get a variety of tactics. Black X 444. बहुत कुछ है इस league में. Atmosphere है, entertainment है. Try to watch it for yourself. If you don't like, then no force. ऐसा कोई pressure नहीं है. एक question DJ bhai has brought this up. Do we want to continue the remaining teams tomorrow? Because I know people want to watch the Premier League as well, and not just us. I know there are many in this live who would probably want to watch the United game, and I know Kostub himself being a fan, obviously.
But let's do Juve. I think we should do Juve right now if you want
but
to.
Obviously, even people are less, right? So, matlab, you want to give proper attention. DJ bhai can't hear you.
I think Mitul also wants to be part of that.
Yes.
So if we're good, because I feel that they've had a very interesting transfers market and that.
I would want to talk about Juve, yeah.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we are left.
परम ये फटाफट अपन बाकी करते ना एम्पोली लाजियो very very quickly and last week finish this week with Juve.
No, but that's what we want to say. वही मतलब not about मित्तुल, but I think वो यूए को proper attention भी तो देना है, right? अपने को मतलब we can't just ऐसा कर सकते हैं. So we are left with Lazio Venezia, Juve, Como and Empoli Monza. यही बचा है अपना. Udinese is done.
The 3 match days is good enough tomorrow. We can finish it off in less than.
Yeah, I think let's. I feel like Lazio Empoli also is worth discussing. It's not.
Lazio we have to thoda, because I think Lazio people will start thinking we are disrespecting, and that's thoda वो attention.
Really fine.
अरे परम अगर अजय को टॉन्ट मारना तो सीधा मारना रे, ऐसा घूम के क्यों मार रहा है?
So what we'll do is we have 9 people still here. I know थोड़ा लंबा चल गया. If you guys got bored, apologies. So what we'll do is कल 3 बजे DJ भाई ने suggest किया है, we'll wrap up the remaining 6 teams. Won't take a lot of time. because sure, Udinese didn't have much to speak of because they're not exciting, but Lazio has, UA definitely has, and we can't take time away from UA. So कैसा करते हैं हम लोग कल 3 बजे आएंगे. We'll rename this stream to part 1 so you guys don't get confused. Ajay bhai, let's do this. We'll call this preview part 1. Tomorrow 3 p.m. Part 2 we'll wrap it up very quickly. Are you guys fine with that? कल 3 बजे आ जाओ. Premier League के पहले कर देंगे wrap, or even before 2:30 works for anyone. 2:33 we'll wrap it up very quickly. We'll start at some time along those lines. Works, guys? We'll do that.
Yeah.
Ajay bhai with the idea, and I agree with him. I think people will
Makes
get
sense,
bored.
makes sense.
Yeah, so guys, we'll take the rest of your comments. And sorry, Hey Jude, Monza करना था मुझे भी, but yeah, you know, we are trying to do justice to every team, so it takes time. So, guys, we will do this tomorrow. Ciao ciao. Tune in. Part 2 होगा कल. So कल करते हैं. ठीक है? Any final closing thoughts, anyone?
Yes, see you tomorrow. And Inter का margin victory, we'll discuss it in depth tomorrow.
Oh boy. Ciao ciao, guys. We'll see you tomorrow with the remaining 6 teams.
Ciao, ciao.